Welcome back to the Fast Life Podcast. Great show today with my buddies, Dragon and Scott from Arkansas. We're talking about Sturgis. We're trying to get you guys as hyped up as we are. We're really looking forward to this year's Sturgis event and catching up with everybody from all over the country, camping at the Days Inn Campground and just having a good time. So before we get into it, you guys should be checking out Simpson motorcycle helmets. If you haven't picked up one yet, you can do so by going to simpsonmotorcyclehelmets.com. You can also see all the badass helmets worn by people across the world on Simpson Motorcycle Helmets on Instagram. You can catch the Thundermax team over at Black Hills Harley Davidson during the 81st Sturgis Rally. They will be installing Thundermax ECMs, M8 cooling fans for touring models, and iRide rear suspension systems. They are offering free installs, and yes, you can name drop our Fast Life offer code in person, which will save you 10%. Our code is always accepted on shoptmax.com, so no worries if you're not making Sturgis this year. And while you're at it, give these guys a follow on Instagram at thundermaxefi. While in Sturgis, you can slide over to the Big Engine Bar at the Buffalo Chip, where you can pick up the all-new Lexin G16. You guys have heard all about the amazing features this unit has, like Bluetooth 5.0, music sharing, and up to 16 rider comm system. You can go to their website, lexin-moto.com, or better yet, go see them in Sturgis at the Buffalo Chip, and drop the Fast Life offer code online or in person to get yourself 15% off your entire order. Joining the Lexin family is a smart move in 2021, and you're not going to find another Bluetooth headset company that can touch Lexin's customer service or match their overall support for our motorcycle scene. Damn straight. While in Sturgis, stop by and see our friends at Letric Lighting Co. They will be set up at the JP Cycles in Sturgis off Lozelle Street. They will have a fully interactive display so you can see in person the electric lighting difference. They will be offering free installs on most electric lighting and Badlands products purchased at the rally. If you drop our name Fast Life with your purchase of $75 or more, they will be giving away a free t-shirt while supplies last. Find out more about Letric Lighting Co. by visiting namscustomcycleproducts.com and giving them a follow on Instagram at Letric Lighting Co. You can catch the S&S Cycles team at Black Hills Harley Davidson, where you'll be able to buy and have installed a handful of their products. Stop by, tell them you heard about them on the Fast Life podcast, shake their hand, grab some swag, and don't forget to follow these guys on Instagram at SS Cycle and check out their products on their website, sscycle.com. A lot of great stuff to get your motorcycle performing at its peak ability. Is that a word? Anyway, check them out. Great guys, and looking forward to doing more with those guys in the future. Yeah, so check out all the sponsors, man. They're going to be, a lot of them will be all over Sturgis. You can check them out in the ads we just read. And you should be stopping by and seeing them and saying hi and saying you heard them on the podcast and picking up some of that good shit that they sell. So check them out, and let's get into this podcast with the homies. Here we go.
Hey guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
Fast Life Podcast.
I was telling Jace, let me ride the bike. I was like, damn. Always, I looked at the bike, just set up like that. I don't look that comfortable, but man, that thing was spot on.
I'm trying to tell people, man, like the way my bagger's set up,
That was super comfortable.
you can ride that bitch to the moon.
Those are West Coast C-bars on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it.
New bike's gonna have some different parts on there. We're running Lucky Days bars.
Mm-hmm.
Their bar and riser setup, and I'm going a little bit shorter. I want to see how that feels, and then if I need it higher, then I'll just get their shit's modular, so you can like change the tube.
Just the base?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do the 8-inch.
Oh, yeah, they do the whole tube.
So it's like 8-inch is what I'm getting, and it's like 3.5 bend bars. And then if that doesn't work out, like if it doesn't feel as good as I want, I'll ride it to Sturgis like that. But if not, then I'll get the 10-inch.
Are you doing the tall bars? The tall boys, or what size bar are you going to go
I
with?
think they're the 3.5-inch rise.
I think the bars that Craig has is their tall ones, like 5.5. That way, because you're not relocating
Those are
your gauges.
fucking ape hangers, dude.
Well, I mean, if you're not relocating your gauges, it just makes it nice where you can still see everything a little easier.
Yeah. It's like I want to do something different, man. Those bars have been on my last road glide since 2 weeks after I bought that bike, and that's been 3 years almost. So, you know, I haven't really done bar and riser setups in a long time because my first Dyna I ever did, I did a bar and riser setup, and I felt like they got tweaked real quick. I never dropped it, but it just felt like it was always off, and so I never liked that. But then everybody else's shit feels fine, so I just think I must have dropped it in my sleep or something, you know.
Did you have just standard rubber bushings or?
I had I never do the solid risers. I don't
you
like
did the
those.
polys?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like alloy art stuff. So it's pretty good.
Right on.
Is everything good on there? Cool. Jaden's still doing reels.
No, I'm just trying to get on the Wi-Fi, bro.
It's on the toolbox outside.
Yeah.
The password.
Oh, it's still good. Sorry.
But yeah.
Making magic happen over here.
All right. So so we're talking about Sturgis on this podcast. I'm excited, man. It's just like creeping up real quick. I mean, it seems like yesterday we were in Little Rock doing the Rebels Den anniversary party, and now it's like, you know, we're literally in a time crunch to get all our shit together.
You still got bikes getting painted, a fresh bike down there.
Yeah.
Like, I know. I felt like last year it definitely felt like it took forever for it to come up.
Yeah.
I guess because we were talking about it. It was my first like real big ride that I ever went on. This year I know what to expect, and it just seems like it's creeped up.
What was it last year? What was what you didn't expect? But I'm trying to figure out how to word this question. How was last year? Did it meet your expectations, or kind of like, I wouldn't say blow them out of the water, but did you?
So I'll be 100% honest. I've done Daytona. Daytona's pretty much the only major, you know, the big three, whatever you want to call it. I've done that one, I don't know, 5 times or so. Did Panama City, the Thunder Beach, and just all the little local stuff. I had the most fun at Sturgis, I would say 100%. And I think because of everything that went along with it. Obviously, the ride up there, we had our own problems. Justin decided to ride an FXR, you know, 1,200 miles, which was miserable. But no, getting up there, the campground, you guys.
I was wearing an FXR shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? And I painted my bike look like an FXR.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, I know. But
we get it. You're confused.
hey, it's 2021. I can identify what I want to.
Exactly. I like your new FXR, bro.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
But no, the whole experience up there, the riding, the scenery, the downtown's definitely different than I was expecting. I would say the downtown part was maybe a little bit of a letdown. It's a little different rules in Daytona. Daytona, you can walk in and out of bars. Everyone's drinking on the streets. Everybody's.
I think they made it so you can do that this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Because last year it was like you had to be in these specific bars within these little enclosures. That was a little different, but overall, I still had a blast. I think mainly because of the riding. So Daytona, the only riding you're going to get to do, you can do A1A. You can go from like New Smyrna Beach up to Jacksonville or what is it, St. Augustine.
Yeah.
And ping pong bars along the way and ride along the coast. It's cool, but you're not going to get down. You're not going to go above 40 miles an hour. Like, it's just a cruise. But man, like Sturgis, like Custer's Park, Needles Highway, all that stuff.
Iron Mountain, Spearfish.
Yeah, Spearfish was amazing.
Nemo. Did you ride Nemo?
I don't know if we did Nemo.
Nemo's a weird little. You know, we tried to do Nemo last year, but it was they were doing construction, so it was like blocked off. We had to end up cutting.
Which
back.
direction is that going? Is that towards Spearfish or towards?
It's between Deadwood and fucking Rapid City. So
maybe I'm not 100% sure.
Well, it was closed.
Yeah.
Like half of it was closed last year, so a lot of people didn't get.
No,
it.
the Spearfish was good. We did the waterfall, and then we actually even pulled off and hiked to the Devil's Bathtub, which is like.
Dude, I heard about that. Is it like a legit?
No, it's a legit. I mean, it's a hike now. I mean, my wife's all for that stuff. When we left the campground, she had her heart set on that, so we had shoes and shorts, everything packed up. So when we got there, we changed and hiked. It's about 1.5 miles to the spot. Even Boz and Amy, and Boz is a big boy, but he made the hike barely. But when you get out there, it's so it's one of those like
it's a swimming hole.
It's a swimming hole, but it's got like this waterfall slide. It's made out of rocks, but because of like how it's just been eroded, you can slide down and not get all scratched up. So I got pictures of my wife like sliding into the swimming hole, and
was it packed? A lot
No,
of
there was
people
probably maybe when we got there.
did? So why are we not doing this? We need to do that. That sounds like
It's a little bit of hike. So when you stop at the waterfall,
Where'd you park at, and how did you feel about parking and leaving your bike?
there was a ton of bikes there. So where you park at, a lot of people just sit there and hang out because there is a little creek.
Is it where that one waterfall is that everybody walks up to?
No. So where that waterfall is, we stopped and did that one, and then you get back on the road, and it's probably, like I said, it was my first time, but I think it's the next turnoff that you'll see a lot of people parked at. There was like a old, like a water mill house or something,
Okay.
and then there's this creek. So a lot of people just jump off and hang out of that creek, and it's got like a little scenic parking spot for it. But then, yeah, you literally get off right there and you hike. And you actually hike back along.
That seems like a thing that I'd probably want to leave my helmet at the campground.
Yeah.
And then I could lock everything else
Yeah.
up on the bike. And then I'd hate to leave my helmet just sitting there hanging on the handlebars while we're fucking jumping off.
A
Doing
mile
whatever.
something away.
Yeah. So how was the hike, though? Was the hike like
It wasn't too bad. So
for a big boy like myself?
I mean, you'll have to ask Boz. I mean, he
Dude,
made
we walked
it.
up a dumbass mountain last year for a
Dude.
picture.
And
We got this.
almost died.
Now there's
Almost
a
died.
few spots that's pretty tricky because you actually do have to kind of like do a little bit of rock jumping, like over the creek, like ping pong back and forth.
Yeah.
But no, it was cool. It was definitely worth it. Will I do it again this year? I don't know. You know, it's kind of one of those.
I've heard about it. I never knew where it was though, and I would love to do it.
I'm all about those.
I think it'd be a fun thing to do with the chicks.
That's what I'm saying. My wife loved
Yeah.
it, so I went for it. You know,
Like I said, that's the reason why we go a couple days early.
They're
so
like
that we
dogs. You got to tire them out. then we'll be able to go out and party that night.
tired
Leave
me
them
out.
at the
Yeah.
campsite.
Yeah, I've wanted to go there a while, but yeah, we try to go there early so that we can kind of enjoy Sturgis before it gets super packed. And don't get me wrong, it's still kind of packed when we get there, but it's nowhere near as bad as it is from Friday, Saturday, Sunday on in.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
worst. I mean, obviously, like on the route getting out to Rushmore, you know, that traffic where you go through that little town was pretty hectic. But like Needles Highway, Custer's Park, all those things. I think we got like we were early enough, but not late enough to
Late,
where
yeah.
we could cruise through at pretty decent speed. That was a disappointment. Like Custer's Park, we saw like one or two buffalo. The next day was when that meme popped out with the buffalo ripping the chick's pants off. That was literally the next day after we went through there. But
Oh, that happened?
yeah, there was like a woman tried to get out and like pet
I
a
remember
buffalo.
some big bitch getting thrown by a
Yeah,
buffalo.
that's what
yeah,
they
I don't
caught her
remember pants
pants
coming off.
and it threw her
Okay.
and the pants got snatched off and there was like a whole meme and
Oh,
a
that's
bunch of other
awesome.
funny stuff about it.
I'm not following the right pages. I didn't get that meme.
It was
Was there-
so I'm on this.
Maybe
My wife's
I'm
on
thinking
this-
of the one with the buffalo that hit the kid.
No, it was the one that it caught up this big girl and maybe not big, but it was on this Facebook.
Depends on what you consider big.
It was on this Facebook, it was Sturgis or Bust Facebook page that
Yeah.
my wife got on, and she showed it to me while we were out there. But
How dope would it be if there was like a Dallas, Texas TV for Sturgis, where everybody that's tagging like the hashtag of Sturgis and
There's a hashtag like people of Sturgis. There's a few
Oh,
of
there
them
is,
that you
huh?
can
Yeah,
follow
yeah.
that are pretty decent. I think I still follow them.
that'd be fun to watch.
But I just want to go on the record for I'm always a fan of humans getting attacked or gored or trampled or whatever by animals. If you put yourself in that situation,
well, that's what I mean. All the signs
I
they
love
stay
it.
in
Just
your
make
face.
sure
I
there's a
love it.
camera on you,
I can watch an
please.
endless YouTube reel of just people getting fucked up by animals. It's the best.
But no, like to answer the original question, my expectation. I mean, that's why we're doing it again. Like it's we had a chance either we were going to do Daytona this year, like for our kind of our big bike trip for the wife and I. Either Daytona this year and Sturgis, and she was all on board for Sturgis again. Like even though she loves the beach, she had so much fun there. The ride and the
I
scenery.
feel like it's the perfect time of year too to get away from the heat.
Yeah.
You know, like
I mean, it was still hot.
it's still hot there,
yeah.
but at night it cools down to where
Right,
you're
nighttime
like,
was perfect.
you know, so
Yeah.
you get like a balance of everything to where, I don't know. And then, I mean, even when it's hot out there, if you jump into the hills, it cools down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Do you think part of the reason your chick okayed Sturgis, she's cooler with the chicks and she's cooler with the
The group.
just the whole the group, the vibe?
I mean that.
'Cause she was at the Tony's thing big, and she's
Yeah.
she's
No, she's all
you guys
for
hang
it.
out all the time.
She's at the camp out too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's at
yeah.
the about. No, she's down for all that. I think she just likes
because that helps a lot when the chick signs off.
100%. But she also she's all into nature. Before I met her, I think I floated a river maybe one time, like when I was in the military, and that same one time was the one time I camped. You know, I never went camping. Now we got like 3 camping setups. We got like her and I, the motorcycle camp gear, her and I and my daughter, and like this big, and like we camp a lot, we float a lot, and I think Sturgis was like all of that plus motorcycles plus the friends plus,
Everybody wins.
dude. It was
Yeah.
like it's like the perfect combination of everything. And to go back on the campground's like the ideal campground. You know what I mean? It's shaded. It's not some dusty field, and so it gives you all the experiences of camping, but you still got the bar.
I know Jaden's got the connection with the KK there, I think is her name.
Oh, yeah.
But man, I sent her, because we have our group chat we're talking about. I was like, I sent her a text yesterday, going, hey, I need to get set up. And she never responded to me.
Is that who puts on or who?
No,
runs the
I
days
guess
in?
she's the one that runs it. But it's like, because I know so many people that have tagged us that they booked there to be basically partying with us. It's almost like I feel like we should be able to contact them. Like, look, we kind of unofficially made your campground like the spot for this. But I mean, when you're there, it's like, yeah, we had a decent sized group last year, but it's
but our group was also the group that made or break the bar. You got to remember that. Like when we left the bar shut down.
But at the same time, like if you think about all those RVs that you drive through at the beginning of the campground, there's just as many dudes partying around that thing.
Yeah.
There's so many groups. Now, this year I think might be the threshold of like, okay, now we brought so many people to the yard on this one that we can go back and say, look, we want to make this our official spot every year.
Yeah, save this area right here. Like,
can we,
About 5 of us get free stays.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Because like at the end of the day, it's like, put like this: like we think this year is going to be a lot bigger with our kind of circle.
I think it's gonna be a lot bigger because I think a lot of people also,
Yeah.
I got a shout out list when you're all done. Go ahead.
Oh, so I think this year will be bigger, not just from our group of people, but just in general with the whole COVID, and the world trying to get back to normal.
Yeah.
I
think all the people that maybe didn't
that
know
were kind
what
of on
to
the fence,
do
maybe
last
they had
year.
a job or something that wasn't letting them travel, because my wife's in the military, or not in the military, but she's a government employee, and they were almost not letting her go on it because you got to get a lot of stuff approved.
Yeah.
And no matter how she feels about certain things going on in the world, no matter where her views are, her employer will still kind of negate like yes or no. And a lot of people are probably in that same boat.
Yeah, I feel so. I feel the same.
I think this year, it's going to open up more people that are just like chomping at the bit.
Well, you know what the thing is about it, like that I think that helps is like if you guys would have went to Sturgis last year for your first time and you hear me out, right, with this, and you didn't come stay with us and have kind of like a shaman for this experience. I'm not saying you wouldn't enjoy Sturgis, but it wouldn't probably dig it deep and plant the roots the same way. So like the first time I went to Sturgis, I was staying with just a random dude from Red Oak, the town that we're in, and not saying anything bad about that guy or anything, but it was just like my connection to the motorcycle industry is what brought me back. But then I brought all my friends with me the next year, and then it started like really digging roots in me. But I feel like because that campground and all of us being at it, it was what really kind of helped solidify people's first experience at Sturgis.
100%. Because the perfect example to that is Boz. He came. So I wasn't going to stay with you guys. Justin is the one who's saying, hey, I'm staying at Days Inn with the Texas guys. Because I've seen you guys online.
Yeah.
But I'm new to this performance side. I've been riding motorcycles my whole life. I've been on Harleys since 07. But this genre of motorcycle, this genre of getting out, exploring on two wheels, not just having a cool bike and showing up to a bar, it's still relatively new to me.
You listen to music over there?
No.
Oh,
No, it's the headphones.
They're just delayed.
okay. I'm like, what
So,
the fuck am I saying?
Yeah, with all of that, this is my first experience with this type of motorcycle
Yeah.
and people. Boz as well. Boz bought a brand new Road Glide. He had a Cholo Road King at his house. He bought a brand new Road Glide,
Really?
8 hangers, all that stuff.
He was getting
staying
ready
at-
for mines, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not doing that anymore?
don't sleep on Mayans. Season 3. It ends good. It ends good. If you dropped off, get back on, baby. There's still time.
So he was staying at the Chip. He rented a cabin at the Chip. So our intentions were to stay at the Chip as well. We had another friend from back home, a good friend of my dad's. He had an RV. He said, hey, I got a on and off my RV. You could pull up underneath it, set your tent up. It ain't going to cost you nothing but a wristband to get in. So that was our initial plans. When we showed up to y'all's campground and looked around, we're like, no, this is where we're going to stay. Why move anywhere else?
Yeah.
And then, so the first night I was kind of standoffish. We didn't get there till 1:30 in the morning anyways, or 2:30. 1:30. Yeah, 1:30
It was
y'all's
late,
time,
yeah.
2:30 our time. But then the next morning, waking up, meeting all y'all talking, we just stayed and it made it perfect. And so Boz, going back to what you're saying, Boz hung out. He ended up paying another wristband price to come into y'all's campground or our campground just to hang out and party with us. So this year he's riding from Georgia to my house and he's going
Yeah.
to jump on the road. They come up there and he's staying in Days Inn with us. So he's going to say, fuck the chip,
Nice.
come to the Days Inn.
So this is my thing with that, right? So there's a lot of other, I guess, brands like myself or entities or whatever the fuck, you know, they have these campgrounds. These campgrounds are trying to get them to bring people to the event,
To the
right?
yard, say it.
To the yard. Bringing the boys to the yard. But this is, I think, what makes it easier to fuck with us is that you're not fucking with Jace. It's not me. It's this group of people that we've kind of created. So, because I mean, I can't be on all the time, man. And I rely on my closest friends, Jaden, James, Big Will, Cody, all of us to kind of be the life, right? So if I can't be on the night, somebody else is. And trust me, it's like that every fucking night when, you know, who's going to the bar? It's usually Cody B. Cody B is usually the one, like, he's a terminator of terminating beers, dude. He is all about that shit.
Well, that picture you threw in the story up with the partially built. I mean, that's a great micro.
Dude, I was laying
you weren't even in the picture.
I was in the tent, like, trying to decide if I wanted to drink that night because it was like a 6-day rager.
Well, see, that was after I came in as the wall was partially getting built, but that was after we went to Rushmore and everything, and we came back, and that's when Boz actually came to the campground at first.
Yeah.
So the first thing he walks into is this wall of fucking empty cans.
Oh, what a night! And that
And
was
he's just like,
Sugar Pants, or what was her name?
Sugar
Grandma?
Tits. It was Sugar Tits.
Sweetness.
Oh,
Is that the one that was dancing on the pole?
Fuck! There's a bunch of dudes from East Texas right now screaming. Larry, get on YouTube. Comment. Tell me what her name was. I don't want
Sweet
no
Cheeks.
dick. Sweet Cheeks.
yeah.
That was it.
Because she had these, like, sagging ass cheeks.
We're talking about the grandma,
I think
right?
she was wearing panties that said.
No, she had panties. It says
Sweet Cheeks, and then she had a shirt that said "Fuck me like a whore."
No,
or
it said something like grandma something. It said something like
Oh, I got a picture of this.
I don't know, grandma like. I don't
Figure
know.
this the fuck out. Hold on.
Anyway,
Keep going.
my point is what I'm trying to say is that like when you come here to that campground, then there's a bigger group of people to interact with that have, like, put it like this, now that you're a part of it, now you come to it, you feel like you have an ownership of this friends group. So when you see somebody else, you're like, yo man, come over here, we're partying. Like, it's the same way like the campouts work. It's the same way like we've all been able to create this huge ass friends, you know, across you know, time zones.
No, it's
basically.
awesome. I mean,
you know?
your camp out, you know, meeting Brad, you know, White Claw Outlaw and all those guys that came down from Ohio.
Oh, shout out to him, dude. He's so he's in the hospital today. I don't know what. I'm not trying to
I got a
apply.
message
So
from him.
I
He's got
don't, it doesn't matter. I hope he's all right. And
yeah, he
send
was
some
one of the
good
guys
news.
I was wanting to go.
Yeah,
to
send
the,
that guy a message. Tell him you hope he's doing good.
But that whole group when they showed up, you know, that's what's getting cool. It's like you're starting to make these connections all over, and it's all starting to tie in together with, you know, not to bring up the drama that was going on last month with homie out in California or anything.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like OG or not OG, there's no timeline on how long someone's got to be in a scene to be an OG. Like, as far as I'm concerned,
I don't think that we even give a shit about being called or talking about who is OG. It's because right now we're living it.
Yeah.
Right. So right now it's just about being here, being present.
And he's just pissed that, you know, he's been in it for however long he was ratting about 10 years. And
he started his Instagram on 2019.
I don't
Yeah,
care.
no one still knows who
It doesn't
he
matter how
is.
long you've been in if you're still bored.
I'm not worried about that dude. I want to talk about him.
But what
Fuck
I'm saying
him.
is, like,
Yeah.
you and Steve and all this tying everyone in together, because I love King Tony to death. I've known King Tony. I've been riding beside him since 2004.
Get ready.
No. But I'm more influenced by seeing like what your group's doing, because with him, I mean, we'd always kind of keep it kind of local. We might try to do a ride to Northwest Arkansas, but nobody was really trying to push something to like.
Tony's really opened up and blossomed like a
feel the same
flower
way.
over the last year. I mean, I don't know what it was. I think because of his injury, you know, in COVID, he just had the
But
time
he
to
always
go
stays
ride.
so busy with
Exactly,
shows.
exactly.
So he can't take off and do a 10-day a venture to Sturgis with when he did.
But I think that it's changing for him though, because I think that he really
No, he
found
wants
a
to do more of
love.
that. No,
I
no.
think he's found a love for what we all do, and so like
and his
seeing
thing-
him at the Down South camp out was a great time. I mean,
Oh, 100%.
You
Yeah.
know?
It wouldn't have been the same without him. I mean, I feel like he's doing more than
I mean, he's
almost
busting his ass
anybody
trying to
right
make
now.
a big scene in our area, but it just
it
just still
takes
isn't.
time, man. It's like
I feel like he's
dude,
made a scene in
Yeah, I mean,
area.
all of y'all. I mean, between you and Big Sexy and Justin and
dude,
Tony, like you have a scene. It just takes time to.
There's a handful of those.
You just got to keep doing you, and then things start to fall together. It's like if you start leading the path, people start to fall in line. And I don't mean that as a following thing. I'm just saying like, oh, they're doing something cool that we haven't really seen or noticed.
Yeah.
Let's go see what that's about. And then you keep hanging out that Hard Riders bar. Those fucking dudes are going to change their bars eventually.
I don't know. That bar is getting a little too. It's getting a little too.
You got to give people an alternative other than like think about what the alternative or what most people do when they jump on a bike. To find a friends group like what we have been creating, they have to join a club.
That's what I'll say. Hard Riders is getting too clubby. Like
Yeah, well,
it's too many clubs.
Why do you
coming
think
in and-
clubs keep coming around things we do now? They're trying to figure out the sauce.
Yeah.
They want the secret sauce. How do you make people want to be around and doing this shit? I'm like, I don't
have
know.
fun.
Yeah, just
If
make it
somebody-
Just have fun.
You don't have to charge club
There's
dues or
something-
anything just to hang out.
Well, there's trust me, I have a lot of love for the club world, and I understand it very well. But where they're failing to inspire people to want to be a part of it, or I'm not saying inspiring or failing. Yeah, I am saying both those things. I think that what they're having a problem with is they're having a problem finding people that are of quality.
I think it might be the smaller clubs. Obviously, the big clubs, they got their nationals and they got all those things. So they do have the big groups and the loyalty and all that. But the smaller groups, I think they just want to try to get the presence. And
They
the known.
see us riding to Sturgis, and they can't do that.
Yeah.
They see us in Sturgis at every spot having a good time, and they can't do that, right?
Nope.
Because if you join a riding club, you do whatever the fuck you want. You join an MC, you're playing politics and motorcycles. So
You
it's
gotta
almost
ask for
like
permission to go here or do this or do that.
I mean, it opens up your everyday world to having these, forced upon friends. Is what
Well,
it is.
I always say they're paid for friends. I mean, you're paying a club due and you're doing all this and that to have a group of guys to ride with.
Trust me, if our group of friends, the difference is that like, I understand the pay because if you have it done right, it helps you do things. I mean, when we do a trip, we talk about where we want to go and we start throwing money on the table to book shit 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
We're paying into that so that when we get ready to do it.
Well, a lot of those clubs, though, they're doing it not for that. They'll try to get a clubhouse or something else together to have a spot, but then you're tied up all your money in that, and that's why they can't go do these trips because their money's all being invested just to have a local.
But they actually, other than like a lot of clubs do trips to their other
That's what I'm
chapters,
saying, the
things like
nationals
that.
or whatever they call them.
Yeah,
they'll go other
I
places.
don't want to like bash them because
No, that's
I
their
understand
thing. That's their thing, yeah.
I understand the importance of clubs in our scene. I'm just saying that what's going on is a new way for people to get the feeling of that camaraderie you get in a bike club without. Here's the deal: when you're
You don't have to
doing
give up a year of your life handing out cigarettes.
when you don't
and
show up to this,
waiting by the
you
bikes.
you have FOMO.
Yeah.
That's what happens. You have FOMO. You feel like fuck. I should have won. I should have made.
Justin's got FOMO right now. He didn't come out here. He wanted to come out here with me. I saw him right before I left.
Justin don't want to do shit. He
He's-
just wants to ride on boats and drink beer.
No, I don't want to do that no more.
Oh, he's done with that?
Yeah, he's over that life.
Oh yeah.
Should have got a jet ski, brother. They
But-
never caught you.
But no, I saw him right before I left to come up here. So
If you wonder why there's a price increase in my machinist, it's not the metal.
Fucking slept on that single gauge. Damn it! It's gonna cost me now.
Anyway,
but
we don't talk shit about Justin on at least every other podcast, and we're
Pretty
not
much.
doing justice to Justin. So, but no, I think that the Sturgis thing and just being a biker. I mean, one of the things that like I've done a lot of podcasts with the Four for the Road, and they do a lot. They're club oriented people, and I feel like the last podcast I did with them, I didn't really do a good job of explaining my side of the world of motorcycling as good as I'd like to. But at the same time, they're kind of envious in a sense of some of what we do because we have the ability to just hop on the bike and go anywhere in the country, right? They don't have that option. You know, there's this. You start
they have obligations.
They do, but I mean, once you start wearing a flag on your back, you kind of get. I don't want to
isolate yourself. I mean, you put you.
Well, you gotta face it. Like
take away
Sturgis is
a lot of
HA
options,
It's
you
HA
know?
country, so like if you are riding with a group that's a support of a, you know, an enemy or whatever, you know, you're not going to be allowed to come up to Sturgis and hang out and have a good time. If you're a
crazy
club,
thing, man. Like when me and Jesse rode up there one year together, we stopped at this one place just outside of in Wyoming on the way in. It was still Black Hills. It was banditos like a motherfucker everywhere, and then like. As soon as you go into it, it's like, you know, HA has the spot on the street. They do a lot of stuff down there. There's clubs everywhere. But, I mean, honestly, it's not really like, it's just, it doesn't affect us because we're not dealing with it. I mean, our campground has tons of HA in it.
yeah, as soon as you pull in, that's all those campers are HA
But they don't give a
campers.
fuck what we're doing. We're
No,
not
they don't
over
give a
there.
fuck about the personal, but if you were to come riding in with a, you know, a support of a black and white support or whatever, you know what I mean? Then that's where the problems are going to start.
I mean, it's possible, but at the same time, like, I don't even wear vests. Do you wear a vest anymore?
It's all weather related, depending on where I'm going, the temperature. If I've been riding long, you know, if your nipples get chafed or whatever after a while. Like there's certain times, temperature wise, where it is like that perfect little buffer. But as far as just like, oh, I'm getting on the bike, gotta wear my cut. No, dude, no.
I don't know, man. Like I've not been in a vest mood or mode or vibe for like a year and a half now.
I haven't worn a vest since I've had this type of motorcycle because my vest has got like old. I mean, it's not like a club.
If you can read this, the bitch fell off. We get it.
Yeah, it's got the skeleton middle finger on it. It's just got a bunch
the
of
blue line American flag. Yeah, we get it.
But the vest I do run is First Manufacturing.
Mine's just a Levi's jacket that I cut the sleeves off.
Okay, Jesse.
Exactly, with a bunch of tattoo patches on it.
No, it's
But that's when I was into older bikes.
Look at that picture. All right, so I did confirm the panties she was wearing said "fuck me like you hate me," and this is moments after she got up and kicked off.
So this is where.
Yeah.
So this picture, what led to this was Larry.
The level of hate in James, like James is the most peaceful, nice guy ever, and that's
So-
probably as close as he'd ever.
so
get to put his hands on a chick.
Her and Larry were kind of messing around, and Larry made a comment. She goes, "I want to kick those cans over." She saw the wall. I want to kick those cans over, and Larry said, "Hey, if you show your tits,
can't see shit.
Can't see,
yeah, if you show us your tits, you can kick the cans over."
Dude, that angle, she could probably sell OnlyFans a little bit.
Let's see. Oh, that's back on screenshots.
Yeah, but then she started going crazy and throwing cans at just anybody who was in the bar and ruined the entire night.
Yeah, she lost her mind.
Well, what happened is after that happened,
Everybody booed her.
We all went down to downtown Sturgis and had a blast. So I'm looking forward to it, though, man. Like I think this year, we were just talking about before we went online. There's a lot of events taking place. I think that because this performance motorcycle genre of bikes is now starting to become the dominant scene in the motorcycle industry.
It's not the newest, but it's what's coming to the forefront right now.
So big wheel baggers have been kind of like the leader of the shows kind of world, and now it seems like most of those shows have lost their steam, and everybody's trying to revamp it into like this performance motorcycle scene, right? So this year, I think there's a whole lot going on. There's a bunch of shows. It's kind of overwhelming in a sense. There's just something
I think it
everywhere
started
every
in
day.
Daytona this year. Because Daytona seemed like they had how many show or plaques did Cody leave with? It seemed like every
Double
time
champ.
Every time he pulled into a parking lot, there was a show going on.
Discount double champ.
So yeah, definitely more shows, but I think it started at the heels of Daytona, and they're dragging it, but because they're seeing the success of this industry and where it's going, and new riders.
So with the I would say like the FXR show is it's been a staple for many years. So like I said, FXR show is taking place Sunday at the Buffalo Chip. Big Joe puts that on. I'm actually a judge on that show this year. I fucking forgot I got to paint something for that.
That show was fun as fuck last year.
Because it's the same time that the Bell Brawl's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're at the show, FXR show, and right caddy corner from it is the Bell Brawl.
Yep.
So
Yeah, you literally just, and then like we were talking about earlier, like that show's cool because it's got the kind of the half canopies over the show, so it's nice and semi-shaded. You got the indoor bar that's got like live music going on, the outdoor bar. The
Yeah, little food trucks and shit.
Yeah,
right
like
there.
that whole scene, like you could literally sit there for a few hours.
And
not
you don't have to pay. You don't have to
Yeah.
pay to come
Nope.
into this part of Buffalo Chip. So like a lot of people think that I got to pay the
No,
whatever.
it's only if you get into the camping part.
Exactly. When you go to these places, the campgrounds is what you have to have wristbands to get in, and those wristbands are not cheap.
And I didn't know that at first too. But everyone was talking about, when we're going to go over here to, I'm like, man, how much is that going to fucking
See,
cost? And didn't do
fucking,
it.
That bar,
Craig Tarpon Turbo, like somehow, because we got there earlier before everybody started camping at our place. They just got used to seeing his bike pulling in and out with us. They never checked his wristband.
Justin the same way. Justin bought the one night $35 wristband and kept going in and out and just putting his arm up, and they just let him in and out. And Adam did it. So Justin and Adam both rode with us. The first night they made us buy the single nights because we got there so late that the store wasn't open. So they said, well, we can't sell you the 3-day or whatever you want to stay for. You just got to buy the single, and then when you go in there, you can buy the additionals. So they just kept going in and out with that single day wristband.
Was it the same color as everybody else's?
Or no, it was like a red, white, and blue.
So
I think.
everybody had they kept giving away the same color single day.
Yeah, but I think the single days had like they wrote on marker or something like the day, but it was the same color for each day. It was something weird, stupid like that. So they literally got by paying $35 to stay the whole time, whereas me being responsible.
Yeah. A tax-paying American.
Yeah, and not.
If you need another reason to stay at the Days End, somebody like mounted a fleshlight at the kind of at the entrance where
Yeah, the flashlight and that blow up doll.
Yeah.
It was there.
It was there waiting for you. Just clean it out. When
If
you're
you
done.
I
go
may
to-
have put a finger in it. It was like a 3:30 arrival back at the campsite with Larry and somebody else, and yeah.
So my first experience of all you guys, we got into the campground at, like I said, I think it was 1:30 the campground time, 2:30, whatever.
So let's clear this up because I had a couple of people. It's Days End. Days END.
END.
It's a campsite. It's right on the edge of town. It's
It's the best part of town. It's right next to that coffee sign that everybody takes their photo in
Yeah.
front of. That orange Sturgis sign that everybody parks
Yeah.
their bike at. The campground is literally, you pull out of the campground and there's that sign, and Sturgis, like Hollywood sign, is right behind it.
Yeah.
So it's the start of the strip.
That's when we're going. And as far as the time frame we're all talking about, just so everybody's on the same page, a lot of us are leaving Dallas Tuesday, Wednesday-ish. Or no, we're getting into Sturgis on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday the 3rd, I think. And it's all about that first
Fourth.
week, like I said. So,
Wednesday the 4th.
okay, yeah. So everybody, Tuesday's the 3rd. We're rolling to Sturgis the 4th, and for me, it's that first. Unfortunately, I've only got 4 or 5 days there, so I'm rolling out Sunday morning early, or Monday morning.
Yeah, so they offer a 5-day pass for like
They got a 3-day and a
$160.
5-day.
But we're front loading it. Like I said, if you listen to this, then you already know. But you'd be amazed how much people don't listen and read or whatever. So it's all about that first like 5-6 days. You know, that by the middle of the week, a lot of people will be gone that we're fucking with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
just
we'll be
plan
leaving out.
accordingly.
We're heading up on Thursday, the 5th, and we'll be at the campground until Tuesday. Another thing with the campground, you don't have to pack a lot because they have washer and dryer. They got all the amenities there. So we literally washed clothes and went back on the road. So you don't have to pack, 5 days worth of clothes.
Great showers.
The shower's amazing.
Close to
Everything is super clean.
$2 stores. Like
Yep.
you can
Yeah.
literally walk.
McDonald's is there. The bike wash, car wash.
I would say to be the only bad thing about it is like if you care about washing your bike, as soon as you pull back in the campground because
It
it's
gets
like
nasty,
a dirt
yeah.
road.
But I
getting
tell you,
dusty.
it's less dirt than you're going to get at the Buffalo Chip or at Full Throttle, because that's just a big open field with nothing but dirt.
Yeah, that's the thing. So Buffalo Chip and Full Throttle, they're like on the backside. They're on the north
So
side of
far.
Sturgis.
It's about
Away.
a 10 or 11 miles from where the strip is. I mean,
It's that Florida Daytona though, 10 miles. That 10 miles will
well,
take
yeah,
you
you
an
got to
hour
go
and a
through
half to
that
get there.
area where all
Yeah.
the cops are at. And if you go a mile an hour over the speed limit, they'll pop you.
Or if you stop at a stop sign without putting your feet
yeah.
down. And for you non-helmet wearing motherfuckers, if you do not have eye protection on,
Yep, they'll pop you.
doesn't matter.
Including clears. You can't have
Can't-
a helmet with a dark visor. You can't use your dark visor. They'll get you for that. If you throw your visor up, and they'll get you
Yeah,
for
and
that.
that's
Like,
this
you have
that's
to
this
have
section
clear
of road.
glasses
The only spot I even saw
close to
cops the
dark.
whole time and pulling people over constantly was from the strip all the way out to where the Chip and
Yeah.
Full Throttle, all that little
because they
strip
know,
of road.
like, if you go to Deadwood or Hill City or all these other Rapid City, all this shit, you have the only way to get to Buffalo Chip and Full Throttle is to go through downtown Sturgis, right? So that means that every block is a stop sign that you put your feet down. There's cops. If you go there at night, there's a cop at every fucking block.
You know
Yeah,
what?
because they got the cutoffs and they got those trees. The cops are
then
sitting on.
From our campsite, if you got a Pan America, technically
don't
there
even
is
have
a
to-
back road.
Yeah, you don't even have to.
Kyle fucked around and took me and Jones on it last year, leaving the full throttle saloon.
No, I did that too. It's on a dirt road.
20
Yeah.
fucking miles. It feels like a dirt ass road, like gravel, like fuck. It sucks. But technically, you don't see a fucking cop on it. I mean, you could do whatever you wanted to on it.
Yeah, I mean 30 miles an hour unless you spin out. But yeah, you have to, you kind of have to like go through Sturgis to get there.
Yep.
So that's another reason why I usually don't stay on those campgrounds there. Now I've never stayed there and I don't have this experience, but Glencoe is apparently one of like the OG wildest places, right?
and it's still shaded from what I heard, right? They still-
I think so. I have no
that's
idea
the one
where
that
it's
Adam
at.
Sandoval, I think he's always promoting that one.
And trust me, if we didn't have such a big group of friends and we hadn't found this like sweet spot already, I probably would try it.
There's
but
no reason to explore anything else. This thing's perfect.
yeah,
Bathrooms are
there's
clean,
campgrounds
the food-
everywhere though. It's not just like where we're at. There's campgrounds everywhere. It's just that where we found, we're right on the highway, right on the main street that goes into Sturgis. So no matter where you want to go, you want to go to Rapid City, you want to go to Deadwood, you want to go all the way back to fucking Mount Rushmore, all that shit. You want to go to fucking Wyoming, you're right there
Make it happen.
at the like you're at the mix master of all the decisions as
Yeah,
to
the hill
which road
climb,
you
you're
want
only
to go.
like 2 miles up the road. You pull out and there's the
I wanna
hill
hit that
climb.
this year.
What's that? We were going by when we went to the.
Those hill climbs are fucking awesome.
Yeah, when we were
The ones
going
with the
to-
extended swing arms.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, that shit's great. I didn't even. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know what was going on until
last year.
when we were going to Rushmore, or maybe it was Spearfish. One of those
It's right
rides.
off the highway. You can
Yeah,
see it.
when we
Yeah.
pulled off and we're going on the highway, I look over and I see a guy going up the hill. I'm like, oh, it's damn
Yeah,
hill
I'll-
races are
I'll
today.
Drink some beers and watch that.
One time we were fucked up in Sturgis, and we were at we were just hanging out at a booth, and we kept looking at the Sturgis sign, and we're like, bet we could walk up to that.
Oh, the white
How
sign.
many times do you think that's been said?
Dude, we walked up to it, but it got hard, dude. It got real rough because it's like hill and then like a campground and then another hill, and then it kept getting more and more steep, and to the point where you're like, yeah, this. I'm not in shape. You know what I mean? I'm so used to Grand Theft Auto where you just ran up the hill. Like, not used to the fact that it actually hurts. So, yeah, we did that. I did get a picture there a long time ago on like hanging on one of the letters. It's wild. Man,
I
my
ain't
wife,
even thought about climbing up there. I got
you can ride from where our campground is. There's a back way you can ride up to the
Yeah, it
top.
goes behind the Dollar
Because
General.
we got pissed because we're like we walked up it and there's a road that takes you right to it.
But yeah. So like you were saying, I think we're coming up on Thursday.
If you're staying.
Are y'all leaving Thursday or
Yeah, we're gonna
coming
leave
there?
Thursday.
So you'll be there Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
If you're going to come to that day's end, and I'm assuming we're going to get kind of that same area we were at, if you've got the room, if you've got somebody coming in a car or truck, bring a canopy. There's not a ton of shade, if we're going to be honest. You might just like it a little bit more. It's not a necessity, but...
Oh, and you can't have firewood there. They don't do fires in Sturgis in a
No,
lot of
I'm
areas.
just talking about just one of those,
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
I'm just
I'm
like I
actually
remember
quite
that was
concerned.
one thing I didn't remember from when the first time I stayed is that you couldn't do a fire
Bonfire.
pits.
But yeah, once you get there, you're kind of good because they've got it's a family run joint. They've got you'll see there's a bunch of teens, early 20s that work it, and they're all cousins and shit. I've talked to some of them, but they come around on a golf cart, especially earlier in the week, before the
coffee.
weekend. They'll come around in the golf cart and they'll bring you whatever you need, including shit from their store. So if you say, man, bring me some off, bugs are getting me. Boom, which bugs aren't really a thing up there, but they'll bring it to you. You know what I mean? Bring me some shower shoes or what, they'll do it. Beer, beer, you walk your lazy ass to the bar, but they're great. I don't know. I just can't say enough good things about them. And
Yeah.
I really don't think you'll have a bad time. And
Well, that's what I was saying. I think I was mentioning it in the last podcast when we touched on it a little bit, but just how clean everything was. And I asked you guys, I said, I didn't know if that was like COVID protocol, if that's just how it is. And you're like, no, that's how it is every time. I mean, you can see when you wake up in the morning, they're on their golf carts, emptying all the trash, cleaning the porta potties. cleaning the bathrooms, the showers. I mean, everything's getting wiped down.
They clean the showers and the bathrooms every certain amount of
Throughout the
time
day.
throughout the day.
Every time I went into the bathroom, every time I went into a shower, I mean, it was
Like if you think about it, like the best time to take a shit is like that 1 p.m. area time because everybody's done taking showers, everybody's done doing their morning routine, and then like you just go ahead and go get you a good breakfast and come back and just
let it go.
And then you're good. Nice clean toilet. You feel like you're the first cheeks that's seen it. That's the best.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That was the best part. And the food truck was great, but the little bar, and then it's like what's an Uber ride back to the campground if you were to take one?
I don't think they have Ubers.
No, they had that van.
They
It's
got
not an
a
Uber,
it's
but
like
they got
a
like a
shuttle bullshit.
Yeah.
But
But it's just like pop you downtown and bring you right back, So
downtown, you're like a mile, a little bit.
You could walk it
over a
if
mile.
you
can
wanted
walk
to.
it. You
Yeah.
can. I think I did. One night. Yeah, but you can definitely walk it. It's not the end of the fucking world, especially after
So-
being up there for a week, drinking all the beer, whatever. Your fat fucking ass needs it. Walk back to camp one night. Work off those calories.
So did you get a chance to go to the Black Hills Harley spot?
we went there yes, but we got there late. We got there. We stopped by there on the way back from Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
So by the time we got there, really nothing was going on. It was starting to wind down. Vendors were all still set up, so it was pretty big. I mean, it's not as big as like Destination Harley as far as all
space.
the space.
It's more
but-
kind of like crammed together than Destination Harley or Destination Daytona down in Daytona.
Yeah.
But the good thing about like the Black Hills Harley is like so you're gonna have
Lexin's there.
No, they're at Buffalo Chip this year.
Oh, really?
So you're gonna have like Clockworks, S&S, Trask, Hoffman Designs. A lot of brands will be set up there. Covington, if you got 70, 80 grand to buy a bike, it's a good spot, man. Like,
No, it's definitely cool.
I
and
think it's always a good stop to go there and then do Rushmore, or do Rushmore and then come back there.
either
on the
way, because
back.
it's almost like the halfway point. It's almost like
Yeah.
between the campground, that, and then
You know, this is gonna be a Black Hills Harley.
What?
The Thundermax boys, slinging
That is
horsepower
right. Oh, yeah, they did
and
say
free
that.
installs. Anything you buy up there, they'll throw it on there for free.
Yeah, I think that was on my ad today. I
Go
just
see,
remembered
go
that.
see my boy Millhouse. Wink.
he's already applying up there.
Yeah, I think. Man, that's how our relationship started, man. Because me and
what's
Steve,
Kyle saying?
me and
You know better, you cunt.
me and Steve Chamberlain, smashed in, and we ended up showing up to Sturgis late one day, and we went straight to Black Hills Harley, and we ended up hooking up with Jake that was there, and we all went to Buffalo Wild Wings and shut that motherfucker down that night. And
What did we go? We ate at damn it. There was some other restaurant that was right there that we ate at. Like Texas Roadhouse. Texas Roadhouse, I think, is like right
sounds
behind
so
Black
good right
Hills.
now.
In Sturgis?
Yeah, it's behind Black Hills.
got
Black
a-
Hills Harley.
I got a wardrobe change coming. I got a shout out to somebody in Sturgis that we ate last year a couple times. One of my favorite spots,
which one?
the Knuckle.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, on the strip. Yeah, that was good. We ate there.
The
too.
Knuckle, so that spot, I've talked about it many times on these podcasts. We've talked about Sturgis, but I love just pulling in right there off Lozelle Street, parking the bike, and just kind of like, there's been times where my big wheel bagger days, mind you, we would just take over that spot and just party there for hours on end. And you have the people
That's the one with
walking
that,
around.
That's the one with the little outdoor tables
Yeah.
and everything set up. Yeah.
So you have like all the people walking around. You got the main road of people coming
The
in and out.
Sturgis sign is actually
Straight
like
in front of
right-
you.
Yeah.
Straight in
it's
front of
real
you.
cool.
Oh, it's the 2-story one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking about now.
One year Britta was there and she was like, I guess she was getting jealous of all the chicks walking around with their tits out and like stickers over them, so she had to do it too.
There you go.
I'm like, okay, shit, I'm into it.
Let me see.
that
Meatball
place-
wants that, but I'm going to have to order some big old stickers. Might have to use some of those Fast Life Campout stickers.
I got vinyl over there. We can cut some fucking
There we
6-inch
go.
circles out.
There we go. Make him that little meatball from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, just smiling.
I can't tell if you like are wearing pasties or are those supposed to be like some type of bra. You could put strings to them. I don't know. I'm excited for your chick to come. I think it'll be fun for her to see what this.
So part of what I said earlier about is with your chick being cooler, having met more of the people and having done more of the hangout stuff, does that give her more of a good feeling about it where she's like, yeah, dude, let's do Sturgis? Because I know that having your chick on board can make it between you're kind of eating shit for it. One of those things like, oh, going to Sturgis, have fun with the boys kind of thing. Another motorcycle trip versus all of a sudden it's kind of a trip that you're both doing. You know what I mean?
No, I think it's different with mine because mine actually rides and she's got her own bike. So with her, she's wanting to do this as much as I did. You know what I mean?
Cross it off her list.
She doesn't, it's not even about the who's there. If it's just me and her, she would want to go to Sturgis, you know, she enjoyed the camping, she enjoyed the riding.
How long before she becomes a leader?
So real talk, we've talked about that. Like before I started doing the performance thing, when I was still doing like
I'll fucking leave you if you do it.
No. I made a comment about it. Like me and Tony were talking about that. We were trying to get more women together, and my wife's like, I'm not doing a fucking women's club thing. Like that's gay.
Tread lightly.
No,
Tread lightly.
but that's my wife was saying that. It wasn't me telling her that. I was promoting it. I'm like, man, you like Marlena, Steve's
You impressed
wife?
her.
By the way, that one had a post recently kind of popping out of a tent. And it was like something dumb, pandering, fucking low hanging fruit shit. And God, it was all I could do not comment, just woof or oof, but mainly woof.
Yeah.
Anyways,
No, my wife's not into that stuff. She'll much rather hang around with you know a bunch of people that are actually into motorcycling and stuff, and not trying to just be, you know,
Empowered.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. So,
yeah.
But no, with her, I think it makes it easier now that she's friends with everyone. I know, like for instance, when we were at the bar, when she first talked to Britta and Ashley and them, that night when we were building the wall, I got pictures of her and my wife like went up to the bar and bought a bunch of shots for just the women. You know what I mean? Like they're taking shots together, cool. And so she definitely likes that, but she doesn't want to be like. She's not trying to be.
she's still independent. She doesn't.
Yeah. She still wants to ride and do the stuff.
You know what's awesome about like, you know why the whole idea of like having friend couples? It's so that we can pawn each other off on the other person. We don't have to fuck.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like, that's
when it comes to bikes, it's like, all right, the chicks are over there on that table.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Is like, so she can kind of mingle back and forth. So if I can just keep staying drunk over here, she can come over here, conjugate, and then go over there and talk. But she can just kind of. That's what she did at the camp out this year. She would be around me. We would walk around the campground and talk. But then when I started getting into a conversation that. She's like, oh, I've heard this one 1,000 times. I'm out. Oh, you're talking motorcycles or something dumb. And then she could see everyone else over there. And she's like, I'm just going to drink wine and do girl things for a little bit until you.
Yeah,
you know.
that part sucks. I hate that part where like something happens and everybody you see wants to know what happened. So you end up telling this story.
Yeah.
God, I feel so
a
bad.
million times. And you know, you're like, say when we're on like, I think that I did it a bunch on our trip to Maine because of the shift linkage thing. Mm-hmm. And so I felt like every time we got to a new city, that was a conversation. So all the guys that was literally there when it happened were like, okay, so I got to keep my story straight every time too.
I feel like I'm so bad about that people are like, yeah, dude, he's kind of cool, but man, he'll tell the same story on you a bunch of times. But I'm never telling you again.
Yeah, you don't know who's around that. Yeah.
There's been multiple times where I'm telling somebody for the fourth time in an hour and a half. But as people show up, oh man, what happened to the hair? Hey, what happened to this? And I'm just like, oh, you know what? Let me tell you the same thing I told this dude 15 minutes ago. But it's not their fault. You don't want to. But I'm like, man, if anybody's hearing this, like,
sorry.
I'm sure they just eye roll, and go, yeah, we get it, you fucking dude. But
yeah,
I guess that's human nature.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. But yeah, I don't know. There is some, I do enjoy having my wife at Sturgis. This year, I think that this last year, I think we had we talked about a lot of things because Sturgis is much different for me sometimes than it was when she first came with me, because I have all these obligations to go to, like this place, and now shooting photos, it's like, okay, I got to do a photo shoot, do this, do that, and it's like, she sees the rest of the guys and their old ladies just like drinking and partying and going to do things. I'm like, it's like, I kind of have to do this and that. So,
yeah, but I mean, even kind of like at the camp out, I think the girls still kind of did their thing. You know,
that's a more comfortable environment for them because they've kind of been there since day one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, through the camp out. But I felt like the way I saw them at the camp out and the way I saw them in Sturgis was almost still kind of the same. When they were still in our group and they were still having a good time, but they would still jump on the back of the bikes and leave with you guys when y'all went into town. And I don't know what the downtown situation was like, because unfortunately for Sturgis last year, because I'm just meeting you guys, I only really partied with y'all at the campground. I was doing more of the touristy things because it was my first time going.
Yeah.
So, we did spearfish. You guys did spearfish. I think when the first night we got into town, y'all did spearfish, but I had obligations to go meet my cousin Boz and everyone at the Chip.
Yeah.
So we met up with them, did the Chip thing. Balls. Which, man, like I said, Boz, that dude, meeting you guys now, he's put so many miles down.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
He couldn't make the camp out this past year. His daughter had her Sweet 16 the same weekend. Even though his wife gave him permission to leave, he felt he wouldn't hear the end of it.
We're not important.
Yeah, it's good for him. Good
But
for him, though.
he actually still took the time to ride up and meet Craig and them up in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And Big Trouble's brother, what's his name?
David.
Yeah.
David.
And hang out with them guys and do the Smokies just for the day and came back just to at least do some ride. And I feel like he did something with the camp out and, came all the way out to Tony's event. Rode straight from, it's 640 miles from his house to my house.
Yeah.
And then Tony's.
He rides his shit, man. There's no doubt about it.
And then
That guy-
Tony's is another 50
Yeah.
miles from my house to Tony's.
Yeah. What part of Arkansas are you in?
It's called Austin, Arkansas. It's just outside of, so we got an air base, Little Rock Air Force Base, and I'm about 10 to 15 miles north of that.
Okay. I
So
think I
I'm
know what
on
you're talking about.
67167 going towards St. Louis. So where Justin's house is, his house is off exit 3. I'm exit 21. So I'm not.
I just rode that.
Yeah.
Literally.
So I'm just right off the exit. You pull off of exit 21, I'm right there. We got a new little subdivision in that town. So if you're ever back
Dude,
there.
I was telling my wife yesterday, I was like, man, Justin's neighborhood is I could live there because Justin has every amenity that I
back.
ever wanted in a neighborhood. He has a Moe's.
He's got a
He
Chili's.
has a Chewy's, a goddamn Texas Road. He has every restaurant I love, like walking distance. Nah, I would say that.
Chewy's and Outback
Walk-
are walking
yeah.
distance. Yes.
It's all quick. Like it's a good drunk drive home.
It's an easy drunk drive home.
It's an easy. I mean, don't ride a boat.
from Chewy's to your house.
I'm sorry, Justin.
Nah, you just gotta throw it in there.
There's comments about the blow up in a second. People are going to start catching on.
He don't watch this shit.
Not from him. I'm saying everyone else is going to catch on.
If we FaceTime Justin,
Right, if he's got his shirt
I'm
off
not
again,
doing that
watching.
shit.
What movie was he watching last time?
Oh, something
Something
gay.
Scent of a woman or some shit.
I paused for a second. I was like, dude, I'm not supposed to say this on like a pot. And I was like, it's fucking gay.
We're just not allowed to say the F word anymore.
It'll get said.
Oh, the F, like what I just said?
No,
The F version of that.
the F version of that.
Oh, okay.
I think gay's an adjective.
Yeah.
It means happy.
It means happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck them. I hate fucking woke culture anyways. Cancel me,
It's all
dude.
whack.
I actually don't. I love my life. I'm pretty happy. There's times where I'm like, man, fuck, never will. I was about to say something bad. Times where I'm like, dude, I could go on a shooting spree. Like, I get it. Like, I just get it when it happens. I'm like, fucking
Yeah,
somebody
like driving
yeah.
through Dallas traffic. I got it.
But then
How do you- it's almost
but then
like-
I'm so happy, dude. Like I feel like I won the lottery in so many ways. Like things are far from perfect, but like this life, like I don't know. I would never go on a shooting spree. Fucking FBI's gonna show up at my house in a day. Hey man, did you say this at this time? No.
Everyone's like, hey, anyone heard from Jaden lately? Locked
Trust
up.
me, Jade will find a way to bring his phone into the fucking jail cell. They'll be getting reels from the jail cell. Yeah, dude, they let me out. They made me a trustee. I don't know.
Yeah, but like I was saying with Boz, what were we saying about him?
No, it's awesome that
He rides his shit. He rides his shit a lot.
Oh yeah, but
He's got a lot of
because of
people.
Sturgis last year, look what he's been doing,
Yeah.
and now he's about to ride from Georgia to my house. It's 600 something miles and 1,200 miles from my house to Sturgis and back. This time though, he's flying his wife. She's going to fly into Grand Rapids, and then he's just going to pick her up there, so he don't have her on the back of the bike,
Grand Rapids.
or not Grand Rapids,
Rapid City.
Rapid City.
Yeah, that's what Cody's
Grand
wife's
Rapids is
doing
Michigan.
too,
Someone
right?
else was just talking about that. So yeah, she's going to fly into Rapid City on Friday. So he'll just pull into the airport, pick her up, and then bring her into the campground. So because last year we rode from the campground to Colorado Springs, and then she flew out of Denver. And we stayed in Colorado Springs for the night and did the Garden of the Gods and all that kind of stuff in Colorado Springs. So that's what I'm saying. That's why Sturgis was wasn't as it was for us because my wife and I, once we left Justin and Adam and it was just the two of us on our bikes, we were able to kind of, you know,
the speed limit?
Yeah. Well, no, we did this. He was on his FXR.
Yeah.
Over
I
90
mean-
miles an hour, parts were coming off. So
This is my carburetor.
I got pictures of us working on that thing on the side of the road. I don't know how many times. Every stop
Dude.
I took another photo to document it.
That's me on that bike, man. Like I said, it's one of those things. Like they're great bikes. Once you get them all kind of sorted out on the road, you need that first like long trip to fix every problem, and after that, they pretty much don't break down after that.
No, well, so he did all that braking, and now when he rode to the camp out, it snapped the exhaust mount bracket off and something else before Joe bought it. Like he had to get it all fixed. So it just, I don't know. It's
His
an
bike,
ego.
no, sit down. Steve's bike was the, I don't know, it was
Star of the show.
It was the star of the shit show, but Justin's bike and the pictures we got of all when we did the straight influences and the wild shit, like those pictures, those are iconic, pictures now for the camp out. His wife on the back pouring white
wine while he's doing a
Zinfandel in his
burnout.
fucking mouth.
Well, he's kicking. That's why I had to paint my bike because he was kicking rocks all over it. Bikes in the background is my bike. There was a there was another FXR, or no, a Dyna, a nice clean Dyna, and something else that was getting just rocked the whole time.
I didn't know you could white smoke on dirt.
That was amazing.
That was pretty
When
cool.
Steve did it, I was like, he's wheeling on dirt in a Harley. So
If there's anybody that can do it, it's him.
So that shit was crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, Sturgis this year, I'm excited, man. I really am. There, like we were talking about earlier, there's a lot of shows. You have FXR show on Sunday. You have the Hardcore Cycle show, which
On Monday.
I just got to give that dude a shout out, John over there. I mean, that show kind of, I think it's on its third, maybe fourth year. I think it's third year. Yeah.
Where was it at last year? Was it in Sturgis?
I don't think he did one in
think it came to
Sturgis. I
no.
think he's been doing the Daytona thing for the last couple of years. He's like a PA guy.
Yeah.
So, that Northeast culture is like Daytona. It's like crack to those guys is what it is.
Well, it's their first break away from the snow. And
Yeah.
They can't help it.
They can't help it. It's like they have no other option. It's like, yeah, I guess I ride a bike. I got to go to
It just
Daytona.
sounds so good to him, dude. It's the cheese to the rack kind of thing. No,
That's
I
exactly
love Daytona. His show in Daytona was fucking awesome. That was my first time in Daytona, but that was the performance show was kind of the highlight. One of the highlights of the trip. But definitely as far as shows go, and it's actually got me. I've already got my time off approved and everything. I'm supposed to be back on Tuesday, which means I got to leave Monday morning early. It's already got me thinking about
trying to push
seriously
another day.
thinking of just doing one revision. Going, hey, I hate to do it. I need to be back on Wednesday instead of Tuesday, just so I can hang out.
Yeah, I'm looking
Monday.
forward to that show.
That's exactly what I did in Daytona.
Yeah.
I was supposed to leave that morning. Me and Jones got there, had all our shit on the bike or whatever.
yeah, I remember your
And-
post where you're like, I guess I'm about to do a long
y'all
fucking haul back.
Kind of bullied us into it.
I think Jetty's staying with us this year, too. at the
Oh yeah,
campground.
Damn.
Oh yeah, and we ended up went so hard that last night. We're like, no, dude, we got to get up in the morning. We didn't even wake up till like 11:30.
What time y'all got home? What, 2 in the morning?
7? No, we got home like 7-ish in the morning. I got home like an hour before.
I remember you and
supposed to be
Jones
online.
just following y'all along when you're
Oh,
like,
dude. Adderall.
Fuck
Thank you to Adderall for that trip. All right.
But no, the hardcore show, the hardcore show. I'm looking forward to it. What I like about that was, we were talking about that earlier. I think it's still super grassroots. I think you see a lot of like not builders, but just homies,
Yeah.
just putting their bikes in, and
That's how the Daytona one felt. Homies.
Well, I mean, it shows with who won
The
it
people
and all
I
that.
didn't know, some
Like
of the
real-
Northeast people, luckily being friends with Mark, introduced me, Joel, Jeremy.
Yeah.
And
It helped us out on our trip this year because you guys knew so many people personally.
Yeah, from Florida.
Northeast.
A lot of the
Yeah.
Northeast guys from Florida, and it's
Yeah, they can't help it.
Yeah, and they came out. Well,
but it's I don't know, it's a great thing. Like I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I'm stoked to go to
Sturgis.
Daytona next year. I think I talked so much shit and I willed it into existence.
so Daytona, hey, and I'll
Because
be,
it wasn't that
All right,
great when I
everybody,
went.
we bail on Daytona this next year.
No, Daytona for me though is like it's like that people watching kind of thing. I enjoy it. I like going down there. I like all the cheesiness. I like going to Boot Hill Saloon and hanging out on the strip, and I don't know. It's fun to me. I still enjoy it because it's something I mean. My dad took me there when I was 15. Was the first time I went to Daytona, and I think I've gone maybe 5 more times since.
My problem with my trips is that I would do one trip. Like, so I think I've said this before, but I think I have a good way of explaining it now. When I went to Giddy Up, that was like one of my first events that I did as just a guy I wanted to ride bikes, right? We camped, we partied, and I wanted every event to be another Giddy Up. I wanted Giddy Up to be compounded by every event I went to. Mm-hmm. And then I quickly, over a year of going to all these different events, trying to make it another Giddy Up, I realized that every show is a different vibe, and you have to play that rally, that part of the country. You have to go there open-minded and let it show you, hey, here we do it this way. Yep. And then you get the best experience by allowing it to be what it is instead of going to Daytona expecting it to be like Sturgis. And that's what I did. And I was like, yeah, I'll never in my ever fucking life camp at Daytona again. It's the worst place to camp.
But that's the thing with Daytona. So when we go to Daytona, the last time when me, Steve, and all of us went down there, we just stayed near the racetrack. They got all the venues, the vendors, a bunch of stuff goes on.
I stayed across the highway from the racetrack. And you're probably the same spot, honestly, because there's a section where there's nothing but vendors, and then there's a big field with like outhouses and shit like that.
No, we were in the hotel. I don't remember what it was, Radisson or something like that. That was like right beside the racetrack.
Okay, yeah.
He had points. He had points.
Too far north if you're up there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's when I was riding a different type of bike, and I wasn't into like the camping and stuff. So I would pack everything up and.
That was when me and Jetty went. So we camped there, and then we ended up doing 1 night or 2 nights there, and we just said, fuck this, and we ended up staying with Jeremy at Lucky Strike.
So my first motorcycle came in, when you started talking about all these different rallies, one of my first, I guess, rallies to ride to or whatever, there used to be this rally in Georgia, and I don't know if it's still going on, it's called Angel City. They would do it twice a year, and this guy owns, it's in Unadilla.
Sounds like a strip club.
Yeah. Hear me out. This thing, it's incredible.
Tiffany to the stage.
Yeah.
Tiffany.
Next up on the stage, center stage.
Thank you for coming to Angel City tonight.
No, so
it's like a Florida strip club.
Hell yeah.
It could be.
I'm into it.
But it's in Unadilla right off I-75. It's this guy owns probably, I don't know, I think it's like 200 acres, but he built an old western town, like hand-built this western town. So when you pull in, there's a gate, you pay your entry fee to come into the ground. Either you're going to camp, RV, or just come in for the day or whatever. No police officers other than their own enforcers or security. But the road, you pull in and every building looks like you're going through like the movie Tombstone, the way they're all set up, and people can rent each of these buildings. So you'll have the leather and all the bullshit being sold, but then you also have like a guy will rent out a spot to do tattoos, and they got the bars. I think the beers, or the guy keeps it to where you can't bring your own beer in.
Sounds like Scarborough Fair, but for like Wild West.
So
it's a Renaissance fair for the Wild West.
So that video of me posted a while back or on Instagram where I was doing that burnout, like that minimum. That was at Angel City. So they'll do all the little biker events or whatever, but they have a stage in the center, but it's a one-way road. It goes around, it comes back around, loops over. But out in the field is where you camp at. So you camp out there. I camped out there the whole time. That little rally would be something that I think this group of guys, if they were able to like take over that little town thing, because it's only... Man, it's not very big. You know what I mean?
We get it. You want to start your own camp out.
Yeah. So, Georgia camp out.
Here comes the Arkansas camp out.
It's just going to be it's in Georgia. It's in Georgia. So it's just going to be It's just going to be called the South camp out, not the down south. We're not that far down yet. So
the South will rise again. Camp
out. We're going to set it for October. Pull out a calendar. No, so
we're camped out. We're camped out.
Yeah. We're camped out. No, but it's a good little time. But that's the same thing like you're saying with Giddy Up. So going back to it, like each of these events have to be different. I think that's what makes each event its event.
You
if
got to go
to
them and be kind of open minded to allow it to expose to you what type of event it is. That's what just happened on this trip that we went to Maine. I went on this trip expecting it to be like the last 2 trips we went on, and it wasn't, not at all. And
boss said, "What's up?"
You put your mind in this like idea that like, all right, this is gonna be like going to California or going to Yellowstone. It's like, no, I'm going to fucking New York.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what with Daytona. Why I like Daytona is there's this. We always stayed in New Smyrna Beach, so it's just south of Daytona. But you ride A1A. And me and Balls have done this ride a dozen times. Like you go A1A and you go up to St. Augustine. You can go all the way to Jacksonville, but St. Augustine's that old town. That's where the Fountain of Youth is at. They got the oldest wooden schoolhouse. There's that fort. If you go up there and see this old town, It's got a lot of history to it. But you ride A1A and you can literally ping pong bars. There's oceanfront bars. There's bars on this side that are just shit bars. But you literally just ride and ping pong up to St. Augustine and explore St. Augustine and then come back to Main Street and party at nighttime on Main Street. That shit's fun to me because it's different than like what Sturgis is or what.
So it would be fun to me too, but the only time I went, it was me, Jetty, Jeremy from Lucky Strike, and Hawkeye.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when it was me, it was just me, Boz. Well, the first couple times I went, it was just me, Boz, and my dad, and then
we're on a logo together.
The last time we went, it was me, Steve, Marlene, and my wife.
We are.
And so I've never done something as big as like what you guys' groups are, but now that I'm part of the big group stuff, I do enjoy the big group stuff more.
So we've been talking about that a little bit here and there. It's like because we do these trips, but unfortunately, like you get capped out on how many people can go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And what's
why
weird is
ever get an invite.
Honestly, a lot of that comes into you can't be in or out. Like depending on the trip and what it is, you have to be in at the very beginning, 100% confirm you're in, and then be willing to send money to prove, you know what I mean, to lock it down, that kind of thing. Like if you're not one of the core groups that we've been doing this, one of the core dudes that we've been doing this with, then man, I'm listening. Send me a message. I'm listening, but I can't just take your word on it and save you a fucking spot. Oh, the Scott Metal on Instagram. Like there's a bunch of you dudes I love, but I can't, fucking PayPal somebody. I mean, if you're that in, say, dude, I'm fucking in. Just
the thing is that like we said earlier, we're doing a trip in June. We're starting to book shit in January, right?
Well, I think what's cool.
So if somebody's down to go January and we start booking hotels or campsites and somebody backs out, like that money is fucking gone, bro. Like,
yeah, but I think what's cool is though, I think the fact that you guys do it in your core group and then everyone that y'all meet along the way. It seemed like this main trip, every town y'all got in, someone jumped in and rode with y'all.
This last trip, it was 100% like that.
And I mean, and you guys came into Arkansas, but I'd love to do that one time. I'd love to be able to jump on and just be part of this like one leg of a trip. If y'all were to come.
Well, yeah. Say you can't do a 2-week trip.
Yeah, if I can't do 2 weeks, and that goes.
Dude, I can ride with you to the next state.
Yeah, exactly.
I can ride with you for the next 8 hours or whatever.
It's no different than what I did today. Today I came in from Florida yesterday, and I was like, I just want to go down and see the homies in Texas. So 380 miles to here, and I'll go down to Austin and go down to Houston, see all you guys in Houston again. But, you can make a little day trip and go 200-300 miles with somebody and turn around and go back. What I mean? I think that's what's really cool about this group and being part of this now is now I'm realizing that there's.
So this is something I was thinking about the last couple of days. As I was riding back from Milwaukee, I was like, because it was 350 miles or 300. It was actually 420 from Milwaukee to St. Louis.
Oh, yeah, it was.
It was that far from Milwaukee to
how long it take you going 69 miles an hour?
Yeah, and then from Kyle's house to basically back to Dallas, it was 700 miles, and you split that up, it's 350, right? So 350 to Little Rock, Little Rock to Dallas, 350, right? Yeah. But we went on our trip. We had dudes that were riding 350 miles to come meet us and ride for a couple hours. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, that's like I live in Dallas, and some dude is right now in Oklahoma City going on 40 to Little Rock and further, right? And I meet him there. I'm like, I want to ride with this guy. So I go 350 miles to Little Rock and meet him, and I'm like, just want to ride with you for a couple hours.
I think it's fucking rad.
It's rad as fuck. It's like I do that, and then I ride to Memphis.
Yep.
And then I'm like, all right, you guys have fun. And then I'm going to turn around and go home. Like, I thought I was a rider. Those motherfuckers that did that on our trip, dude.
I'll say it again. AJ Gillis, the guy that met us in Maine. Dude, I mean, it's just cool. Because like I said, you may not have the trips, and you may live in a different part of the country where you can't get to a lot of the shit we do. I understand. But yeah, if it ever intersects where we're in that same fucking region, man, I kind of would love to do the same thing. I've got a few dudes on my list that if I ever see they're kind of close, so I got to keep missing, but for sure. But yeah, I got a bunch of dudes that, hey, same thing. I just want to ride with you for a little bit, just to say we did it, get a gas stop or two and shoot the shit, and I'll let you go. I'm not trying to fucking stalk you.
I've been wanting to set it up because I think me and me and Kyle, because me and Instav and Kyle, we sat up till 4 a.m. when I was at his house talking about millions of shit, millions of things.
I like millions of shit better.
Yeah, millions of shit. But there's a group of guys that I consider like close friends. You know, like Craig and Steve and Kyle and a lot of other dudes that like haven't done the trips, like the big trips yet. Like they always do the low hanging fruit, you know, because they all live like within 350 miles from the Smokies. So they're like, hey, let's go to Smokies this year. Let's do something different.
He threw a ride together from 700 miles. You said at the camp out, so it's a little less, I guess, to Oklahoma. Kyle, I mean, he brought a big group with him to the camp.
No, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is like I want to get these dudes. I want to take them to the West Coast. I want to show them, because a lot of these guys haven't ridden to there and back. Now, don't get me wrong. Like Instav and Kyle, Monty, Proper Baggers, Daniel, they all flew out there one year, rented some bikes, and rode around in L.A. But that's cool. I mean, I could see how that'd be fun. But there's something different when you're fucking like you start seeing those goddamn signs, you know, in Phoenix that say L.A. 350 miles, or when you're in fucking Flagstaff, it says L.A. on the sign. You're like, that's where I'm headed. You know what I mean?
Well, that's just a priority thing. That's just where you just have to make that, because if you're going to ride it, there's only one way to do it. Ride it. It's going to take some time.
Yeah,
that's why
you have to make that a priority.
We did that last podcast. We did that last podcast with the recap of Maine, but then the last half we were talking about our trip for next year. I love how Cody B was like, look, man, like we have to ride from here to Pacific Northwest first before we can even consider putting our shit on a trailer to take it somewhere to get further. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I enjoy that. I'm like, yeah, you're right. That makes sense. Like, if we can't say we rode from Dallas to Washington to Key West to Maine to San Diego.
That was one of the cool things about the Maine trip, is seeing the people seeing the license plates at a gas station or stopping and they're like, you know, doing are y'all really from fucking Texas? Y'all rode these up here? And we're like, yeah. And just seeing the look of, I don't know, it's, you know, I don't know, not whatever.
Like,
it was just
fucking dumbass.
Yeah. You know, there was some of that for sure. Why? I know there's a couple times where somebody went, why?
Well,
but it's that's cool. There's something about.
I think there's with that, there's a difference in. So what was it? I don't know, a month ago or so was, you know, everyone was doing the Instagram stories where they were highlighting all the states that they rode to. You know what I mean? There's a difference in having your home state and marking all those states off because you made it to all those from your original location, or trailing your bike and say, oh, I rode in this state, you know, I unloaded my bike and rode around South Carolina, loaded it back up, trailered it back home, you know, like, to me, I used to be that guy. I used to be like, oh, I've ridden in Florida and this and that, but I've also trailered to a lot of these spots and then rode. Now, this year alone, you know, I got a brand new bike. I bought it April 30th. After this trip here, I'll have a little over 15,000 miles on it, you know, so, and I've done all that in this past year, like riding to all these spots, and it's so much more of an accomplishment. You can see all the same, you're looking out the same view as you would in a car, but there's just something different. It's so different. I mean, the scenery is, everything about it is just different when you're on two wheels. And
it's everything. It's your senses. It's the weather, the elements, like I said, the gas stops. It's just so much more of a intimate ride.
Yep.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to channel my best friends right here, but yeah, it's and I know it's been talked about before. I don't know if I'd say ad nauseum, but it's been talked about before in this podcast. The differences in driving somewhere in a car and riding somewhere on a bike. Don't get me wrong. There's places that it's fucking badass to just drive through in a car. Like,
yeah,
I'm all about road trips.
I think you take it in and appreciate it more.
So much different.
You appreciate it more when you're on
100%.
So to do those
There's
little
a
maps,
different level of earning it.
Yeah, exactly. So to do those maps and say,
fucking Mitch, guy from sorry to cut you off, one of Camno's friends from Austin, he's on a trip right now where he's gonna end up in Houston. And he's done another one of these where he ended up at one of our events after doing like a big 4 or 5 state thing, where he's doing the same thing now. He's went up through Tennessee, he rode the Dragon. This motherfucker's been getting rained. He's been in Ohio, he's been getting rained on like a son of a bitch. It's one of those things, like every story I see, he's getting rained on. But you know what? He's still fucking doing it. I've seen his luggage, you know, all on the back. He's got new trash bags taped around it. He's fucking earning it. And he's going to meet us in Houston on Saturday.
Hell yeah.
And it's like the second time he's done something really fucking cool like this.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, so with meeting you guys and being in this stuff, it's getting me pumped up. I'll be 40 years old next year. I'm the 82 baby. So
Okay.
it's like I'm just now experiencing this part of motorcycling, and I'm pissed off that I didn't experience it. You know,
I'm looking down the barrel at 38, and I'm the same way.
And
feel
I
the
wish I would
exact
experience
same
this earlier and done more of this. But man, I'm so happy that I'm so able to do it. You know, and I'm at that point where I don't want to be like I shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know, kind of person. I can look back. You know, it's like my wife asked me, it's like, you're just going to go to Texas, you know, by yourself? And like, yeah.
Because I have nothing promised down the road, and I've already left some meat on the bone. So that's why I'm kind of nuts.
And that's what I told her. I was like, you know, I don't know what next year's going to bring. I could get a new job. I mean, yeah, right now I'm fortunate to be in a job where I can take the time off. My boss is understanding. I'm a self-contractor, but the shop owner's understanding to where I can take this time off, but that might not always be the case. I don't know what the future holds. You know, I could get another job opportunity. I could get something else down the road. I've been in the military. I've worked for the railroad. I've had these type of jobs where you don't get a ton of time off and vacation to do this stuff. So while I have it, I don't want to be one of those guys that says, I'll do it next year. You know, this year, like if you're on the fence about it, but you're on the fence, but you have the ability. Stop being on the fence and just fucking make the leap and do it. Like just do it.
What you got to do, and it'll.
And that's what this weekend. So I was going to go to the up north when Steve canceled, and then a few of the other homies, Charles and those guys. You know, they're going to leave out Friday and go down to Sketchy's ride. When all that stuff was going on, I was like, man, that just seems like a lot of just riding and confusion. I'm just going to see the homies in Texas. Houston has their fucking bike night coming on Saturday. I want to see fucking Mark and them down in Austin. So I wanted to come down here and hang out with you guys. I want to go to Austin. I ain't been to Austin in probably 10 years, 11 years.
Yeah.
Hang out in Austin.
Hey.
The new California.
Good luck.
Yeah, the new California.
Stay in Cedar
See how
Park.
things have changed. And then cut over to Houston and then ride back from Houston back home. So that's what this scene's brought to me.
Hit up Cisco's in Austin for breakfast.
Where's that?
It's like, I don't know if it really is, but part of their thing is like, well, we're the oldest Mexican bakery or something. Mm-hmm. But it's a restaurant. When my sister got married a year or so ago, I went down there and I got real.
What do they make other than flan for breakfast?
No, it's like Southern style breakfast.
Oh, okay.
Like it's mixed with like they've got migas and there's definitely a Mexican feel.
Is it like on the little hip area?
Hey, I want 3 fried eggs. You know, just your standard traditional breakfast. They've got that, and if you want anything Mexican food breakfast, they've got that too. But it's old, it's family, it's good. To the place, like I said, I got real fucked up the first night I was down there, and I was in the party, whatever. You know, the guy that married my sister put me in the whatever where you get to stand up there by him. So I went and had brunch with him and his buddies and his dad. But dude, I was so hungover that I couldn't eat. Like I tried to, and it was bad. Yeah. But the food, everything looked so good that I went back the next morning. They have breakfast enchiladas. Yeah. I went back the next morning, not hungover, with TL before we left Austin, and fucking gross out.
Well, Steve
and
or
when I went down to Austin that day for
this my place I go to.
The 200 miles for tacos or whatever.
Is that what
I was originally going to go to that place, and then I hit up Steve before I left. He's like, yeah, dude, come hang out. Or actually, I was going to pick him up, but I didn't know if we were going to hang out or whatever, and then we ended up hanging out the rest of the day.
So I think that 200 miles for tacos, I think you and I
So dude, Axel, that guy from Florida.
Yeah, but I think he did 200 miles round trip for tacos.
Oh, I didn't know this. I think
you and I did the 200 miles one way for tacos.
Yeah.
100%. All right, I can hit the head.
So you had said something. I was walking down to piss. Like, so everybody was doing the
little maps.
The maps, right?
Where you've ridden to.
And so I started looking at
states you rode in.
I think Craig posted something. We all got the link and we started fucking checking it out, right? So I dig it. And, you know, like, I'm proud of the states I've hit. I still have quite a few left. But the next level, it's almost like you prestige in Call of Duty or some shit, is which one of your friends have you crossed off all those states with?
No, and that's another big thing. I think the same thing with, like, I hate to use, like, what I do for a living, like tattoos. Like, you know, when you and your buddy go and get a tattoo, even though y'all don't get the same tattoos or nothing like that, you can look at that tattoo and remember who you're with and that point in your life.
Yeah.
These motorcycle trips are starting to turn out like that. Like, I can remember who I was with for these different events, and that's going to be a whole nother thing. You know, so you guys obviously are very blessed in the fact that you're knocking off all these states but as a group. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so it's not just I've ridden all these states. It's like, man, all these states that I'm marking off, I've done it with Jaden and James and Cody and Larry and whoever else is committed to those trips. So, and that's where I was when I was trying to talk about Arkansas and Tony and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, Tony doesn't have the time. I mean, he might here in the near future, but with his schedule, with owning a business and
stunt tour and all that stuff.
stunt tour, he can't do these long 10-day, 2-week trips. And he's got children too.
Kids, yeah.
Yeah, he's the same boat as I am, so he can't just be gone all the time. He's got obligations. And sometimes he came down here. When was he down here? 2 weeks ago? Week ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, so he came through and he messaged me. He goes, "Hey, you want to come down to T-Bar Tuesday?" Tony does this thing where he messages you on a Monday to ask you on a Tuesday if you want to go for a 600-mile ride or whatever. And it's like, I can't just like cancel all my appointments and say, do whatever. But I wish he would plan it because I'd love to come to a T-Bar Tuesday. But, he's got to play his schedule the same way I'm doing. Like this trip down here, I think I planned it last week. I was just like,
I remember seeing you like make the decision.
well, originally I was going to do up north, and then when Steve didn't go up north, and then I saw that the up north was turning into to Sketchy's ride, and it's no diss on Sketchy. I'd love to be part of that because it looks like it's going to be a great time. I just can't go 900 miles to Michigan and then cut 500 miles to Pennsylvania and then ride 1,100 miles back to my house in 3 days. You know what I mean? Whereas I can do, here to Austin, I think Houston to my house is only, 700 miles or something like that. Yeah. So I can do that trip in 3 days. But so I just had to make the smarter move and do this. But it's definitely, like you were saying, the people that you do it with, it's going to make or break the trip. And this is my first big solo trip, honestly. And I was telling
do you like riding by yourself?
Man, so I was telling Sax this earlier. I was like, coming through the city and just being able to like cut the traffic, like just zigzag and not worry about who's behind me.
Yeah.
And making sure that they have enough room to go with me and I'm not losing anybody definitely makes it worth it. Now, if you're riding Sturgis and places that aren't so congested, it's definitely better with a big group because you're on these long straightaways with no other cars, and it's cool to just look over and see your wife or your homie or whoever riding beside you. But yeah, if you're coming through Texas, do it solo because this fucking traffic is stupid. So
I'm a 50-50 guy. I equally love traveling alone as much as I love traveling with my friends.
This trip right here, I've loved this trip solo. So the furthest I've ever gone, I went to Birmingham. I went from Little Rock to Birmingham, which is, I think, 320. It's just shy of what the mileage is here. I did that trip and back solo, and that was it. That's my furthest solo trip. And it was good. It was fun, but
Still pissing down there?
apparently.
God damn.
But
jerked off.
This trip, if I would have had someone riding with me, it would have took me forever to get here because just to cut the traffic, and lane split. I'm not.
Well, the exact case in point. So, like that new Road Glide, because it doesn't have a tuner, it doesn't have a cam or anything in it. Like I can get 220 out of that gas tank.
Yep.
And because I was trying to make time, because once I landed in the airplane at Milwaukee, I got there, I had to do a photo shoot on the bike. I was trying to hop on that bike and leave Milwaukee by 3 p.m. so that I could get to St. Louis by 9, right? Well, St. Louis is like 420 miles. It was basically like 7 hours it was supposed to be. And but I figured, what, I could probably, if Google says 7 hours, I could probably get it down to 6 on that kind of distance, right? And I did. But I also did like 200-mile. I did a 200-mile stretch, and
Between
then
gas,
yeah, and I can't do that with our group because our group has like 125-mile gas tanks. Yeah,
See, and that's crazy. Because my bike, I can get 180. I'm cammed with a 5-gallon tank. I can get about 180 on mine. 180 to 170 to 190, somewhere in that ballpark. Tony, no matter what he rides, is 120. He's got a small tank, fat ball, 120. He's got his FXR or Dyna, 120. So,
So it's like I on a big trip, if we're doing 1,000 miles, I enjoy a 120-mile rip and then chill.
Yeah.
120, chill, 100 because if you think about it, if you're going to be riding for 1,000 miles, if you're trying to knock out 1,000 miles in a day, 120 times 5 means that you don't have to stop 10 times.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You can, do it 9 or 8 or some shit.
Yeah.
Like I didn't do math right there, something like that. But basically, when you're doing these long rips, like a lot of the times when we would go on a trip, we would try to at least push 800 miles out. And so you do 120 miles, maybe 115, 130, maybe 100 if it's like, the next gas stop is getting scarce. You can enjoy it a lot more
Well, I
and have a
noticed
lot of
like
energy.
on this trip, I pushed my first stop to the limit. So I wanted to see how far I can get. So I got all the way from my house almost to the state line, which was I think 170 miles or something like that. Still had some gas left, but it was a nice stop for me to get off. I had a gas station, and I didn't have no sunscreen or anything. So I was like, man, I should be trying to find a Walgreens or something like that. So pulled off, ate at Wendy's, fueled up, got some sunscreen, and then jumped back on the road. And the only reason I stopped short of my second gas stop, it started raining, and I could look ahead and I could see that the sky looked like it was pushing over, and that the rain wasn't going to be like too bad. So I was like, I'm going to go ahead and pull off here, because there's literally, as soon as the rain, I could look ahead and see the rain was dropping right on the exit. So I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and pull off at this exit, fuel up. I think I still had, 40, 50 miles left on the tank. And so I fueled up at that one. I think I was like the 120 stop. And then I made it all the way here. I think I'm on reserve now. So 2 stops, wasn't too bad to go 300.
I bought half of a rain suit while I was up there in Milwaukee.
I saw you pointing
and
it
then
out.
and then they loaned me the pants because they didn't have pants in stock that fit me. So they had some for their rider school. They just gave me it from House of Harley. And man, I never wanted to buy a rain suit or own one, because it's such a pain in the ass to pack that along with everything else you got to take, right? So the difference between a lot of other cats and myself is that I have to put camera equipment or podcast equipment in my saddlebags on my trip too. So it's not like I have all this space for pants and shoes and clothes. It's like I got one saddlebag for like clothes and things like that, toothbrush, all that stuff. The other side, I got fucking a camera, 2 lenses, 3 microphones, a fucking recorder, a laptop, some fucking spray to clean my shit, maybe a little bit of tools. Like it's a lot. So you lose that.
Yeah.
So then you got to fucking pack a rain suit
on top of all that.
And you're like, man, I don't have the space for it. You know what I mean? But
so Sturgis last year, I didn't have any. I got leather pros for my bike now. They're not on right now, but I have them for Sturgis. My wife bought those Thrashing escape bags.
Yeah.
Not too big. But last year we had no saddlebags, and we literally packed our tent.
If you have a sissy bar, though, you can make that
you
go
can pack
a
some
long
crazy
way.
shit. So we both have sissy bars last year. So we packed a tent, a queen size air mattress, a pump for the air mattress, 2 sleeping bags,
a fridge.
hear me out. A coffee French press with the little butane burner and everything, a 12-inch fan for inside of our tent.
That's why I didn't hang out with you up there, because y'all looked like the
little bougie.
It
Had a
hillbillies
cooler.
rolling up. You had too much shit in the back of your bike. I was like, man,
Yeah, it was
It's
super
like
packed.
going and hanging back. It's like
I was like, oh,
Man,
I see Justin brought some clampets from Arkansas. Whatever, dude. Don't talk to me.
Hey, we had everything. But this year I learned that since they have coffee at the camp, because I didn't know what the campground had.
yeah.
So, I brought a cooler, had everything ready, and then I'm like, well, they sell a cheap styrofoam cooler there. They have coffee. They have a coffee golf cart that goes around in the morning. We used the French press the first morning, and then I realized they were selling coffee for like $2 or $1. So I'm like, why the fuck did I pack all this shit to like?
Yes.
I can just get a fresh coffee. So it's like this year, and I have saddlebags this year. So this year is going to be even easier.
I meant to say something earlier about when it comes to packing light, and if you want to make it up there on whatever bike,
There's literally a Dollar
you could have
General
a new
too.
Sportster S, baby. And I'm going to tell you how to get to Sturgis. There is I don't know the name of it in front of me, but just Google it. Do fucking a little bit of research on your own. It's not going to kill you, and I guarantee you'll find it pretty easy. There's some like shipping posts, packing posts kind of thing, but it's a local family-owned
there on
place
Lizelle.
right
Yeah.
there. They've been there for like 30 years or something. They will not fuck you. Kyle and I shipped. It ended up, I think, being, it was either $40 total or $80 total. So it was either $20 for me or $40. Either way, I sent so much shit home. Stuff that
Well,
I
they
bought
got the
first
post
time.
office is just a little further down the street too, and it wasn't much because Adam and Justin
This
both
place,
did
man,
that.
I'm going to say you support obviously
Okay.
like a family, like a little local business. And, they make the bottom of the box with this never-ending cardboard thing at the top. They put all your shit in there, and then they fold it and cut it. Like, they push your stuff down. Like, they're not going to fuck you on space. It's not.
No, a lot of guys did that. That's what I'm saying. They packed
They were nice.
all the cylinders they bought.
They
shipped them back.
I felt good spending my money there, and that was one of those things. Where, like I said, if you're on a bike that you can't do it, dude, ship it up there. Take the energy to ship it to them. They'll hold it. They said you can drop it back. You can leave a certain date to ship it. She goes, if you want to bring us. Start a box at the beginning of your trip, the first day, and say, "Hey, I'm just going to bring you stuff during the week,
cool.
and I'll tell you when to ship it." You can do that, and as you're coming back from the ship one day, and you go out buy a hoodie,
Is that what Jacob did when
he in there?
Won that exhaust? Didn't he win like an exhaust at the FXR show?
He did win something. I don't know. If
I think
he
it was an exhaust.
I don't know what
hanging
happened. I know Kyle and I we did our own thing as far as shipping it that day, but. He may have, and if you're going to, I would say go.
Yeah, if you win something big or buy something big, you can ship it.
You
back.
can make it super light if you don't have the touring capabilities. Don't let that.
Well, I'm telling you right
I've
now,
always talked to people like if you look at it, you can ship a tent to a FedEx or to most shipping places
and pick it up.
Meaning that you can ship it there and then figure out how to get it the mile or 2 miles from there to your campsite. So that you don't have to pack it on it. And then, let's be honest with you, some of these tents aren't that expensive.
Yeah.
So if you just want to like chalk it up and leave it or throw it away afterwards or get offered up to one of the other hillbillies that are there, like realistically, like if you think about it, you're out so much less money by staying in a tent than in a hotel room, period.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I got a bougie tent for this
And the
year.
thing about
I do too.
I got a list that I'm going to
Are you using the same one from the camp out?
Go ahead.
If you're on the fence about like you said, if you're on the fence about coming, but you could possibly make it,
Not even possible. You know you can
I
make
would
it, but you're on the
deeply
fence about doing
encourage you
it.
to do it because there's not a handful. There's 2 or 3 dudes on this list that are kind of in that situation, but I'm leaning on them. I think they're going to do it. But if you're worried about, I'm not going to know anybody, there's not going to be. Not only is it going to be our whole group and a bunch of people that I'm not going to name on this list that are just kind of already started on grata or they're assumed to be there.
Yeah.
But dude, I've got Mike, MGD, Trevor, Ricky Bobby, Woodgrain Sportster Brian. He's riding in again from the camp out with Joe Kidd, JR, Moses, the guy with the photographer.
Yeah, Moses texted me today. He said
Their
he'll see
homie
me in Sturgis.
Dan.
He said he's for sure coming to Sturgis.
Aaron, Midwest Grinder will be there. Austin, Ulrich. Jetty, of course. If you've ever wanted to party with Jetty, if you've got the fanboy glasses on for Jetty and go, man, that looks wild. I just want to hang. Come to fucking
If
Sturgis.
you think you can party,
I'm scared.
you want to test your party.
I'm scared.
Yeah, if you
I
want to
almost told you to
test.
come crash this. I almost said, hey, dude, we're starting at 7. Show up like 8:30 drunk. Just come on in. But I was like, I don't want to.
JD will show you how to party.
Podcast. But JD's going to be there. K Thompson, 8108. I couldn't find your name, bro. I looked so hard. Donnie Hill, shut the fuck up, Donnie. Mike DeJong, Chopper Guy, now Dyna Guy.
Is he riding the Dyna up?
I don't know. I got to check with him. But yeah, he should be because it should be done.
He's not riding
Speaking
the
of him,
chopper.
Clay's doing his paint work. Clay's in.
Clay's coming?
Yeah, that's what he said. RD, Chris Gollett from Austin, Sketchy's going to be, he's riding in this year.
RD's going?
RD, well, he's got bike. He's trying to get a cam and some stuff in before.
He's Big Sexy RD?
Yeah, he's got some work.
Okay.
He's got some bike work.
I mean, he ordered some parts from Justin,
but he's trying to do it. He's
trying to make
for
it.
sure.
Is he
trying
got
to-
like
just- so
is
RD
this chick
just-
like got some money or some shit?
No, I think he sold his house.
Yeah.
He sold his house
He sold
recently.
something. I saw on
Did he
story.
sell his
I don't
house to
know.
go to Sturgis?
I don't know. That.
Did you see that he went up to Sturgis for the 4th of July?
I saw that.
Yeah, him and his buddy
and his-
Mac. The
him and
last
his
two
buddy.
dudes that I'm super excited for, Josh, who's been hanging around, with the Road King, Harvey Adventure, and then our
He's
homie
a
Trey
fire
Yeah, they're
department
both.
guy.
Him and Trey are both firefighters.
That's right.
And then,
Trey
like I was-
recently traded up to a Road Glide S. He's got a fucking killer bike. They both do, but they're both in.
Are they?
Dude,
And then,
so what's? We
I'm
need to.
super excited about those guys because Josh is a guy who listened to the podcast. He fucking showed up to a bike night or something, and then it's just he's shown up to just about everything since.
Josh is the firefighter that works right down the street from the bike night.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That dude's cool as shit.
He rode to Fort Worth with me. I think even maybe the first night I ever went to the DFW Dyna Crew bike night, I don't know, a handful of months ago. He rode up. I threw it. I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go. Does anyone want to go? He hit me up. We met at Fuel City and went. And he's the best energy.
He's energy, man.
The
Yeah,
best
I love
energy
it.
you could have. He's fun to hang around with. He's a good dude. He pulls his weight and I'm so excited about him being there.
Yeah, at the pool
So-
party in in Arkansas, he bought everybody pizza and beer. He brought.
Speaking of pizza,
I think Jetty bought
Craig,
the pizza.
You
Oh,
can
yeah,
definitely
Jenny bought
buy
pizza,
your way
but
into our friendship
with food.
with food.
Jetty bought me.
Hey, Josh may have thrown down on it, but I think Jetty actually pulled
Josh
the trigger.
went. Josh
on that.
went and got.
Well, yeah,
beer.
dude, he got beer. Like I
Yeah.
said, but he would do it, no doubt. He would do
Yeah.
it, no doubt. That's the kind of dude he is, and he appreciates it. He appreciates what kind of this is and what he's walking into.
Dude, I'm
doing
so stoked
everything
when
fucking right.
anybody makes the effort to come out and make themselves known
Yeah,
and
doesn't
just
overstep
goes with
it,
the
doesn't
flow,
be
man.
too much.
You know? I love that shit. I think it's cool as hell. And when they like, that's why Joe, we always call him Joel because his fucking stupid ass Instagram name, which I think I'm gonna figure out a new one for him because that's just bullshit. It's like Joe, and then there's an L, and I don't know what the rest is, but I just always assumed his name was
Just
Joel.
looks like Joel. Yeah.
Yeah.
His name is Joe Eldridge. But
Exactly.
it's all together, so it looks like when you look at it, you just
Yeah.
the way you look at a phone, especially
He's a big
it looks
part.
like Joel Eldridge kind of
Yeah,
thing because there's two.
He showed up to
E's.
Sturgis last year. He wrote his fucking.
He's a hog, dude. He does
his-
it.
Was it? It was a soft tail, right?
Yeah,
Ape hanged
yeah.
out, just fucking. He was a goddamn parachute going down the highway the entire way, and he came and camped with us and partied and
dude,
you
like
know,
a boss.
yeah.
So cool.
And he comes to bike night. He's a solid dude. He's
yeah.
got a new Road Glide.
Yeah, he drives a
Pretty-
tour bus for a country band. I forget the guy's name, but
Yeah.
like he lives that tour life. Like he's always out on the road. Like he's one of those dudes that he loves. He lives to get back home to ride his bike, and now he's on a bagger and just dude
Hell
as
yeah.
good as a dude.
But see, that's another thing, right? So a lot of people get butthurt about the whole hell yeah brother thing. They really do. The amount of motherfuckers out there that can't take a joke, it's funny. But what I've seen happen so much is the people that are, I was a hell yeah brother, and we all were at some
I had
kind of
ape
form or
hangers on
fashion.
bikes and
Right? It's funny. It's a joke. It's just good time. It's a good, we all come from that era, right? But we find something cool with this, and we all end up funneling into this style of bike, right? Joe was on fucking 20-inch ape hangers on a goddamn soft tail all the way to Sturgis last year. But he rode, and he partied with us, and nobody gave a fuck about what he rode. He was there, right?
Yeah, because I think the hell yeah brother goes with not just the look of the bike, but I think it goes with the attitude and the
difference
lifestyle
is
and-
the difference is so many people want you to accept them simply because they have a bike and not because of what they did on it. Like, I think what's cool about all this shit is the fact that you do something on the bike. You show up to events, you come
Whatever
party,
the bike
you do
is.
whatever. I don't give a shit if it's a V ride.
just like y'all talk about with Big Wheel
And
Cody
he-
showing up to the camp out on a big wheel and
just to clarify, Joe didn't come home from Sturgis and fucking trade his shit in real quick. Dude, he rode that. He just got that road
Yeah.
king within like a month or two. Like he did his thing. He finally decided he wanted to. It wasn't a peer pressure thing. It wasn't you got to hang out with us to have this bike or whatever the fuck. He did it on his own and he's loving it.
well, and that's the same thing with Boz. Like Boz, like I said, he had the Cholo with 20-inch apes, Road King,
Yeah.
with a crazy paint on it. Bought a brand new Road Glide. First thing he did before he left the dealership, some KST bars, Cobra Neighbor Haters, like all the hell yeah shit on it.
I have no idea what any of that shit is.
Well, it's the meat hook style handlebars.
Okay.
KST.
KST?
Yeah.
What is that?
I think it's a brand. KST, I think that's what they are. They weren't the factory 47s, but they look like the factory 47s.
Okay, yeah.
And but all the shit, and then comes up to the camp out, and then it's like, man, I want to start putting more miles on my bike, and realize that though it's a look, but it's also a functionality.
Did you ever ride his bike the way it was?
No.
Because you said you really liked the way mine
Dude,
felt.
yeah, they go on record.
You're gonna be in a magazine cover, bro.
Yeah, barely on a magazine cover. You might recognize my arm. You made me wear a fucking Simpson helmet.
I just can't wait for everybody. Yeah, dude, I lost weight.
Man, look at you, look all
That's
slim
what
down.
I looked at. I was like, who is like he was wearing a different shirt. I was trying to look at the shirt. Which one of you fucks is this? I couldn't really tell.
Yeah, I had my black sweaty shirt on.
I was so nervous when we were doing that the other day. I was so nervous about. I wanted to just blast.
That's what I was
across that
just telling Sam. I
intersection.
said I want to just smoke the tire past them.
But
let them
dude,
take a
each
photo.
time, like I said, it's in an intersection. Those two streets of
Yeah.
where we were, and I just wanted to just look straight ahead, just. But I was like, what if, like, as I'm turning, some fuck comes, you know what I mean? And it's just
And
like,
the bike's already sold. It's like,
yeah, and I was
yeah.
like, oh. So every time I was sold, I was like, oh, I saw my bike.
Bike sold, money spent.
Exactly.
I don't need to wreck this.
That's why I
thing.
haven't taken the insurance off of it yet.
But no, that's the first. Because I've had a road glide, I've had a street glide, but I put aim hangers on them. I did all the hell yeah brother shit. That's the first road glide I've ridden like that setup. I've never ridden one. I've never been on Justin's
Mid
bike.
controls,
Dude,
14 inch.
holy shit. That bike feels better than my bike feels. As far as like your riding position when you're going down the road. Now, obviously coming to stops, you feel the weight and all that when you're putting your feet down. But going down the road, that thing it felt better than my bike with everything that I have done. And, you know, I have all this setup done online, but.
Bike sold, I'm done talking about it.
Yeah.
No. But as far as like just that, like, depending on what bike you have and coming around, if you don't have thick enough skin to take like baby little jokes, then fucking dude, this probably isn't the group for you. Like,
Yeah.
just even the big like,
Dude, I
not-
get shit
like,
talked to by
no,
everybody.
Yes, nobody
Like,
is gonna. First
Not
of all,
very instant-
it's not nobody's ever gonna come up and be like, "Oh, dude," and just like start ripping you in front of anything.
Ben,
it's kind of like
calling
how
my bike
much
a
you put.
Sportster, so
Kind of how much you put
I
yourself.
have to deal with
out
that all
there.
the time.
And you know, if you just kind of fucking hang back and you're whatever, nobody's gonna bother you at all. It's the more you try to fucking be the guy or someone, that's when all of a sudden, okay, well, what do you have, whatever. And then, like I said, and if there's a discrepancy, it's gonna be minor, just ball busting kind of thing. But if you can't take it, just stay away.
Well, that sounds like all the ape hangers that want to be accepted as a performance bagger.
This
You sound like
friendship group
those
and-
guys right now.
Yeah, dude, it's
They can't
not a
handle
dick
that.
measuring
What it
contest.
is,
This isn't
man, is it's
you're
like
never
a-
gonna win. Basically,
Yeah.
you're
Well-
never gonna win the contest of where everybody's just, oh yeah, dude, you got the fucking baddest shit, dude. That's it. It's I don't care who you are. You're not gonna. I don't know. You're not gonna ever be that guy. So just be fucking happy in your role. Stay in your lane and just come party. Just
we
come
all
hang
we
out.
all come to the table and
We don't drink on our bikes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good
Wait,
idea.
what?
We don't drink on
You
our
don't?
bikes. Like the bikes are parked. Like 90. I don't know. Most of the fucking.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's-
Well, to your point, yeah, it's exactly the thing. It's like this is a mindset thing, not a bike set thing, right? It's about who you are and what you want to do in life. Like we all get stoked. Like once you park the bike and you get off the bike and you go get a beer, you start mingling with people and they start asking, hey man, so like, you know, Sturgis coming up, what are you gonna do? And you're like, oh man, you know, I got a fucking volleyball tournament coming up, man, I can't do it, or a softball tournament. Like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, I don't know how to relate to that. Like you're, you know, yeah, if you want to do that shit, or you go fishing or hunting, or you know, you're fucking, you know, there's a baby shower or some shit coming up. I get it, but we're all fucking into this shit, man. Like this is our life. We come to bike nights, we come to hangouts, we come to do this shit, and we gossip and we do our thing, but we're really sitting back and going like, man, what we do at bike nights and hangouts is exactly what we're doing on this podcast, is hyping up with each other like Sturgis, right? Fuck yeah, we're gonna do this, right? It's hype.
No, I mean I think it all goes together. And like I think you said it one time before, like the bike is only your means of transportation, but it does kind of help. You know.
Oh, yeah, dude.
It
Build a
definitely
bike,
helps
don't
you
get it
kind of
twisted.
be known, if you will.
If you have a more
but you
dialed
don't need
in,
it,
nicer
is what I'm
bike,
telling you.
Yeah.
I think it's harder to get into the group. I'll be honest with you. I think it's harder because you feel like you already have everything you need to be accepted, and so you lack the personality to get in. In some, it's a huge generalization.
Well, there's that. Okay, so I see what you're saying. There is that type that relies on. So
I've been
perfect example.
following everybody on social media for 8 months. My bike's finally where I think
Yeah.
they will accept me. I'm showing up and expecting them to just accept me.
No, the perfect
as
example-
opposed to you should have been here when you bought it, dude. Like we could have been stoked for you every step of the way.
No, if
You know what I mean?
if your Instagram
Yeah.
is only pictures of your motorcycle,
And don't fucking call
Because if
yourself
you're
Glide.
Yeah.
Don't get a fucking bagger
you're boring-
and then be so and so, you know, Booger Glide or some shit next. You know what I mean? Don't do that. Just you know, come to me. I'll give you a good fucking name for Instagram,
If
dude.
you're weird, if you're awkward,
I'm gonna start selling them.
You can have the coolest bike, but guess what? Some fucking dude rolls up on a fucking 10-year-old used Dyna.
Yeah.
And he's funny. He makes me laugh. Like, I don't know, dude. I'm probably gonna hang. You know, like it's just your bike. It's so for me. It's not secondary. It's not third. It really doesn't mean much as far as like how much I like you as a friend or how much I think of you or like.
No one's gonna be like, this dude's so rad. Like he's awesome. He's fucking down to party. He's just like us, but he rides a fucking VMAX. This dude has the tits of a fucking performance bagger, but he's a fucking cuck. Like.
Yeah, but I think it goes both ways. I think it could be like a happy medium because I think a bike that's like well proportioned. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
but I don't.
You have a
just
good
like
attitude,
he said,
and you
I don't know a single dude that would be like, "Oh, dude, hey, fucking."
No, but
fucking Randall's gonna come hang out with us. Who's Randall? Oh, dude, he's fucking becoming a bike night. It's cool. He's got like a fucking. He's got a Sportster.
No, you might say
I don't
that,
know a
but-
single dude that's gonna go. No, you know what I mean. I'm just
whatever.
I'm just saying like I don't know a single dude. Listen, he's got a Honda, and I don't know a single dude that I really fuck with that's gonna go. Oh, dude, he can't fucking ride with us. Like, what are you talking about? Like, no, tell him to fuck off.
I see what you're saying, but what I'm saying is there are guys, there are opportunities. There's times when perfect example is
RD rode a fucking Honda. Let's be real.
RD's a fucking gangster, dude.
I'm talking about like the Polaroid. There's a lot of guys that showed up to the Polaroid that was the first time I met them. Charles and Cheeks and all those guys. And I just not the Polaroid, the Down South camp out.
Down South, yeah.
And they were at the hotel when we pulled up, and I would look at their bike because they had something unique about it. I would say, "Oh, you're C Fisher, whatever on Instagram." And then you can kind of connect. So yes, there are the times where a motorcycle can kind of.
They can help lubricate the conversation.
Yes,
100%.
lubricate the conversation. But I'm not saying you have to have the most unique bike. Your personality.
It's probably
If
easier
you need
for that
your
guy.
bike to keep the conversation going, you're probably not going to last.
If I see your bike and I talk to you, and then I realize you're a fucking douche, then I'm like, yeah, maybe your bike was the only thing that was cool about you. But fortunately, with those guys like Cheeks, I talk to Cheeks almost every day. Me and him are like chatting back and forth on some stuff.
Dude.
He's going to try to make Sturgis, by the way. Hopefully, he makes
he's a
Sturgis.
fucking
I
rock.
know he's got a tough job.
Charles is up at the
They're up
north
north.
now.
That's who I wanted to meet up with was Charles and those guys and go over to Sketchies. But
Zach from Houston,
Yep,
malicious
Zach,
intentions.
yeah, he was giving me shit because I wasn't going to go to up north. Sorry about that. But those guys, yes, their bikes were the bridge
The
gap.
Houston dudes leaving Houston when there's a big party. Okay, I get it.
But they wanted to. But this goes back to what you're saying. Like
I
sometimes
think
you don't
Zach
want to
went
just
last
stay
year.
local.
I think he had a
Yeah.
good time and he's invested.
Yeah, I get it.
I get it. That's like me nitty gritty, dude. There's as long as they throw a fucking nitty gritty Chopper City, I'm gonna fucking go because
Yeah.
like y'all were talking about, the first whatever you went to that you were like, I want the first giddy up. We're like, I want everything to be like this.
So I remember that giddy up, right? So that giddy up, my first nitty gritty was with you guys.
Yeah.
And so I remember distinctively telling James friends like, you know what, man? I don't know Kyle, and I don't know. At the time, you were just Jaden.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was like, I don't know Kyle, and I don't know Jaden that well, but I think this would be a good chance to go down there and get to know these guys, because both of you guys met me at the shop, and we rode down there together, and you stole shit off a cop car.
Montgomery County Sheriff, suck my dick, statute of limitations, bitch.
Wait, I think that's like 15 years or something.
Edit that out.
Yeah. And then, and that was like that was also at the same time when we were really starting to get cool with like the East Texas dudes. So Big Will Cody, Jacob, I think either Rob or
I think it might have, dude. That was
it was another dude from East Texas. It might have been I don't remember. But East Texas came out and we all partied together. We ended up we met a dude at fucking Twin Peaks, old man. He was like, "Hey, we're leaving here. We're going back to my fucking house, and I got a pool house, and we're going to drink in there." Todd. We're like, "Fuck it." We Ubered to Todd's house in a
Some random
dude in the
Peaks.
fucking woodlands of Houston. And this dude's rich as fuck, right? There's like a real gated community, not some apartment shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We get to his house. He got fucking beer. We have a great time. You know what I mean? Mark shows up. He rides over there and he's like coming in like, "Where's the cocaine?" I'm like, "Oh, it's not that kind of party."
So that was one of, like I said, I was still getting.
That was the year
guys.
that everybody jumped the bike over the fire
Yes,
and
the
shit
guy
like that.
Jason. I forget his DGK Jason or something, but his name's Jason. But yeah, he jumped a mini bike over the bonfire that somebody had thrown a couch onto and made it even bigger, and he jumped it. But that was one of my first kind of getting out. It was after the camp out, but there was just such a different vibe. Chief came down with us.
Yeah.
You're right. Mark was with us. Cody was with us.
I had just bought my bike, the one I just sold.
We had that little spot. You know, you're looking at the bar to the right. I don't know, 40 feet. I don't know, 40 yards or whatever. Like on the other side of where the guy had his trailer. Like but it was kind of on this hill. It looked down like on the pond. Like I don't know. That was one of the things.
That's probably your giddy up.
That was one of which. But I also went to the last giddy up. Like I'd seen giddy up.
So giddy up for me was that first one that's like, okay, I'm into this.
Where I'm hanging out with friends, where shit's happening, where it's one of those things where I'm like, this is what I want, and I'm glad I didn't put like everything has to be giddy up. I've learned. I've been to other nitty gritties that weren't that first nitty gritty.
Yeah,
and I've learned like, just like you said, you can't. They're not all going to be that special magic, but for me, that was one of those special magic moments between the Friday night getting down there with all of us, the Mark, the Todd, just the whole fucking weekend, the show, leaving the next day. You know, we wake up, all of a sudden it starts kind of raining. It's kind of cold, kind of shitty.
Cold as shit.
I bought this first manufacturing like canvas shirt from some vendor, and she gave it to me on sale. I paid $50 cash for it, and it was worth way more than that. And I still have it in my closet. I've worn it fucking 50 times. It's a badass shirt. Just everything about that weekend was fucking rad. And I've had a giddy up weekend. I've got the same affinity for giddy up if they ever started that again. Just a fucking name. I'm loyal to it.
Yeah.
So like I said, when it comes to stuff,
Who hosted
I'm
that?
always
Who
going
was
to
it
go
that
to
was
nitty
hosting
gritty.
that?
Always.
It was a group of 5 people, and they were all pretty large names in the vintage chopper thing that has been taking place.
So I know Matt Jackson was trying he was trying to do, what was the thing that he was trying to replace
Texas
it with?
Time Travelers.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
But they tried to start it like during, and then COVID happened. And I think it just never got off the
balls
ground
to do it like we did.
Got a little scared.
No, trust me, like me and the Houston Diner Crew dudes, we've talked about like converging and making something happen like that, but man, it's a lot of work to put it on a show like that. And
it's
selfishly, I want to go and be an attendee. Like as much as I want to say, like
it takes the fun out of it because you're too caught up in the trying to make everything go smooth instead of just enjoying it.
That's why the campout's always going to be the way it is, because if it changes, it becomes a vendor thing. It becomes all this other shit. That means that when I show up, I got to go and help these vendors out and help these people out and do this.
Yeah,
and
make sure everyone's happy. And
I don't get to just enjoy it the same way it was started, which is just we're all here. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that's exactly it. There's these trips and things like that. I think everybody
and this one could be yours.
Sturgis
could be yours.
Everybody has that first trip.
I've done a lot of stuff.
Sturgis. Don't be afraid to show up and make Sturgis your fucking
Sturgis.
Oh my God.
Riding the Sturgis and all that is really molded me for this past year. This past year, because of Sturgis.
You did Sturgis, and then you were immediately down for the down south, and you've been like.
And then we put together.
You've been like this guy that just like was active. You're like the Manchurian candidate that just got activated. You know what I mean? After Sturgis,
I've been super stoked on because Sturgis really opened my eyes to like. I think it was more the ride. I mean, like I said, I've done a lot of bike stuff. Been to a lot of events, but 90% of the time I trailered or I rode if it was within a few hundred miles.
It's the collective.
Yeah. And then the group, because like I was saying before, I did everything in a small clique. It was either me and my dad and maybe like 2 or 3 others, me and my wife and Steve Marlena or whatever it was. It was always like a very small knit thing. But to come a part of something and walk up and see
that's
the circle of tents.
Wide, dude.
To see a circle of tents and everybody having a fucking blast and then going and like, not being a tag along with Justin, but going to the FXR show. I stopped in at the FXR show. So that was on Sunday last year, correct? We pulled in. Justin was wiping his bike down, cleaning it up. And I said, all right, we're here. We're going to go ahead and head to Mount Rushmore. That's the day we did Mount Rushmore and everything. But to see everyone kind of coming up to him and just talking to him and from all over, you know what I mean? That was like, man, that's pretty cool. Like, he's known. Like, all these people know him. Like, Danny G and all these other, not Danny G, Danny... What's in New York, Danny? What's his name?
Danny
D. like all those guys kind of walking up and like meeting all these different cats. That's pretty cool. And I left and I came back, and then the Visionary show was the next day. Same scenario. You know, it was just like seeing all these different people and seeing these bikes that I've been seeing on Instagram. Like, man, this shit's pretty cool. Like, they're just regular dudes. You know, yeah, they got cool shit, but and it just really opened my eyes to like, man, I need to really get out there more and like do more of this shit and not just go to these events and be in my own little bubble and just kind of like migrate through and be happy that I'm there.
You don't want to be selfish. You want to go in and enjoy it, but you also want to like make other people feel like, hey, yo, come check this out. Like,
like more.
There's a balance.
Like, don't wait like I did for fucking however many years. Like, not talking shit. My dad went to Sturgis in 96, 95 or 96, left a felon. So he's always like, fuck Sturgis. We never did Sturgis. So that was always my take of Sturgis. Like, fuck it. But then to finally do it for myself, and I'm like, holy shit, this is like actually like a badass.
Your dad sounds like he fucks, dude. Let's party with that.
Yeah, dude, let's get, come on. Let's go outside. We got one more spot for you on here. But as far as your vernacular a minute ago on the tag along thing, man, I would tell people, don't feel like you're going to be a tag along. Like,
you're not going to be a tag along.
There's definitely a balance. Like, don't be, again, we've talked about it before. Don't be the guy that tries to do too much, but also don't be the guy that feels like you can't talk. Like,
don't be a one upper. But don't also be that like,
don't feel
yes
like we
ma'am,
can never,
or yes sir, or whatever.
Dude, like it's
be
I'm not
yourself.
even gonna say buy me a beer. I'm gonna say come up and say, oh hey dude, I'm here. I heard you. Whatever the fuck you want to say that you're here.
Hey,
because we're here, kind of thing.
You're calling me dragging on Instagram, right? Oh, hey,
I'm probably gonna buy you a beer just because I'm so stoked you're there. And then it's one of those things like it just goes from there. But yeah, don't feel like you're a tag along at all, because you're only a tag along as long as you act weird. But the minute you come up and we have a beer together and we fucking introduce each other, shake each other's hands, and I'll admit, I'll be honest, if I've had a couple beers, I'm probably going to give you a hug too. But once it happens, dude, we're friends. We're friends. You know what I mean? And then the levels grow from there as far as the friendship. But come on, come the fuck on.
Yeah, I'll admit, when I first came in, I was kind of standoffish only because like, you know, I'm new to the scene, not new to motorcycle, I'm new to the scene. First time in Sturgis. I just kind of sat in the kind of the back row and just watched all you guys for the first night or two. And then the third, when the wall was getting built, that was the first like actually like sitting up and being on the table and like really getting to see everybody and their personalities and all that stuff. You know, Kyle getting in that fucking cage and dancing with grandma and all that other crazy shit that was going on. Like all that was just like
Kyle or Larry.
No, Larry was just making out with her at the table. Kyle was up in the cage with her, fucking twerking on her. But no, like all that shit, man. It's just like, that's what I'm trying to say is if this year coming along, I know like Brad was just messaging.
A year later. All right, so that's a good question. A year later. Are you glad that you
super stoked I made it?
I mean, how do you? I mean,
look what it's opened up for me. I did Sturgis. We did the down south camp out.
I'm her hyperbole king, and I'm on record.
But because
I've won the lottery
because of Sturgis,
with meeting these guys. Doesn't it feel awesome to fucking know that you've got friends? This whole, because like I said, dude, it extends.
Craig is
nationwide.
starting to turn into like my best friend, because anytime Craig's in Little Rock, all he's got to say is, "Hey, I'm going to be in Little Rock on this day." What was it? Last week he was in Little Rock, and him, Justin, his wife. To eat. Yeah, we went to eat again. We did that a couple weeks ago, but we did it again. So when we got back from, what the fuck did we get back from? Tony's thing. I tattooed him like on the other day. He was supposed to leave out. He wasn't leaving out till next day.
There's two things I want to talk about with that. For one, is there a new play going on where we all have to get Harley signs in the back? We haven't talked about why this is a thing.
No, this is like Steve's got it. A couple of guys, Reckless. This is the Harley fuckboy tat. Ain't that what it is?
Dude, I kind of want one.
Super fuckboy.
He's got the biggest. Mark Harler's got the fucking huge stamp on his neck, but that's what it's starting to turn into. So
what do we do, man? How do we?
That's that. I don't have a W-2 tattoo.
But so the other thing is like
1099 is what that is.
The thing is like Craig, I think that a lot of what we've been like our little core group, it wasn't till Craig came along that really fucking exploded that, because Craig is like a virus carrier. because
but
he
Craig-
travels so much and he's so all over the place. He literally comes to the camp out, I think 2 or 3, one of those, and he like
It was
takes
2 for
all
sure.
of this shit and he brings it with him, and he just
I think Craig's a big personality. I think that's what helps with Craig, because Craig, I guess when he
But he
comes
backs
to-
it up as far as like
Exactly, he
hanging
backs it up,
out,
but
he's
love.
not
he's-
coming to the Sturgis, so fuck him, right?
Is he really
no,
not?
He's not.
I think he said he was trying.
I have no idea.
I thought the
I
fact
heard
that
he
he worked
wasn't
for
He said
coming.
he's going to try. Yeah, but he's got to still take runs. And I know this past year,
Yeah,
he's
he
an
had a
owner
big
operator.
truck
so,
repair and-
some
yeah.
truck repairs and stuff like that. And he, left down south camp out by totaling his bike and all the other little stuff that he
I'm
did.
gonna go get a twisted tea while I wait on the cop to come, so I already have a drink in my hand.
So, but I mean,
He's like the guy that does the shit you hear someone say at a bar. Yeah, if you ever get a wreck, just go into the gas station, grab a beer real quick, and just say you started drinking as soon as you had a wreck, and then they will get.
yeah, they can't breathalyze you. So he, but no, with him, like, and honestly, in Sturgis, I didn't really even talk to him at Sturgis. I saw his post, or I saw Justin sharing their post together. They rode back, so I didn't meet Craig in Sturgis at all. Like, I don't even remember his personality. I remember him last year at Tony's, but I didn't put the face to the name. He was the 18-wheeler racing around the fucking dirt track.
Yeah.
And he was hanging out underneath the tent. So that's the first time I also met Instahab and Kyle. But that was all, what was that, July? I think last year was in
June.
July. June or July.
It was June, I think. Still,
So Tony,
it might have been. It doesn't matter.
I think Tony moved it to July or June this year because of y'all's trip. I think it was in July. It might have been June still. But so I met Kyle and I met Craig, but I didn't really put their names together until after Sturgis. After Sturgis, it was a little more easier to recognize them. But yeah, with Craig, and then after he got back from Sturgis, and I realized, hey, this guy keeps his bike in the shop. I remember I would see him post up because I came down here and did the pre-Down South camp out podcast with Craig, and that was in October. But Craig would literally show up in the Little Rock and post up on Instagram and be like, I'm in town, whatever. And I'd message him instantly, like, hey, what are you doing? Just hanging out. I'm going to get something to eat. All right, cool. I'll meet you where, drop me a pin, see where you're at. Drive 20, 30 miles, hang out with him. We'd go to a bar or eat or whatever. And then, so now with Craig, it's the same thing. When he comes into town, I'll either tattoo him or we'll, eat, drink, do whatever.
The same thing happened after we met Craig at the camp out. Like, we're like, oh, you live in Florida, cool, man. You drive trucks, awesome. And then he's like, hey, man, because he literally comes here all the time to drop off.
Yep.
Right across the street.
Yeah, his company's hub is in North Little Rock, which is where Justin lives.
So next thing you know, he's like, hey, man, I'm in Waxahachie. I had to drop this off. Y'all need help because we were building a studio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
like,
remember
you need
seeing
some help? I'm like, yeah, dude, you're in town? He's like, cool. I was like, I'll come pick you up. I'm like, I'll being super accommodating because I'm like, oh, this is rare. Like, hell yeah, you're in town? Then 2 weeks later, he's like, hey, man, I'm in town, man. What's going on? I'm like,
You seem to be in town a lot.
okay, all right, cool. And it just like kept getting more and more. I'm like, dude, you're like the guy in town. I see you more than some of the guys I go to bike night with. Dude, let's be real. You know what I mean? But no.
And that's the thing with Craig, though. When he does show up, whatever, he's not just going to be a lame duck and be like, nah, man, I'm just going to sit this one out. Like, he wants to be a part or hang out or even if it's just conversation. Like, I think it was like a month ago or so, he came into town. So me, him, and Justin went to Outback. We just sat at the bar and ate and everything. And then he was gone again, and he's coming back into town last week or whatever. And that's when we did the big family dinner where we were drinking the margarita flights and all that fun stuff.
I saw that, yeah.
And but no, I love Craig to death, man. And like I said, he was supposed to leave out earlier. And I think when I saw him post up and he said he wasn't leaving out yet, I said, hey, he mentioned wanting to get one of those fuckboy tats. So I said, let's set it up.
You know what sucks is like I want one.
Let's do it.
I was thinking about, because I was thinking about you at one point. I was like, what would it be like if we did a podcast that, like Tony, you, but you were like tattooing something on me while we were doing
I
it.
made a comment. Britta made a comment to me. She commented on a post or whatever, or something I posted up. And she said that, I think this was like a month ago or so. And she said something about like, that you made a comment about wanting to get maybe a tattoo or something like that.
No, me and my wife were talking. So
Yeah.
the joke is, let me get to it. The joke is that me and my wife were literally talking about like, you know, Steve's got a style I think is dope, but he could do this type of stuff that we would want. You know what I mean? My wife's, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. My wife is fucking anal with tattoos.
Yeah, she's got a lot of great tattoos on her.
Yeah, so she's like, I want my shit crisp, and if you don't do it crisp, she's gonna like
nitpick it.
That's how Shannon is.
Yeah. So it was funny because then we were in when I showed up to the to after our trip, and I went to Justin's house, and you showed up. And I was fucking with you about you getting your bike painted.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, man, I was going to see if you wanted to, you know, trade some work. But that's off the table now.
I'll trade it on the helmet. I'll trade it on
I'd
the
rather
helmet.
just pay you, man. I it's one of those things that, like.
Me and Justin did the trade stuff for a little while, and now I mean, that's why I got a lot of, I want to support Justin, but obviously, like, his whole arm sleeve and all that.
Doesn't sound like you do, my man.
No, I love Justin's stuff. But, no, so she made a comment about that, and I literally made a comment. I was like, man, it'd be kind of cool to do, like, tattooing through a podcast. And then I was like, wait a minute, maybe the buzzing would probably be irritating for the clients.
It would probably be annoying for certain people that maybe are just tuning in, but people that know what we're doing and
dude, I'd love to just
context.
to interact. It'd be like just being like at the shop and just having a conversation, because I do that every day.
Those other tattoo machines you use they're not as loud as coil machines.
No, I only use coil machines. That machine that I brought to the camp out, the reason I wasn't having a good time
I only
trying
fuck
to
with
tattoo,
rotary machines.
Yeah, I don't fuck with them. That machine, it's a completely different. It was a battery operated, no power supply. Man, that was the first time I ever used it. And the first tattoo that I got to do with that machine that I've never
Someone's
used
ass?
is Steve's ass. So it's by far the worst tattoo that I've done in my entire tattoo career. I don't even think
I like the fact that Steve has 2 tattoos and they're both like
super shitty.
They're both the equivalent of a kitchen tattoo.
No, they are kitchen tattoos.
One was like
a kitchen
Eddie
tattoo.
Eddie did a KTFU.
Yeah, keep the fuck up.
I'll get a KTFU tattoo 100%. I love that saying.
I would love to do real tattoos.
When Steve came up with that, I was like, I hope he doesn't coin it because I'm gonna take that shit. I'm waiting like Mr. Burns over here.
The only problem with that logo that he's got is there's this guy I follow on YouTube, Fab Forums or something like that. They do a lot of he does a lot of metal working, and he deals with this. He's got this company. It's called Kill Fab. And it looks like the Kill Fab. So every time I see it, I think Kill Fab.
Well, so because it's a KTFU is a what's it? It's an acronym.
Yeah, acronym.
So it's an acronym, and you never use cursive or script for acronyms.
Yeah,
it's just it doesn't work because it's
slanted. But the fact that like there's like the K and the T, like the letters are on different levels, and they run and touch each other, so it's like one continuous.
So talk about trick of the eye. I swear to God. Every time I see a Salt Life sticker on the back of a car or whatever, I swear to God, I read it as Slut Life. Every fucking time. The way the A and the L
correspondent.
is.
I mean,
every single time I see one, the first fucking thing is Slut Life, and I immediately have to go, no, Salt Life. Right.
So we went to Daytona.
I was like, hey!
So the last time we went to Daytona with Steve and them, Zach put a Salt Life sticker on his bike. They were at this random spot. And he put a sticker on his saddlebag and didn't
Like
notice it from
like
a white Salt Life, and he didn't notice it for almost half the trip. He had this bright white sticker on the side of his saddlebag.
That's awesome.
Stayed on there
that's awesome. But yeah, you know, obviously, like
I know I'm not the only one about that Slut Life thing either. Let me hear from your YouTube.
I definitely agree. I think the same thing when I see it.
You seen it? What does that say? Yeah, it always takes a second, and just the way it is, I'm always like, what? Oh,
one letter.
One letter off.
Wait.
Well, kind of.
One letter off and move a letter.
Yeah. Push this letter over, swap that one out.
Yeah, but
I'm down to come and tattoo, and I would love to do it. I thought it'd be cool to do a podcast where it's just like a podcast where we're all just hanging out, cameras just set up, and we're chit chatting and all that. But then I started thinking, I was like, man, I use coil machines and they're noisy, and it'd probably suck for a listener to be hearing a buzzing the entire time.
There's something
tattoo didn't turn out too bad, but
when you hang out at a when you're in a tattoo shop though, like that's a normal sound though.
Yeah.
So like if
it depends on what shop you go to.
Are you okay?
The anchor's still there.
The amble, bro.
Do they know where the dragon tattoo started?
This is Sturgis last year.
Oh, West.
I feel like most people do. If they don't,
that got brought up on the. almost every podcast when they ask everyone why.
The problem here's the deal with our podcast though, is that there's people that listen to it quite a bit, and there's people that are tuning in for the first time and have no fucking clue who Craig is, who Tony is, what we're talking about.
I mean,
Tarpon
realistically,
Turbo.
realistically,
Tony at King
and
Tony
most
Stunts.
most of these podcasts, I think everyone goes into a little explanation when you start talking about someone a lot.
Yeah.
You know, if you're just going to mention someone like, you know, Robert Cheeks or whatever, like you just say their name and you pass on. But when you start talking about Craig or someone that has like a little
I
bit
think
more,
the best way to put it is like people that are just tuning in and listening to this for the first time or early into their like coming into down this rabbit hole is that this podcast is compiled of a ton of rad people.
And background knowledge and stuff like that.
And maybe all these dudes have not been on the podcast, you know, simply because like they're not local or whatever the case may be.
I'll open myself up.
But
if you've ever got a question, who somebody is, whatever, dude, DM me. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not that
DM
busy.
him.
DM me and ask me, hey, so and so said this. Preferably take a video clip of it, like a screen grab. It's 2021. You should know how to fucking screen grab a little video.
This
on your
motherfucker
phone.
asked me my address today. I'm like,
where the fuck else?
Just,
I typed in
Google.
I typed it in. It didn't show up anything.
you didn't do it right.
But yeah,
I did
feel
on
free
Google
to
Maps.
Always reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to strike up a conversation. I'm not the quickest on getting back to you, to be honest with you, but shoot me a message. You know, I'll help fill in the gaps wherever I can.
What's that coming right there?
Because I know what it
Look,
feels like
this is
when
my search I
there's
did
a
on
bunch of
Maps.
background and it seems like everybody's friends except you, but
Keep it.
that's not the case.
Hold on.
No, I got it right here. This is what I put in.
Just come
Even
out,
before
hang
that.
out. Don't ever be too afraid to come
Good thing
out
my
and do
name is
something.
not Fast Life Garage.
What is the fucking name of the shop?
It's the Fast Life Garage.
So let me put in the.
Yeah.
Is it on Google Maps though?
I mean, how your world changes.
I know it's on
Nose.
Apple.
No.
Are you on Apple?
Yeah, this is an Apple.
Google Maps is the best. True that.
No, this
Double
on-
true.
This is one. I don't have Google Maps. I have the maps that comes with the
What do you
phone.
mean you don't have Google Maps?
I have the maps that come on the phone.
So you're
You
just
got
now
Google Maps
getting.
though. You have Google Maps. You may have to download it, but you got it.
Yeah, I could possibly have it, but I figured if it's
So
not on
here's
this,
the deal. For me to
possibly
be on Apple, I have to do a Yelp. I have to.
oh, you don't want those bad reviews?
No, I don't fucking want to. I don't want people fucking
I know what you're
searching me
saying.
to
Yeah,
get.
So, anyways, I don't have Google Maps.
Yeah.
I typed it into Apple Maps. It didn't show up. So I did the common courtesy thing of just saying, "Hey, what's your address?" I'm getting shit for it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have bothered a big man.
Shouldn't bother him. Too big, apparently.
Should have bothered me or sex.
I'll know next time. I'll screenshot it, but I'll save it.
There's something like kind of like
I'll mark it as my second home.
when Jacob Conrad came up here, he never asked me where our shop was. I was like, okay.
He must have a Droid phone. I don't know what to tell you.
I was like, hell
I
yeah.
didn't know I need to download extra apps just to.
Well,
It's people's chant material.
it's some people's shit. Yeah, Apple. You know, I'm an Apple fucking fan, and their maps suck. It's just not the best. And,
Yeah, so the Apple Maps, it was doing this weird thing when right after I was coming off the state line, it started saying, all right, 10 miles continue. And then it would say, because I don't have a phone mount or nothing like that on my bike. I just put my phone in my pocket. So I can't see what it's telling me. And then it says, in 3.5 miles, take exit to, I don't know, 469 or some shit. And then it said, in 1.3 miles, take exit to 49. And I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, it kept giving me these different things. I mean, it was going on for about 3 minutes. And then finally it said, take 49 to Houston. I'm like, all right. So it tells me to take 49 to Houston. So I start taking 49 to Houston. And then I'm on that road for a little bit. And then it says, if you want to save 45 minutes, get back on I-30. And I was like, what the fuck did it just tell me? It told me.
You're one of those guys that I fucking can't stand.
Like the guy that runs
you're
in the
the
lake
guy
because of
that
the
prints
GPS.
out the fucking MapQuest words.
No.
I used to do that.
The phone's
when-
You're
talking
in
to
the
me.
military and you don't know how to look at a map and just make your own fucking educated.
No, because a lot of times,
I-30
no,
to,
hey,
here.
in my defense, these phones, when there's traffic and it has a red
yeah,
spot, it will tell you
okay.
a way to defer it. So I thought it was trying to
Fair.
tell me.
That is fair.
I thought it was
Yeah.
trying to tell me because I'm not looking at the picture. I thought it was saying that there's going to be a lot of traffic because there's construction through Texarkana.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it wants me to get on 49. and loop around the traffic. And then it says, oh, you're on 49 now, asshole. You should be on I-30. If you want to save time, get back on I-30. So I remember getting back on I-30. I'm like, why the fuck did it send me that way? And I'm going down it for about 5 minutes. And I'm seeing cars that I passed probably fucking 10 minutes ago. And I'm furious at this point. I'm like, this motherfucker sent me the wrong goddamn way for no reason at all.
That sucks. Yeah, no, to be fair, yes, that is.
Be a man.
I get that.
Memorize
Like,
a map.
Be a man. So phone mount apparently.
what I
map.
started doing, because like I've talked about it a million times. Like, I'm a map nerd. I'll sit here if I'm like, oh,
Yeah, so
we're
you're
going to
the guy
California
that
next
fucking
week.
prints them off. I got it.
No, I don't print them off. I just like lay in bed and look at it. Like, oh, this would be badass. This would be dope.
I try to
Now-
memorize where I'm going before. So worst.
No,
case,
I do
my
too.
phone
But
doesn't.
if there's traffic,
When I
if something
did,
happens,
that's what I'm saying. Yes, to
I
that
improvise
degree.
on the fly in that situation.
When I went to Cali instead of going to Daytona this year, I was like, I left the RAM mount at home. I was like, I want to do this. Hear me out.
through my brain.
I want to do this without using the simplicity of Google Maps, because don't get me wrong,
You want to do this like 2002?
yeah, I do have the GPS on the Road Glide, but it's very complicated to use that compared to like Google Maps.
Yeah.
Right. So if you put your address in there, it doesn't adjust for traffic at all. It'll put you in the fucking thick of it and be like, this is the quickest way to get, or this is whatever. Right. I just look at it like I like to be able to look at a map and make a decision on the fly and be like, okay, I know I need to keep going east. So to keep going east, I know this, and this highway gets me going that way. And if I get into a point where I'm starting to get weird, then I'm gonna fucking like take a. It's just when you start traveling a lot on bikes, you start finding new ways to entertain yourself in those areas that aren't the most entertainable.
So you know that all odd numbers are north and south, and even numbers are east
Yeah,
and west.
I think I taught you that.
No, I learned that in geographic class.
Okay. There's not a class called geographic, but okay.
There was something named that.
Social studies.
So there it was.
We're all the
baby.
same
It's
age.
English, one of
Social
those-
studies.
Yeah, that's a really common thing that, or not a lot of people know that though. To be honest with you, I've talked about a lot in the podcast that
Most people are fucking idiots. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
yeah they know
And
what
people
the
are
numbers get
fucking
higher
dumb.
as you go either
Or
further north,
maybe not
like
dumb
10,
inherently,
20, you know, all those.
But they're just lazy when the answers, and there's so much stuff there that these little, they're just fucking, I guess lazy is what you would call it. But yeah, I don't think they're inherently stupid. But you're a dumb motherfucker.
Until you
if
start
have-
traveling-
No,
if
I don't
the
think
answer's
people are
easy to
stupid. I
find,
think
you
people
don't look
rely
at it.
too much on this now. So they don't
Until-
have that.
Well, dude, fucking rely on it some. Like, if you have a dumbass fucking question and the answer is easily found here, look it up, motherfucker. Like,
I think too many people, like, there's certain things that as you start traveling on a bike or even road tripping in a car, start to become more illuminated to you, because it's peeling back all the layers of its importance in your life when you're on the road. Like, okay, well, hey, I'm looking at this map on my screen in the car or on my phone. I'm like, I just noticed that all the fucking the highways that go east and west are fucking even numbers, and the ones that go north and south are odd. I didn't notice that.
Some
Is
of
that a
that's-
thing? I mean, Google it.
some of that's
It's a
trial
thing.
and error.
Yep.
You know,
It is.
You live
That's
and
how
you
I
learn.
figured it out.
Hey, you live and you learn.
Yeah,
All
but
of a
you'll be
sudden, you get
surprised.
separated from your friends, and you realize you don't have cell service, and you can't even look up a fucking map to see where you're going. Like, you live and learn. But and again,
Yeah,
I've
people
never
just-
been
I don't think
accused of
people
being
these
the
days-
fucking
people
brightest
these days
bulb on
aren't-
the tree.
Aren't that smart though?
But I'm not the fucking dimmest bulb either. So it's almost
Yeah,
like just don't-
you lived.
Well, yeah, I lived it and now I fucking learned it. But you don't even have to go down that route, son.
Yeah, we have people that call our tattoo shop and literally ask us where we're located.
Oh,
at.
Jesus.
Hey,
Like,
how
you
did
found
I
our-
get there?
Don't get me
How did
started.
you find our phone number?
Don't get me
Yeah.
started on that.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's one of those deals where it's like, it's kind of it sucks because it's one of those like new norms that's not quite universally accepted, but it's 5 years from now, if you ask anybody for directions, you might get like, you're not welcome anymore.
Yeah. They just hang up on you. You just hear a dial tone.
Yeah, like, hey, if you can't figure out how to make it from point A to B, when there's a chick on your phone that you just hold a button down and say, how do I?
No, 100% agree. Way of the world, though. What can you do?
So, this year's Sturgis trip,
Okay.
We've got the hardcore show,
On Monday,
Joe's show, the FXR show.
Yeah.
Sunday. V-Twin show's on Wednesday this year.
On Tuesday there is a Torque Performance. It's the Torque magazine, right? The thing that you were shooting. You know, we shot you riding my bike today to kind of get the magazine cover for that. So what it is Torque magazine. Their initial release of the first issue is supposed to come out, and this is the party for it. It's going to be on Tuesday at Iron Horse Saloon, I believe. And there's a lot of things going on Monday and Tuesday. And on Tuesday, there's like Baker fucking Transmissions is doing a thing, and it's like all included in the same area, but there's a lot of shit going on. It's kind of, there's no way I can even like word it. I have 18 flyers on my phone right now of different events going on between Monday and Wednesday, right?
So there's no excuse not to come out if you think you're going to be bored. If you don't,
There's more than enough to do, and not just the
fuck
shows
out.
or the bars, whatever, but just the ride in general. Spearfish, like we were talking about,
Yeah.
going out the Mount Rushmore, Iron Mountain, clusters,
Custer State
clusters.
I think it's cluster.
It's a clusterfuck. Needles Highway, everything out there, going through the Badlands, Rapid City, all of it.
That's
It's
why
incredible.
it's like, in a sense, I wish that people could like get to the campsite the time we're there and come do those
and
rides
then
with
join
us.
in with everyone. Yeah.
Because we're going to do a lot of those rides still. You
Yep.
know what I mean? We're going to do it because
Yeah,
no
I'm
matter
definitely
what,
doing Spearfish again this year. I'm definitely doing Iron Mountain again this year.
we're doing all those things again because every year there's somebody new, and we want, like, there's kind of a thing that, like, if you've done this before and you get to go escort somebody else that hasn't done it before, it's kind of fun to see if they feel the same way that you did when you saw it. You know what I mean?
Well, just your own personal situations on what changes year to year, like whether you're on
Yeah.
a bike or whatever.
Iron Mountain.
Like, let's be honest. Like last year, I didn't have the best time. I was in a situation coming off a wreck, just jumped on the bike as we headed up to Sturgis. Once we started getting the more technical stuff, it was like, oh, I'm not. I had a lot of what Trent was going through this year on the big trip.
Yeah.
On where it's just like, oh fuck, dude, I'm just second guessing yourself, just all kinds of things. And like I said, the riding was cool, but it was one of those things where you guys were riding at this pace, and I was at much more of a relaxed pace. And when I did that, when I said, you know what, fuck it, I know where the camp out is. I'll see you guys there, dude. I had a blast. I had a good time. When I rode to my ability at the time, or what I felt like my ability at the time was. So don't ever override what, you know what I mean? There's no race. It's not you don't get any points for getting there first or second or fifth or what the fuck ever. And but this year I'm in a totally different spot. I feel so much better on this bike than I did the bike I was on last year.
Yeah.
That I'm looking forward to, not going balls out, but I'm looking forward to pushing it. I'm looking forward to hitting it at a different pace, in a different mindset. It's I'm just in a 100% different spot where I was on the bike a year ago on this trip. And I'm ready to ride. Where last year I was like, I'm ready for a break. I need to do some laundry. We're going to be on the road for a while after this. I took a whole day. I didn't even ride. I just hung out. Where this, I'm not saying I won't take a day off the bike, because with TL being up there, we may do some stuff. But man, I'm trying to ride. I'm trying to make up for Spearfish. I'll be on everything right there on the heels. So I'm super looking forward to that.
There's a spot on Iron Mountain that every time I've ever ridden it, we've pulled up and climbed to the top of this little tunnel. It's one of the first ones you come into if you're going east to west. And since the first Sturgis I ever went to, we've climbed up that and taken a picture there. And so last year we did it really.
Is that what we did with the Trent's picture?
We did actually pull. I think it was the first time we pulled Trent's picture out, and we also did the picture there where we all had the helmets on.
Okay, yeah, same area, vicinity, yeah.
So it's like you know, I've done Iron Mountain a handful of times, and
you can see Mount Rushmore. Alpha,
yeah. So that's the first tunnel. Dude. The first tunnel you come through, if you're going east to west, as you come around the corner, then this tunnel happens, and then Mount Rushmore's right through the tunnel.
It's rad. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's sick. You know what I mean? But I like doing those things, and it's the same way when we went to San Francisco. Like, I have a route that I've talked about many times on this podcast that I feel like if you haven't ridden to San Francisco before, this is the way you have to ride there the first time. You have to see the Golden Gate Bridge this way the first time. Everywhere else, it's gay as AIDS. This is the best. So, unfortunately, when I took all this big group last time, we come around the corner like, fuck, get ready, fog. Oh. Couldn't see shit. Yeah. There's a bridge right there, I swear.
It happens, man.
But, no, that's what's, like, if you can be at Sturgis early enough to come and do these things with us, then you won't feel the need to break off and do your own thing. And don't get me wrong, like, having 30 dudes behind us on a trip it's not fun. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. But for the sake of it being your first trip, I think that most of us are like, yeah, dude, come on, let's go. Like, we want you to enjoy it.
Yeah, but I think in these, within a certain diameter space, it's not that bad. If you're trying to do like to Maine, obviously having 30 bikes go from Texas to Maine would fucking
12 was a rough one.
But if you're at the campsite and 30 guys want to get together and try to make it over there, when you go through Rapid City, you're getting off the highway and you're going through that town, you might hit a couple of stop signs and the group might split up a little bit.
Go ahead.
Do what?
No. Nobody lives close to Sturgis. If you make the fucking effort to get up there and you're fucking with us and you're hanging out, come.
Yeah.
If I'm the last motherfucker at
I don't care if
whatever
it's
we're
100
going
bikes,
to,
like,
I'll
make a good time.
Like, nobody will be left behind. If you're coming up there to fuck with us, come on. And I promise you won't be left behind.
And I mean, the thing about like all this stuff is like you get to there's a lot of things that I do every year at Sturgis, and I'm down to show like the newcomers, but there's a lot of things I don't do. I don't do Badlands. I don't do fucking Devil's Tower. They're really, really far away. They're off the beaten path, and they take a day alone to go do those. So
I didn't do either of those last year.
They're not close. I mean, if you're coming west to east, then maybe you should stop through and see Devil's Tower on the way into Sturgis. Yeah, if we were going east to west,
we were leaving. We had to get to Colorado Springs at a certain time, so we're getting off, and then I'm looking at the maps, and Devil's Tower is like it's a pretty
northwest.
It's a little hike, and then to get to Colorado Springs,
it's not on the way.
No, if it was just like a couple minutes out of the way, I would have done it. I mean, I'd love to see it and everything, and I hate that we missed it, but
it's those things. For me, that's one of the epitome of those things where you get there, you're like, oh, so this is it, huh? All right. Oh,
well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you were saying with
like
the Grand Canyon.
Dick hard.
It's one of those things that you see it and you're like, okay, it is what I expected it to be.
I saw it. Nobody can call me a liar, but
I think the hardest part about things like the Grand Canyon, though, and it's probably the same way with Devil's Tower, is like when you go to the Grand Canyon, if you're riding across country with your boys, right, and then you get to the Grand Canyon and you feel like you're, fuck yeah, we're about to see this thing on the bikes, and then you get there and there's a fucking bus unloading tourists there
taking photos. Yeah,
you're like, this isn't special to me.
Your reward is not that; it's everything before and after. It's the experience,
and that's kind of like when we got to Colorado Springs and we did the Garden of the Gods. That's how it was. It was like I thought I was going to get a ride through it and it'd be nice, but man, we're like literally stuck in a caravan of cars and vans, and
that's the problem with a lot of the bigger
attractions
in the country. So that's why, like, I think that people would understand, or people would see that, like, we kind of talk about the smaller things that become more impactful, because when you show up on a bike trip to Monument Valley and there's nobody there, you're like, don't get me wrong, people stop all the time to take that picture, but there's not a bus there unloading to where, like, you get the picture of it, but then right behind you, there's 500 people. Yeah. It's not that. And that's what Grand Canyon is. And, that Grand Canyon was like that. I'm sure if we went to the lighthouse in Maine that's the most popular, it would have been that way. But going to the lighthouse we went to, the Forrest Gump one, it's small. It's very underwhelming. It's kind of like a white dick, I guess.
So I've got a homegirl who happened to be on a Maine trip with her husband and kids and family and stuff.
Yeah.
2 weeks, 3 weeks after we did it, and dude, they hit a handful of lighthouses, it seems like, but they never made it to the Port Clyde one. They never made it to the Forrest Gump one, and I kind of liked it. It was, because when we got there, it wasn't super crowded.
Yeah,
it gets people every day for sure, but it wasn't like you didn't feel dumb. I still feel like there was a little bit of this is fucking cool.
Well, that's
that we
like-
got there because it wasn't over fucking run with the fucking Chinese bus and 1,000 cameras and fucking whatever. Oh, fuck China, dude. Fuck China, the biggest of their fucking asshole. Fuck China.
They're probably gonna build a lighthouse to make. They're just gonna mimic everything. There's gonna be an America within China.
That's gonna be the United States next war. Mark my words. I wish I could put like a prop bet on it. China is gonna be the next like war. Like it's gonna be people lining up to go against China because they were just gonna overflex. That's it. We're not talking about anything else. That's it. Fuck
But
China.
yeah, talking about that, like the waterfall at the Spearfish is a perfect example. Like everybody stops there, and there's 100 bikes parked around it, and everyone taking photos. But the amount of people that are actually willing to hike to the little Devil's Bathtub, very slim. So when you get out to that, yeah, there's gonna be a couple of people out there with you, but it's nothing like the waterfall. Because the waterfall was just. I remember when we pulled up to it, because we packed some beers with us, so that was like one of our stops to have a beer and relax. But there was just so many goddamn bikes. They have a parking across the street on the one side. They got a little porch area that you can stand up to and take photos, or you can walk down there and get a photo like directly under the waterfall. Like that thing was like 100 people were there when we pulled up. But the Devil's Bathtub is like what you were saying. Like some attractions are worth the little extra effort to not have so many people there.
Devil's Bathtub. I want to know what that looks like.
I think I might have a picture.
I wouldn't mind seeing this dude's what he's talking about too. This swimming hole.
I have to scroll all the way up here to the top of these photos.
No, I heard it was a pretty good, dope little spot. So,
but yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some more and actually relaxing. Last year I was like so fucking jacked up, dude, just to be there. Then I got there and I was like, oh, we did some stuff. I was like, all right, I need to do some laundry, get ready.
Boss just texted me and said, fuck that Devil's Bathtub.
It was almost like
So this
I'm
right
so
here.
much excited about this.
So this is the hike, what I'm about to show you. So this is like what you're hiking to when you're getting out there. So these are like things you'll see. You'll just walk out there. This ain't the Devil's Bathtub. This is all part of the hike. So when you actually finally get, so I got these tall, there's Boz and his wife. So when you finally get out there to the Devil's, oh shit, there it is. So when you finally get out there, this is that slide thing I was talking about. So it's a slide into this water hole. So you can
throw that up on the camera.
So you can literally slide down this little embankment into this watering hole that's underneath it. So that's my wife, like literally sliding down into it.
I knew it was your wife. Oh, you got some pictures of random chick sliding.
And then this is just standing in it. But anyways, that's all it is. You walk out to this thing. It's this big water.
roll it up.
Show that to the world. Let's do it.
Yep, that's it right there. So it was a good
Airdrop
time.
those to
Click the
Saks.
pic.
What?
Zoom in on the pic.
One of them.
And then when you come,
The most, not the one below. That's definitely not it. Probably go the one at the very top. It's probably the most accurate.
Nobody listening to this podcast except maybe Justin can afford that bottom pick with the blue ocean.
That's definitely a My Machinist thing.
Yeah, that's a my machinist vacation.
Yeah, it won't let me do that.
You can't click on it?
Airdrops him some of those.
here's Boz's thrilled face on the hike.
Thank you for being a friend.
Nah, but it was a good time. I mean, like I said, it's not the biggest swim hole or whatever, but
But
if you're
cool.
woman, yeah, it's
I mean,
cool
yeah.
to see it. If your woman's into outdoor stuff like my wife is, it's something cool to say you did. She had fun. She enjoyed it. It made her trip, so that's all that matters.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna have a good time, no matter what we do. So I'm trying to think if I was listening because we marketed this, or it was spun as Sturgis 2021.
So Sturgis
podcast.
20. Okay, another thing about Sturgis 2021 that I
What would
learned.
you get-
I learned the hard way. Well, not the hard way. I learned it.
We
kinda
both did
easy.
one time. What would you give some advice to
So,
somebody that's never been? Wants
When you come, if you're on your motorcycle, when you're riding anywhere through South Dakota, Wyoming, and Colorado, if you're at half a tank or less, and you see a gas station, stop and get gas. There's a point between Wyoming and Colorado where I was stubborn. I was like, I got plenty of gas. I'll be fine. Someone told me this. I didn't listen to them. I started pulling into, I don't remember if we were in Colorado yet or not. But my reserve kicked in, or where it said I got reserve. I ended up getting down to like 0 miles to empty, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, I'm about to fucking run out of gas in the middle of nowhere. We went through this little town, and there was no gas stations. I'm sure there was some gas stations off the beaten path, but I was so stubborn that I wanted to see a gas station directly off the road I was on. So my wife and I, she started freaking out for me. So we pulled over. I looked it up. And there was a gas station, like it was 9 miles. We go up 3 miles, and then you go 6 miles down this road. So I did that little trip, got to the gas pump. It was literally a gas pump that had 85 octane and diesel. And they had a porta potty for a bathroom, and that was it. You just put your credit card in there. There's no one working it. So I had to fill up with 85 octane. I think I filled up like 4.8 gallons. I had like 0.2 gallons left in my bike. But yeah, so if you're riding South Dakota, Wyoming, whatever, and you're at a half a tank,
don't sleep on the gas.
Don't
stops.
sleep on the gas stops, or else you're going to be getting yourself fucked and getting some super shitty gas.
Yeah.
So that's
or if they have 85 and they actually have a place you can go inside, they usually have octane booster.
Yeah.
But
this one didn't have anything to go inside.
Yeah.
So next thing I know, I had to limp my bike from that gas stop all the way into Colorado Springs.
so when you Google Maps,
when you
gas
Apple Maps got me to this gas
make
stop.
sure you don't go to so-and-so petroleum, because this is also oil field country, and you can see yourself pulling up to a fucking oil field pump that says gas petroleum or some shit like that. It's really common, like especially in New Mexico, like you're like, oh fuck, I'm going, through New Mexico, like I need a gas, and you pull it up and there's like 5 between now and the next stop, and then the one you stop at, it's like literally a fucking oil field pump.
Yeah. So yeah, stay on top of your gas stops, at least on that part of the country. Once you get past through Colorado, Kansas, whatever, like gas stops will be, common or whatever. But gas stops, and then we went last year, so obviously COVID was going on. Missouri, all those states wouldn't let you go inside and eat, so we had to eat everything on we had to do like takeout and sit on a curb and eat, which kind of sucked. You're all hot and sweaty.
It'll be different this year.
Yeah, you can't go inside a place to cool down.
The only place
to eat.
we had to do that last year was New Mexico.
We had to do for you guys to Sturgis. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the way through Missouri, they wouldn't let us go in. We had to order it, and then they had to bring it outside to us, and we had to eat on the curb.
What was the spot in you weren't with us in Colorado because you dipped out a little earlier. We were in I don't remember. We were in a town in Colorado on the sign that says, "Don't wear a mask in here. This is America." So and so, and this is like Colorado's probably the second worst state next to
California.
No, New Mexico last year on our trip. Because New Mexico, we couldn't even eat inside. We can go in there and order the food. They would hand it to us. We have to go sit outside to eat it.
So we stayed in Colorado Springs for the night, and we were able to get into restaurants.
Yeah, we ate inside restaurants. That wasn't the problem in Colorado. The problem in Colorado was they stopped serving beer and alcohol everywhere at 10 p.m. So we were at Chili's, shutting it down, having a good time. We're like, let's get some more beer before we go back to the hotel room. We went across the street to the gas station. They stopped serving beer at 10 p.m.
Oh, they couldn't even sell it at the gas station?
They wouldn't sell it. You can go buy a fucking Coke or anything else, but apparently buying beer in Colorado after 10 p.m. was a COVID risk.
Oh, that's crazy.
Should have robbed it.
Hey, night moves.
What's the route?
All right. So I say before we say what's the route, if I've never been, dude. I've been listening to the podcast for a minute. I want to go. What's my budget? How much money should I have in the bank?
Not just budget, but how much time do you have off work? Because there's also
no. I'm saying what's the money? Like if you're gonna put a dollar amount on this trip, if I've never gone, hey, I've got the time off from work, I've got the bike. I just need to know, what am I looking to spend? What do you think this is? Are
you solo or you have someone?
Solo. Let's just say
solo. So
you got a fucking chick with you. Hey, you know your bitch better than I do. You figure that out. I'm trying to help you out.
You might as well just times 2 whatever you spend.
Well, I'm trying to help out the dude that goes, I've never been. I'm just trying to.
So if you do what I did and actually pay for your visit at the campground,
I did.
That's $100-something for the.
Just say $200.
Just round it up.
Yeah.
Gas. You're gonna spend. You're gonna spend.
If you're within 1,000 miles from Sturgis, let's just say that gas is like roughly around $3.50 right now in most states with premium.
Yeah.
So let's just say that you're spending roughly, just overshoot it and say if you're within 1,000 miles
$15
between
or so a gas stop.
within the 1,000 there, 1,000 back, that's 2,000 miles. And let's just overshoot. Let's just say you're going to do 1,200 miles there. Not unheard of. Let's be real. It's not unheard of there. So let's just say it's a 3,000 mile trip for you guys. Just
Be conservative. Yeah, that's
plan for $500 in gas. So if you go to the campground, $200 stay, $500 in gas. If you're going to stay in random hotels on the way up there, find the cheaper ones.
Yeah, 70,
find the cheaper ones.
50,
you can do them for $50. They do exist. They're not as good as the $150 ones, but I've stayed in $30 motels on the road before.
I think the one we stayed in Missouri, not Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri was, I think it was like $50, $56.
Yeah.
For the night.
The good thing about going with a friend is that hotel gets cut in half. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And so that's the good thing about that. So
Cut in half.
I would say
if you got 4 dudes. And
so I would say 200 on the campsite, 500 for gas,
$700.
Let's just be fair. Let's just say if you're 1,000 miles away, at least one hotel. You can
Each way.
You
One
can
each
rough
way,
it.
yeah.
You
Each
can rough
way.
it. This is maybe for
Let's
you.
say $75 each. That's $150. Just make
Yeah.
math even.
Exactly.
So you're at $850 right there.
$850, and then if you
Food.
if you go to Sturgis and you do food conservatively, meaning that you go pick up some cheap food that
cold
you
cuts, put them in a cooler.
yeah
whatever.
like cut some like some peanut butter jelly,
Beanie
some,
weenies.
just the random, like go to the grocery store and buy some shit you can make sandwiches with, right? You can do it really cheap. I've seen people do that. If you start going to all these spots and eating
Yeah,
and
if you're Loud
drinking,
American or fucking Knuckle and all that
yeah,
shit
you're
every
going to
night.
spend a lot of money at those spots, and it's going to add up real quick. You can have just as much fun going to Sturgis and doing the small things at the campgrounds with all the homies and not going and doing
That
all
food truck was good, and it wasn't that expensive.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I mean, they had breakfast, lunch, and dinner there, and you might spend
You time it
$5
up
to
right,
$10
you
a
eat
meal.
that.
I generally
breakfast and
budget for
lunch.
every trip I do $1,500. I assume that every trip I do,
No.
the 2-week trips, is $1,500.
I don't even think me and my wife together spent $2,000 on Sturgis, honestly, last year.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
there.
$2,000 is a lot. I mean, I don't think I even got
Yeah.
close to that.
But that was with 2 people.
Yeah, with my wife too, yeah.
So,
single dude. Hey man, $1,000.
1,000. You should be able to have a good time for
In or out.
$1,000.
Hey, dude, Lee.
It depends if you want to buy a bunch of shirts and other knickknacks, or if you just like party so hard. But literally at the campground, what's nice about the campgrounds is you can buy your own beer. The beer there actually wasn't that expensive.
It
I
was
think it was
cheaper to buy it from them than it was to go to the gas station.
Yeah, and then you had to buy a cooler and all that shit to have it at your campsite, or you can just walk 50 feet to the bar and get your own beer. I think the showers, a hot shower is what, $1?
It was
quarters?
It was
It was
75
quarters,
cents or
it was
something,
quarters,
right? And then every
it gave you like
20
4 minutes or something
yeah.
like
For
that.
every dollar was like 4 minutes.
Yeah, so a couple bucks in showers, a couple bucks if you want to clean your clothes. Like, so have some quarters on you or whatever. But realistically,
Part of the trip is figuring out how to like budget all this. Like that's part of the trip. The same way you're budgeting or you're planning the actual mileage and the roads you take. Sometimes it's like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna enjoy.
It's a live and learn experience.
But my thing was I bought
If
I
you're-
bought a Lexin. I bought from Fran. Fran won that Lexin, so I paid for that, and some other little things that I added on to my trip.
Yeah.
But I still think we didn't. I still feel
I'm
like
trying
we
to help
spent
the
maybe
dude out
$2,000.
who wants to come. He's enticed by it, but he doesn't fucking know. And he's at the point where he's like, dude,
I
I'm shooting
really
for the
think-
hip here. I have
hey,
no
I
I
want
really
to fucking
think-
buy a beer for the dude that was like, yo, dude, I don't know how the fuck I'm here, but I'm here. Woo!
Yeah, dude.
I just want to have a good
Man,
time.
hey,
I
if you
listen
show
to
up, I got you a
podcasts.
beer. If you
Yeah.
show up, I got you a beer.
come and like
Somebody's got
that'll
you a
happen.
beer. I promise you.
Steve's
But I just
riding
wanted
with
to
us.
I wanted to give somebody a baseline on if they've never been, if they don't know, if they bought a bike a week ago and they're like, "Fuck, dude, I
I'm
like
telling you
my
right
bike
now,
already." I'm
there's
sure
no
dude-
reason.
I'm not worried about you making fun of my handlebars. I just want to fucking come. This sounds like a party. I found your podcast. I bought my bike a week ago. I found your podcast 5 days ago. I want to come.
If you're spending anywhere between
$1,000, man. If you, I would say. If
No,
you
I'm
get
gonna say
$1,000, lean on your friends.
6 to 8 days on this total trip. There's no reason why you can't do it for under $100 a day. In
Yeah.
theory, like between the gas and the food.
Yeah.
If you broke it all down an 8-day day.
If you're
$800,
responsible, you could do it. Yeah,
you can do it for $100 a day.
You can live off peanuts and water, and there's a lot of stuff.
There's a dollar menu that got McDonald's. I mean, literally, where our campground is,
you can
McDonald's
go get
is right
fucking
across
double
the street.
cheeseburgers every day for $1.25.
Yep, you can get Wendy's, whatever. So it's like you don't have to eat steak dinners. Like, I mean,
no, and none of us fucking do either. Like, don't. Steak dinner?
I might have had one or two.
Not on a certain. No.
Shit, when we got to Deadwood, where the casinos are at, there was a. So Boz will know about this. I don't remember what casino we stayed at, but when we pulled into Deadwood, we went and ate at a steak house that was on top of a casino.
Yep.
And it was
Me
fucking.
and Joe Kidd ate there once.
Yeah, and
Good
it was
time.
fucking incredible. And I still don't think we broke the $2,000 mark between me and my wife. And that's with stopping in Colorado and everything else in between.
Yeah.
Well, in Dodge City, we ate at a steakhouse for lunch.
Yeah.
But I still think I got the burger there. And like I said, I had plenty of money on that trip, but I was like something about eating a steak at like
Not me.
12:15 in the afternoon just sounds weird.
I'm a little guy. I'm a little guy, but when I go places, I want to eat something different. Not eat something different. I eat the same thing.
When you
but
go
I
to
just wanna
Sturgis, you want to eat a buffalo.
Oh, they'll get
burger,
you. Remember that
or a
restaurant we
buffalo
had
steak? Yeah.
where they were trying to charge you? Fuck, you were ordering strips or something.
Yeah, that
and it
was
like
in
the sauce.
Deadwood.
She was like, it was like $1 per sauce or something.
I was pissed.
You kind of lost your mind. Yeah, I was like, oh, hey, sorry.
That
about
is
my
another.
friend.
That was another. That's another thing right there. We forgot to mention. Like,
I remember, yeah.
riding into Deadwood. What route do we take when you come into Deadwood? Was it from leaving Rushmore?
If you leave Sturgis and you go south, the main road from our
Is that from
campground.
out of Spearfish then? What? There was a route we took. We took a route that led us into Deadwood. We did some type of
This
ride.
is where the maps helps you out if you look at the
No.
maps.
Fuck the maps. There's a ride. One of the rides. It was either the
If
Rushmore
you take
ride.
Spearfish, it drops you out in Lead, which is south of Deadwood. And if you want to make it back to Sturgis, you have to go through Lead, which is at the top of the mountain, and Deadwood's in the valley, and then Deadwood straight to Sturgis. So
It might have been that because it was either Rushmore or Spearfish.
if you go to Rushmore, you do Rushmore, but that's way further
Okay,
away.
so we didn't do. I know now that you say that, I know we didn't do that because Rushmore. When we did Rushmore, we went to the Black Hills, and then we went to Texas Roadhouse, and then went back to the campground.
Yeah, because
so it had to be
Rapid
Spearfish.
City's a full size city. They have Walmart. Right?
Yeah, it had
They
to be
have everything
Spearfish.
you
It had to
need.
be. We did the loop for Spearfish and ended up in Deadwood.
Yeah, because then from Deadwood, from Spearfish Loop, you have to go back through Deadwood to come back to Sturgis.
Yeah, so we did that. So
Yeah.
coming out of Spearfish, we went to Deadwood and had dinner in Deadwood. Which Deadwood, if you haven't been there, that's a super cool little town.
Mike DeJean on there.
He said he's coming.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, he wants Rocky Mountain oysters apparently. Fuck
What is that? What is the market?
Testicle bull testicles.
Oh, calf rice.
That's on that Dijon shit.
Okay, I
Fuck
guess.
that.
We don't fuck with that. That's like Dijon stuff.
But yeah, so Deadwood is a cool little area there. Got a couple little casinos. They got this little Harley apparel shop in there. But yeah, we did that on the way back, so I forgot about that too. And there's another cool little town.
There's every one of those places: Hill City, Custer.
What's the town? What's the town? So when you're going to Rushmore, there's this old timey town that had
Keystone.
Keystone. Yes.
Yeah.
That was. We didn't
That's
stop
where
in there.
Keystone is where people stayed that actually did the mining work or the sculpture work.
Yeah, it looks like a
for-
super.
dude. Like when the first year, how do I say this? When I first saw the Golden Gate Bridge is the same year. 3 months later, I saw Mount Rushmore and things like that, and I was like enthralled with the idea of like, how the fuck did people build shit like this? And there's so many cool videos on YouTube of how like the Golden Gate Bridge, because you see this bridge in pictures and it doesn't make sense to you. Same way like when if you're in New York and you see the Brooklyn Bridge and these massive bridges. Like if you're from the Midwest or the South, our bridges are fucking bitch ass bridges. Like they start fucking ground level and they go up and over or whatever. These bridges are built up through cliffs and blah blah blah, and just the sheer amount of like human ingenuity that has to go into make these things happen is like very fascinating to me. So the same thing with like Mount Rushmore. When you see this and you're like, it ain't like they built this shit in the 90s when they had at least like Photoshop in some kind
Technology
of way.
or whatever.
No, they were doing this shit in like 30s, 20s,
Just
50s.
a range of dynamite to
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
blow
It's
a
like
fucking-
drilling holes in dynamite and like it's so much more complicated to create things in that kind of manner, but it's fascinating to see it and to see what they had to do every day to go to work to make progress, which wasn't a lot every day, but it was progress to make this shit happen. And then when you when you see Mount Rushmore, that's much more complete, and then you go to Crazy Horse, which is, if they ever finish it, would be an amazing spectacle. But the fact of inflation, the way it's gotten, they'll probably never be able to finish it because it'll cost too much money to ever do it. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, like you were saying, seeing the stuff in pictures and seeing it in person, like I've never had like a breathtaking moment seeing something live. But man, when you come out and when you're coming out of that tunnel and you see Rushmore for the first time, that is like, that's
hard.
The
way you want to see Rushmore.
That's hard to replicate. It's hard to replicate seeing it for the first time. I snapped photos like of my wife when she was in front of me. Like once you first see it, it's like, holy shit, and you take the picture and you stop and you take a few more pictures. But man, and then you start going around the backside of it and everything. I can only imagine what the Golden Gate Bridge will look like because I have a new appreciation.
The same vibe.
Yeah, I have a new appreciation for seeing things in person than in photos because I've seen Mount Rushmore my entire life. 30-something years I've seen that in pictures, and it's like, cool, it's a carving in the side of a mountain. I'm from Georgia. We have Stone Mountain. Same kind of concept. It's just etching in the side of a mountain. But seeing in person and in pictures, yes, it's different, but it's not to the magnitude that Rushmore is. And man, when you see that thing and see like the sheer size of it, man, that's worth the whole trip almost. If you're a patriotic, if you're
man, not even that. Like if you're just a fan of like motherfuckers doing shit, like the same exact reason why I can stand on Long Island and look back at Manhattan Island and go, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that is the same thing. Like you see this mountain with faces carved in it, and you're like, how the fuck? Dude, stand on Long Island and look back at Manhattan and go, how the fuck?
Yeah.
That is wild. You know what I mean?
That'd be something cool to experience too.
All right, cocksuckers.
Hang with your old lady too much. We got to start wrapping this one up, man. We're getting there.
No, dude.
Hey, get your wallets out, cocksuckers. We're going Patreon. I talked to my old lady. Yeah, dude.
Y'all stay at the house or what?
She goes, I was asking her questions. She goes, I go, what the fuck are you doing? She goes, talking to Kelly, trying to get details on this Brody thing.
Oh, shit.
Stay in your fucking lane and get out of the gossip while.
Oh, yeah. Bringing that shit into here.
If you know kind of thing. Sorry, brother. I love you. I can't bankroll you on this, but I still like you.
He sells me for 2 shirts at the camp out. So, hey, karma's a bitch.
You gotta go pick those up in Arizona. Ain't gonna relocate.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm excited for Sturgis this year. I hope that like this group of friends, like we've been talking about this whole podcast, has been like compounding every year times 2, right?
Yeah.
And I expect that to happen with Sturgis. You know what I mean? We had dudes last year in Sturgis come out.
We're only at 3 hours, bro.
I'm trying to start the end now.
There you go.
When you start seeing these dudes come out, like, the thing is that like we have a fucking great group of dudes that are within reach, right?
Technically, we don't need any more friends.
We don't.
We really
but
don't.
The problem is that you meet these dudes that come in, that bust their ass, and they show up, and they're like, fuck, this dude's rad as shit.
Yeah, you're what we are. You're the same
like,
dude.
And you're like, where do you live? And you're like, he's like, Idaho. I'm like, fuck, dude, move to Dallas, bro. Like, you'd fit in so great. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. But you know what happens times 10 on that is like, bro, we got to go to Idaho. This dude fucking fucks. He's down to party. He rides.
I want to go to
He's got the
everybody's sometime,
spots.
dude. I want to go
like,
to everybody's spot.
Yeah, exactly. I want to go. I want to meet people in Sturgis and be inspired to come to your fucking part of the country. That's where it's at. that's expanding my mind. That's how like you show up with your gay ass ape hangers and hell yeah brother shit that you think everybody's gonna make fun of you at, and you inspire the dudes that you think are too cool for you. You right? We're too cool for that, right? But next thing you know, you're there, and we're like, where the fuck you from? Like, dude, that sounds rad as fuck.
If you got a cool personality and everything, I think we just want to hang out with everyone. So, anyone coming up from Texas, whatever, can't make it on the Tuesday, we're coming out of Arkansas on the 5th. On Thursday, you're more than welcome to ride. So,
come on,
Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, Texas. We'll be leaving up on the 5th, and you're welcome to stay at my place. I know Boz is coming out from Georgia, so if anyone wants to jump in with him, come from Georgia, Florida area on the 4th. He'll be into my town on the 5th, or he'll be in on the 4th, leaving out on the 5th. So, just connect with anyone and, make the trip up there.
Yeah, it's the same way the camp out is, man.
Yep.
Like, the journey to the event is part
Ohio,
of the event.
Kentucky, even Mass. The dudes from Mass that met up with you guys, they came all the way down.
Taylor and Brennan.
Yeah, they came all the way down and met with us at Rebels Den and then rode the rest of the way from Rebels Den. Like, we sat around and waited on them to show up. They finally got there, and then we, with the...
Finally? Okay.
Well, I mean, they were a little behind. But they had some issues.
Dude, Brennan's been getting a lot of love on his bike from
his bike's killer, man. I love his bike.
I love it.
I love it.
He went to that East Texas bike night, the John Jessup's, where
he goes,
that dude rode solo.
East Tennessee, yes.
That dude rode solo.
Yeah.
All the way from Massachusetts.
Like a fucking hog, dude. Like, went down there.
Just for a fucking bike night. Not for like a big event or something.
That's what we were saying earlier.
There's been
bike
dudes.
night.
All of a sudden, other people have caught like, dude, who's this guy that's like doing all this shit?
Well, him
and
and
I've noticed his fucking bike is immaculate. And dude, Taylor's is right there.
Yeah, Taylor's the one he's the one that started the leg wrestling, by the way.
They're both.
He was the leg wrestling guy.
Such fucking good dudes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was the one because I guess that's big up north. So he's the one who brought that to the camp out.
Absolutely. I was on mushrooms when I got my.
I did not enjoy Boston at all. I hated that fucking town being there, but I did enjoy being around those guys.
Dudes, yeah, they're cool.
I enjoyed being in our little Airbnb with all the homies there.
Yeah.
So we had a night there.
They stayed with you guys for 2 days of the trip.
We had
2 or
a
3
couple
days.
other dudes in there for a minute. Joe Kid came through, and we had it's one of those like. You see the people post shit, and they're like, "If you know, you know." And it's like, okay, dude, we get it. Like, but this is truly one of those like, if you were there, you were there, and you
listen to Joe Kid's stories.
If you were there, you laughed probably as hard as you've laughed. Top 3, top 5 of anything in your life. Like, it was one of those, like, and that's really it. Like, just out of respect of the whole night. Like, if you were there. You were there, and if you weren't, it's all right, dude. Just know that we laughed, we had a good time. But everybody, that was part of the thing about it was the fact that it wasn't just 2 or 3 dudes from Texas. Like, it was such a good vibe there with those guys.
It was a whole group
and they know, dude. I guarantee those guys are right now. Whenever they listen to this, they're fist pumping, they're like lighters up.
Sturgis.
I know they're laughing about fucking stories that only. Like 9 of us know.
I know they've done a lot. Yeah. I know they've done a lot this year already, and they've already put a bunch of miles down. But I hope they make it to Sturgis because that'd be fucking killer. See them show up.
I don't even think
it sucks when you're kind of like the one of the first people from your scene to start to kind of jump out, because you feel like you had to put a lot of work in. Those dudes are putting a lot of miles down to be a part of everything. Because I would say that like this big kind of like thing we got going on really fucking resonates with Texas, Arkansas, Ohio, Tennessee, in like within 2 states of surrounding all that, right? And then, Boston's far. I mean, that's like Boston from
like
here.
Teabagger, all those guys like
from here
to be known to be that far away. That means you're putting in the work and the effort.
Not even that. Like the dudes like Jimmy Medlin and the
Emily. Yeah, Emily.
What's he?
Kellen.
Yeah.
Like
American Asian.
Taylor. So
I didn't know what's
Kellen.
his Kellen.
Yeah,
That's
Kellen,
his Instagram. Dude, I fucking love that dude's bike. And he's like, we were in fucking
it gets the most love.
North Carolina.
We were in North Carolina. He goes like, yeah, man, I got the fucking air cleaner because you S&S. I'm like, thanks, man. Like, your bike's sick as fuck, dude. Like, I'm like looking at his bike now, thinking about my next like version.
Yeah,
of my bike.
He just got his wife, Lindsay, just got her on the S.
Oh yeah.
Because she rode her.
He got her on
Sportster.
an S and he rides it all the time.
Yeah, he's always
he
on
loves
it.
dude. It's
But
it's this 1B bike. Like it's his road.
Well, they still got the Sportster too, but she rode her Sportster from there all the way down to Daytona. You know, because they were down there for
dude,
Daytona
they're
with you guys.
yeah, they're gangster.
And
I
then
love them.
G back up, and then he's like, well, now she needs a bigger bike to go more miles. So hopefully they make it a Sturgis now that they don't have
that's
an
the same
excuse.
thing
If they come to Sturgis, like, dude, I'm fucking so down to party. But
Hell yeah.
I love those guys and
That was one of the
their
things where
enthusiasm.
they made a sacrifice that day just to meet up. That was one of those things where like, hey, we're going through here. And
Yeah, they made it to the down south camp out, but I think they only had like a gay there. Because I only said hey to him.
Like I said, I
No,
remember seeing
him.
Jimmy. I remember seeing Jimmy.
I remember seeing
I don't
Kellen,
remember seeing
and I said
Kellen.
hey to him, but I think they had to like shoot down and shoot right back. I think they did such a quick little like in and out. They didn't meet us at.
Think about it like this. Like, just think about the down south camp out for a minute. As soon as I got there and you were with us, so was Justin, Dragon, all of us. We got there at the same time, and as soon as we saw Mark, Big Trouble, we were on party mode. We were not in like, hey, welcome to the camp out mode.
Yeah, I was shotgunning beers
I
at
don't
10
know.
a.m. and pissing in my tent by 8. So
I don't know who the fuck walked up to me at all that day and said, hi, I follow you, or blah, 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 or whatever the fuck was said, and I'm sorry. But
yeah, I remember meeting Bodywork Ben and Steve Yoakum at the restaurant we were at for a split second. I remember walking over to their table, seeing him be like, man, I took a picture of your bike, Steve. I was like, I took a picture of your bike in Sturgis. It's the baddest fucking road glide I've ever seen. And I think that's all I said to him.
But yeah, okay.
Baddest road glide I've ever seen.
All right.
And I told him that, and then I went back to party mode. And that was the last I saw of them too, because
I love it because I was sitting, I was waiting for my club sandwich. And
I had the same club sandwich
I was
there.
sitting
It was actually-
next to Mark Big Trouble, and I was sitting next to a dump truck. And Justin was on the other side of the bar. It was
y'all were
dump
yelling,
truck.
talking shit to him.
It was dump truck, myself, Mark, and I want to say somebody else was over there with us at the same time. And I just remember drunkenly looking over there, and I like got either dump truck or Mark's attention. I was like, "Look at Justin. That motherfucker dyes his beard."
Yeah, y'all were yelling at across the bar.
Yeah,
talking
well,
shit to him.
originally it started
I think
out
that's where
with
it all
like
started, wasn't it?
Yeah, it did start right there. I was like, yo, like his beard. I was sitting in the bar, and I guess maybe I was hating. Let's just be real. I was hating. I'm like, I'm fucking waiting on my chicken strip basket or
Yeah,
whatever.
you're
the
like
fuck.
a year younger than us.
And I'm like, I look over, I'm like, his beard is really dark, and I know he's at least in his 30s. Like, there should be a little pepper in that, or a little salt in that,
Yeah.
right? So I reached over to Mark, and, me and Mark were talking because Mark's all grayed out now. And he's like, yeah, man, like, a year and a half ago, if you would have met me, my shit was black. And I'm like, yeah, it's like, he dyes his beard, right? There's no way it's that fucking dark from here. And so I started like assembling a posse to confront Justin with his debauchery with his fucking beard, because we all know it ain't fucking legit.
With the chicanery.
The memes that came from that, though, who was it? Craig that made the Just for Machinists? Took the box
Yeah.
of Just for Men and said Just for Machinists beard dye.
But you gotta be there. You gotta be at these events to be a part of this fucking. What is it like the underlying, situation?
Oh, it's like so the first night so even though I met you in Sturgis, I didn't really have a whole lot of interaction with you in Sturgis other than
Yeah, you gotta earn it.
Yeah. At the down south, it was like me, you, and Boz went and had dinner together before going over to the bar.
Yeah, because we went and ate at the.
We jumped in an Uber together.
Yeah,
and
we went and ate at fucking. Because I was staying with Jaden that night. We ended up going to.
We went to Bama, Florida,
Bama.
but they said they
Bama,
weren't serving no food. They didn't have
Yeah.
no real food. They only
Yeah.
had like fucking chicken fingers and shit. And we're like, man, we
That
kinda
is
want
the best part of that about the down south camp out. It's not necessarily the actual camp out. It's the amount of effort everybody's putting in to get there, and the fact that like the down south camp out doesn't start in Inglis, Florida. It starts in
Jackson, Mississippi.
Jackson, Mississippi,
Yeah.
and we all go there together.
Starts It starts
Hands
when
down.
you get off fucking work.
It starts when you get off work, but
yeah.
it all really met because when we somehow calculated it to where we were like 15 minutes difference. When we pulled into Pig and Pint, you guys are maybe 10, 15 minutes behind us, and then y'all come rolling in. We had a fucking bomb-ass lunch, had a couple beers there, and then fucking...
It was a perfect timing to get to Florida,
exactly,
Bama.
and then murdered it to fucking Florida, Bama. It was all checked in. The rest of the, Houston was there. Cheeks and all those guys were already at the fucking Florida, Bama. All these other dudes were checked in there. We checked in.
We stayed at a Holiday Inn. It was like
Super nice.
We didn't break it was on the beach, whatever. We didn't break the bank. There's nicer hotels down there.
Yeah, Steve got us a little
But if you're
hookup on the
looking
deal
at
there.
this and we stayed
no,
at
not
a
that
fucking
one.
Holiday Inn on the beach. I mean, it was awesome. And there's
right near the beach.
There's
Right near the beach,
10
man.
hotels that were comparable to it right there by it. But
No, that hotel was perfect setup, and
Yeah,
weren't but a couple miles away from the Florida, Bama bar. Partied our asses off that night. Jace got a picture of him in the middle of the fucking state line road after the Waffle House.
Didn't you get that picture? Or who? Somebody got that picture.
I don't know how y'all stayed up so late. I ended up going back at like 2 a.m. Y'all stayed up
we
to like
do drugs,
4 or
bro.
5. Then to wake up the next morning, got back on the road. We met at the that restaurant in St. Peter's or what was that?
I liked that spot. I liked going there. I liked
The ride to that was awesome.
the
No, to that bar was awesome.
So-
the ride from that bar to the camp out was fucking garbage.
no.
that's when you, me, and Balls were doing like 110. Like we passed a call.
no. That was while at the camp out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'll
to
never forget
preface that, like from Florida,
You got me the wrong way.
Bama, from Florida, Bama to that bar.
I didn't mind that ride because
I didn't like that because we stayed off the highway and we got stuck in all these street lights with 40, 50
Yeah, where
bikes.
fucking Justin's ripping wheelies and everything else.
Yeah,
It was
if
cool.
you were in the front, with us, it wasn't that
About
bad.
midway back.
But no, the problem was it was like it took forever. It was like
No. To the lunch, I didn't feel like took too long, but from the lunch to the camp out,
that's what took too long.
yeah,
Because from the lunch to the camp out was the longer part.
because we had to stay.
But
against
we
the
didn't have
coast.
to. We didn't have to from the lunch to the camp out. We didn't have to deal with the beachfront traffic.
Yeah, I think Dump Truck
matter.
called it the ride that never ended because it just seemed like it went on forever.
And some
And
of
what
that
sucked was that last gas stop. When we got to that last
You know what,
gas
but-
stop, Kyle and all those, or whoever else was at
I took a shit there.
the last gas. Yeah, you
remember
did.
that,
I remember
yeah.
you were there for a while.
Yeah.
Somebody was
Great shit
notifying.
stop.
Someone was hollering at Craig and talking all this shit about the campground, like, "Oh, our fucking tents are going to be 200 miles away," and all this other shit. So everyone was already in like a bad mood, like, "Oh, this is going to suck." We pulled up there. The fucking tents were only goddamn.
it was perfect.
It was
good,
perfect.
yeah.
And it was all sand because they were talking about bitching about a sand. The sand worked out good. It was like
Yeah,
a nice thing to
comfortable.
sleep on.
Yes.
Like, dude, the
100%.
campground, everything about the fucking down south, spot on.
So that was probably one of the biggest awakenings for myself. Is that like that was the only other camp out. I mean, I wish that I could have experienced an up north camp out, but I haven't. It's just I couldn't pull it off. But the down south was very
It's a very
different.
tough date for the
It's-
up north. I want to get there too so
Yeah.
bad, but it's just a tough date.
I want to do it, but it's just so close to Sturgis and to put down that many miles between, like I was telling him, it's 990 miles from my house. So it's another 200 something miles for you guys.
Yeah.
They go to the up north
300 something.
or 300 something. And then they were talking about going to Sketchy's ride, which if I do the up north, I'd probably want to go over there to check that out.
If everybody was leaving that party to go to another party, like I guess
Yeah, I'm
going
gonna
over
jump
there.
in. That's another. I did the math. It was like 560 miles from up north to his spot, and then it's like 11 or 1,200 miles from his spot back to my house, all in 3 days. I'm like, I am not fucking trying to do that.
Yeah, that's
So that's why I'm here in Texas.
That's why a lot of when it comes down to it, like to be fair, there's not a whole lot that everybody getting involved into this whole event planning thing. It becomes very complicated.
Yeah.
Like fortunately for Craig in Florida,
it works.
it works because
he hit a home run the
It's
first
the,
time.
it's the end of the year, but
it's
the
the
weather
end of
is
the
still
year.
good.
Yeah, he's still good. Now it does suck for certain people, but the window of opportunity is still kind of open for a lot of people.
And then
to
your
do that.
event, because it's at the start of the year, is good because
it's still a fucking, like, this year was a fucking eye opener for a lot of people. Like,
And as far as that goes, Taylor.
yeah, but the eye opener was only. I mean, yes, the guys that came from Ohio and stuff.
everybody
like that,
above
But-
40 got snow.
Yeah.
Taylor and Brendan that came down from Massachusetts this year, dude, they were on board last year, the COVID camp out, and they got snowed in. Like, they got a snowstorm where they was like, dude, I can't fucking leave.
Yeah, but those guys, you know,
But
it
they
comes to a
were,
point-
I mean, they were 100%. He had the time off work. He'd done it. He goes, dude, I
but
got
just
fucking
like
snowed in.
but
Like,
just
I
like
can't
you
get out
guys,
of my
but just
fucking
like you
driveway.
guys said before, like it don't matter if you trailer in, just show up to the events. So if you have to trailer in, I'm in Arkansas. If you have to trailer to my house,
Dude,
I have
if
a
you're from
fucking, I have a spot.
Oklahoma
You
to
yeah.
Massachusetts, though, I'm going to give you a break on weather.
Yeah, you can literally. I don't give a fuck who you are. If I don't know you personally or I know you personally, you can trailer your bike and park it in my fucking driveway, and then ride with me for the other 240, 270 miles. I think it's 270 from my house to the camp out. Next year, hands down, I'm not even going to fucking question it. Like, just show up, be a part of it, enjoy it, because you're not going to want to fucking miss it. Same thing with Sturgis this year. You're not going to want to miss it. I'm glad that I did it last year the way I did it, because this year I'm going to have even more fun being closer with you dudes and everything else that goes on with it. Because now I know what to do.
I never-
where to
You're
go.
not going to skip out on things we're doing because you've already done things you felt like you needed to do.
Exactly. I'm not going to feel entitled to have to like meet up with this group and this group or whatever. So last year, like I said, I had friends from Georgia coming up. I felt entitled to like hang out with them. So when you guys went and did your spearfish, I went to the chip to hang out with them and just sit there and drink beers. I wish I would have just jumped in with you guys and did spearfish, because my spearfish probably wasn't as cool as y'all's was. Granted, we did the Devil's Bathtub, but
I don't think I did spearfish last. I think that was the day I said I'm gonna do my laundry today.
spearfish was the
It's
first
not
time we
out
got
at
in.
the
Y'all did
bar.
that on Saturday because that was
Yeah, we
Justin,
did. I think we did spearfish on Saturday. I remember because I got a pair of flip flops that we bought in spearfish
Yeah.
that I wanted shower fucking flip flops.
Well, the FXR's Sunday, so Justin's like spearfish was the only thing he
I think
did
that was the day I
last year.
stayed
He
at
did
the
do spear.
campground.
Yeah, that's the only thing he
spearfish
did.
with
He
us,
didn't do Rushmore. He didn't do none of that. So he wants to go
because
there this year.
we do like. Be honest with you, right now we'll probably do that Devil's Bathtub on Thursday.
Yeah.
because I want to do that. I've been wanting to do that for years, and I haven't got enough information about it to
hiking
make it happen.
shoes, pair of shorts, a towel to wipe the sweat off your forehead. You'll be good to go. Pack a little cooler.
I want to do that Wednesday. So the way we'll come into Sturgis, we come in Sturgis on the southeast side. So we actually do some of the shit on the way to our campground, so that we don't have to go back all the way over there.
Yeah, we cut all the way
Boy.
across. What's that highway? 90 or something like that.
90.
Yeah, so we took
knows?
90 in, but I
Who
think
knows?
this year we might go through Nebraska and kind of
Dude.
kick it up.
I've said it a million times, dude. I love riding through West Nebraska.
Northwest
it's
Nebraska.
fucking beautiful.
Oh, the reason we did the other way is that was the quickest route, and because of Justin's bike having the issues that it had. For one, we had a guy had a part in Iowa, Sioux City, Iowa, whatever it's called, Sioux Falls, Iowa.
I honestly don't want to see Justin there if his wife doesn't come.
She's coming.
She's fun.
Yeah, way more fun than Justin.
Yeah, she's like,
She likes to party.
Yeah, she likes to party.
I mean, Justin just can only take that so many times.
Yeah, we've seen your hat move, bro.
Yeah,
we get
that's
it.
all he's got.
We've seen your dance moves. Duly noted.
See, if Justin was so, we talk so much shit about Justin on here, but every time I give him an opportunity to come on the podcast, he gets on here and freezes. Do you think if you and Justin came on here, I would totally do a fucking.
Justin's thing is I think you got to get him on a podcast after a few beers. I don't think
We
you
need
can
to
start
microdose him.
So
before he
here's
gets on
the
here.
Justin.
Yeah, yeah.
Justin
You give him
has
like a
not been
quarter
here.
of a gram of
He has not
mushrooms.
been here. Like so,
He was
been
here
on-
at the anniversary party.
He's done 2 podcasts. So he did the first one, the anniversary party. Me and Justin were kind of getting to know each other at that time, right?
Well, he said if you
Somebody
got some
FaceTime him.
risers
Let's face something.
and a power vision mount from him, he'd hook you up on
Yeah,
it.
but let's be real. Those are 2 failing products for the
You on the
my
Wi-Fi?
machinist area.
FaceTime this guy.
So now here's the deal.
Sax, can you not FaceTime him on the computer? Come on, bro.
I don't know if there'd be any audio.
No, there wouldn't.
Damn it.
So
He's probably shirt off with watching a movie.
I
Right now.
don't care, dude.
So the second time he came on the podcast is when we actually traded for that swing arm for the paint job that he had on the FXR.
Oh yeah, when he came down and picked the paint up.
And it was we did it real quick, and it was kind of like, it wasn't a bad podcast at all, but it was just like, I didn't have Sax, I didn't have somebody to kind of run this shit, so it got fucked up to where it's only available on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's a numbered podcast, but you can only hear it on Facebook. It's fucked.
But it's like when you
I'm
came
gonna
down
go in
Justin's
and
house.
tag it as extremist content. Fuck Facebook, dude.
When you came to when you were just in Little Rock a couple weeks ago, like you see how Justin is when he's in a group. Like,
Yeah.
man, he feeds off of like other people's energy.
He does.
He's a funny dude. You know, he's not as funny as Craig or whatever, but man, he's like
Nobody is.
You'll never
one.
be a Craig, bro.
never be a Craig.
But y'all ever see the? Did you see when Kyle drew
All the dicks?
the My Machine? Oh yeah, but when he drew the My Machinist dick, but I've got a video of it where they look back at Justin and he just like the same face the dick that Kyle Drew is making. He makes it like he goes, and then it cuts back.
Yeah, if no one caught into that story everyone was in Little Rock. Kyle literally spent all
was such a
night
fun-
redrawing dicks on the dry erase board.
I want a dick with a fucking happy expression. Say no
So-
more, fam.
Yeah, say no more. There were so many dicks being drawn. Oh, and we had a breathalyzer that night, so we were keeping score.
That was fun. And that was your old lady, right?
No, that was Marlena, Steve's wife.
That's right. She brought it. And then she took it home.
Then she took it home.
What the fuck, dude? Like, we were there. We were keep going. We were trying to keep it going.
Score on the first one.
No,
I was
already out of the gate at a 1.1.
I was so ready.
Or
to
0.11,
Get
whatever.
back on board with that.
1.1, I'll be dead. 0.11.
Yeah, it was a good time, man. But that's what it's all about. I mean, like, the friendships that you see right now with Dallas started in 2018, right? 2018, 19, 20. We started meeting you guys in 20, right?
Yep.
And now, you know,
Because that's what I'm saying. Like with me and Justin, I've known Justin. I've been riding with Justin and King Tony since '04 in sport
Yeah.
bike days. And I did lose touch with Justin for a little bit. I never really lost touch with Tony. And
but now looking at the way shit's like situated now with how
this was-
intertwined, can you see yourself losing touch with those two dudes?
fuck no.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get so much tired, like the way we are now, and just communicating and
You're welcome.
talking, and no, and the funny thing is like I've always been into older motorcycles and bikes that like the Bad Boys and the Springers and whatnot. My wife was really what pushed me to get the bike I got right now.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, I think you'll have fun modifying and enjoying. You looking at dicks?
I found the video.
You can airdrop the video over here if you have it,
Yeah.
and he can play it.
But yeah, so my wife pushed me to get this bike because she knew it would open my horizon and be beneficial in my, something I'd enjoy. And I'm super glad I did it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome that like she was able to help you find.
But I
like, all
wish
that
she
shit.
would just accept the fact that I want her to have the soft tail so I can sell her Dyna and then get me like a Road Glide and set it up like how yours was or something.
It takes time, man. Like, one of
She
the
loves her
things,
fucking Dyna. I don't get it.
I think it's awesome that she rides. I mean, I would love for my wife to ride, but
I'm
it's
telling you right now
scary thing,
because I
man.
had a teacher. So my initial thought was going to be to let the Harley school teacher do that little motorcycle safety course, let them teach her and whatnot.
I did that.
So
Go ahead.
your wife, she did do that?
She passed too, and then when she told me her story from it, she said like I dropped it here and there, and the whole time when she's telling me she was dropped, I was like, I would have passed you.
Yeah.
Like I would not have passed you. Like
That's crazy.
Where she dropped it. It's not that she's not capable of it. It's just she needed more time. She needed more time.
Yeah.
behind a bike to get comfortable
with it. Yeah.
And then when she got done with it, she was riding the smaller bikes there. And so when she got done with it, like I have a bagger and a fucking tall ass FXR. I had the gold FXR at the time. I was like, I don't have a bike you can try out,
Yeah.
So Jesse had he had a Sportster at the time. He didn't have his Dyna that he has now, and so she rode that around a little bit, but she still like seemed very sketchy on it. Right.
So my wife, I felt comfortable with my wife learning because she was familiar with like at that time she had a Challenger that had a 6-speed in it. Mm-hmm. So she understood a clutch, and she understood that if she ever had a problem, she can just pull the clutch in.
Let me ask you this with her. So if you're in the passenger seat of the car with her, is she the person that when she comes to the stop sign or the light or the yield, does she stop and then figure out what's going on, or does she come in and as she's coming in, she's seeing what's taking place?
No, she's already seeing. She's a very defensive rider or driver.
So that is something I noticed, and I'm not talking shit to my wife. I love her to death. My wife stops and then checks her surroundings.
My wife's already prepared for what's coming up.
That scared me.
Yeah.
That scared me so much. I don't know how to. Hopefully, she don't listen to this. That's what scared me about her riding bikes.
Yeah.
Is that to be an effective rider that you don't get fucked up, you need to be aware of everything before you put your feet down off the bike, so that you can make the decision to keep going or not. Because the problem with the bike is that you have to be ahead of the curve, because the car behind you is doing it. Just assume they are doing that.
Yeah,
where
they see that's clear that they're going to go ahead and start pushing through.
So if you don't fucking, then you do this, like it's not going to fucking work.
So with her, all right, let's watch this real quick. We're going to see this video. So here's Kyle drawing dicks and Justin replicating it.
All I'm seeing is
Justin's face.
Justin's face.
It's behind.
Spot on.
100%. That's the best.
That was such a fun night.
But yeah, so my wife and I, we left.
I finished watching Endgame that night.
I know everyone was talking about that.
Because you got there early. That was one of those like.
But Jace was up on his fucking iPad watching a goddamn movie.
Yeah.
Dude, it was such a like tiring day.
Man, he was bragging about leaving you guys behind.
All of a sudden, we were all so happy to be there, and it was like we just had like a repower. Like, I know, I went and took a shower. I was like, hey.
I know Tony was mad because we were supposed to have been at Tony's for the.
Fucking cussed me out.
Oh yeah, we were supposed to be at Tony's for the mini bike racing. So I brought my pit bike to his shop like the day before. I'm like, I'm gonna do this pit bike racing. Texas shows up, we're all gonna have fun. And then Jace gets in town. He's like, I am fucking over this trip. I'm ready to just like relax. All you guys are like way behind. Cody done smashed his phone. Like all this other crazy shit happened. Y'all are like, we just want to fucking relax. You know, yada yada. So I tell Tony, I'm like, hey man, I think we're just gonna crash at fucking we're just gonna do this thing at Justin's house. We're just gonna chill here, go get some Moe's. You know, we took Jason us. We went up to
so good.
We ate Moe's while y'all were.
I wanted to eat Moe's so many times on that trip, and I didn't do it at all. And then
we went and had Moe's, and by the time we got back from Moe's, y'all finally showed up.
Oh yeah. So you know it is like you walk into somebody's house, you don't want to just like eat their food, but I walk in, and I was like, "Where's Jace?" And she goes, oh, he wouldn't eat the like. She literally had Moe's like takeout.
It was a day old Moe's though.
Well, dude,
in her defense, it was from
I wanted a stack.
She goes, he wouldn't eat this. I go, fuck, I looked around. Dude, I didn't take my shoes off. Like Jacob and them were still coming in. I was like, fuck, I made a burrito. I was like, a couple of the ingredients. I was like, there's not a ton of this left. So I went fucking whole hog, and I made a big before I did anything. I was like,
I remember because I got back. I got back from
they were all
Moe's.
like. Kyle's hair was all nice and gleaming. All y'all looked all fresh and showered.
As soon as I got,
you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to it. So as soon as I got to Justin's house, I like, dude, I got to take a shower. I'm fucking sweaty. I got rained on in Memphis because Memphis has a bridge out. It's fucking shit show.
Yeah, 40 bridge.
And then so I get to Justin's. He lets me take a shower in his like personal bathroom or their master bathroom. I'm like, cool. So do that, and then we go to fucking eat Moe's, and I'm like, I pig out. I got a fucking bowl of queso. I'm fucking dipping everything in there and the cup into that motherfucker, right? I get back to the fucking house, And Jaden's like getting a towel. He's like,
Oh, I got my shirt off. I got my toiletry bag. I'm like, about to go get in the showers.
I'm like, bro, I got shit.
Jace walks right in. He goes, and I hear he asked Justin's wife. He goes, hey, where's y'all's bathroom at? She goes, what's over here? But she looks at me, and I was like, huh? And he goes, sorry. He looked back. He goes, sorry.
Speaking of all that, did you hear what the problem was with the AC?
No, what was it?
So the drain was clogged, and the drain had like a switch on it that if it wasn't releasing all like the condensation or whatever, it wouldn't let the AC kick on, so that it wouldn't cause like an overfill or whatever. So all they had to do was like unclog the drain.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put
So the
that,
AC is blowing like
Anyway.
super ice cold right now.
I'm gonna
with y'all
put that
there.
on Miss My Machinist. It's probably her hair that clogged the drain, anyways.
We got to wrap it up, man. We got to wrap
it up.
up.
So
Sturgis.
Sturgis, fucking
Do
show
it.
up, dude. I don't
Fucking
know
do
what to
it.
tell you. Yeah.
Like,
it is.
don't think about it. Texas is leaving out on the Tuesday. You want to jump in with them? Arkansas. Right now it's just Monday night. So myself, my wife, and Bosley. Bosley will be leaving out of Arkansas or Georgia on Monday. Or no, I'm fucking up my days. He'll be leaving out on Wednesday, the 4th. So if you want to get in with him, I'm sure he'll love some company. He's been doing that trip from Georgia to Arkansas solo for about a year now. He would love some company. You can jump in with him. Come over to Arkansas. I'll put you up for a place to stay, and we'll leave out Thursday morning, the 5th. We're going to try to make it to maybe Sioux Falls, Sioux City, something like that, about the halfway point. The first night, and then the second night we'll make it all the way into, or the second day we'll make it all the way into Sturgis. So we should be in Sturgis on Friday evening. Yeah, show up, man. I'm telling you right now, been to a lot of rallies, done a lot of stuff. You're not going to want to miss it. It's a ton of fun.
You get the credit for Sturgis, but then
It's not. I don't
You
even
also-
think, it's not even about bragging
No.
to say that you went to Sturgis.
well, yeah, but
everything
you do.
there
You-
is just
you
cool.
do. If you ride motorcycles and you got a family, at some point
It's something you gotta do. You gotta
wanna be
check
able
it
to
off.
say, "Hey, I went to fucking Sturgis," because
You know, because-
even
you know-
your slapjaw fucking uncle who doesn't ride motorcycle, he knows it's Sturgis.
I was about to say that. Now that you say that, it
You
does
wanna
remind me
fucking be
because
able to
people always
fucking-
say, "Oh, you've been to Sturgis, you've been
yeah,
here, you've been
fucking
there."
your jerk off
and if you can
fucking
start
aunt.
saying, "Yeah, I've been there, I've been there, I've been there,"
But I mean, you want to be able to fucking say like, "Hey, dude, I've been to Sturgis, so fucking come." And if you want to fucking make it about 1,000 times better, come hang out with fucking
Yeah.
like-minded fucks like us.
Days in, camp out, or campground. The
Days
only one, the
in,
only
yeah,
one
we're-
you need to worry about.
Focusing on that first week, figure it the fuck out on getting up there on your own.
You don't need to spend a
like I
lot of
said,
money.
The Dallas trip is this. We're leaving Monday late afternoon ish.
Yeah.
Somewhere to fucking Oklahoma. Not everybody's invited to this. Honestly, I'm just gonna tell you this is like this is our personal plans. But guess what? If you're in the area, if you're in the vicinity, if it works out for you, reach the fuck out. And if you don't creep me out for my initial vibe, dude, I'll probably say, come on. It's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna divide everything up the same. You're gonna pay the same thing Cody pays. You're gonna pay the same thing I pay. Whatever. If you fucking come along. If not, fuck, I don't care. I'll see you in Sturgis, hopefully. But the first night, we're trying to jam after work, late afternoon, evening-ish, somewhere to Oklahoma. The second day, maybe even Wichita, Kansas. That's a long stretch, but who knows? The second night, Tuesday night,
Now, Oklahoma to Wichita
we're
is not bad, right?
100% staying in northwest Nebraska within like 200, 250 miles of
Not even
Sturgis.
that. It's like 100 miles.
So there you go.
Yeah.
The second night, Tuesday night,
It's Alliance,
we
Nebraska.
Alliance. I guarantee you, we're staying in Northwest Nebraska. We will be there, and then Wednesday, we're getting into Sturgis. Come stay at the Days Inn camp out. Like I said, come hang out. Dude, I don't know. I'll even be brutally honest with you. If you want to fucking hang out for a little bit and ask me if you're fucking cool or not, I'll tell you. I'll say, no, dude, you need to lay back a little bit.
Yeah, that's
I'm fucking around. Just come the fuck out, dude. Don't be afraid. Don't be
Nah.
afraid of anything. Because, like I said, at the very worst, let's say you strike on at every level, dude, you're just gonna be kind of like left alone. Like nobody's gonna fight you. And it is what it is. Like you won't not have a good time if you come.
well, and those that can't make it that time, I'm telling you right now, I'm open to anyone to join with us. Right now, it's just gonna be me, my wife, and Boz. Justin may make it. You know, Tony was. I'll go ahead and put it out there and say that he's going to go.
If Tony shows up, that would be.
Tony's done Sturgis solo.
He's done Sturgis.
Times.
Yeah, I know he does Sturgis a lot, but like Tony in our group would be. I would be.
No, I hope he
blessed.
makes it. I hope
be
he makes
blessed.
it. He's looking at his schedule right now. He's going to try to figure it out, but if he can make it happen, he'll be in our group. But right now, like I said, it's my wife, myself, and Bosley. So we're leaving out Arkansas on the 5th in the morning. We're going to try to make it the halfway. It's 1,200 miles from Arkansas to Sturgis. We're going to try to make it halfway. 600 miles each day.
Go to Alliance.
What's that? Nebraska?
Northwest Nebraska.
Here's the deal. Let me give you a heads up on that. So when you split a day in half, that means that you spend 2 days doing the same thing. The first day of your trip, you have the most energy to do the most miles. So, in my opinion, if you have a 1,200 mile day,
Yeah, we fucked that up last time. We did 300 something miles the first day because his bike kept breaking.
No.
And then we did 860 miles the second day.
no.
By the time we got, by the time, with all the little issues that Justin's bike was having, by the time the sun was setting, when we finally got into South Dakota, the sun was already setting.
yeah.
So we had to go from the start of South Dakota all the way to Sturgis in the dark and arrive at like 1:30 at the campground time. Dude, the last fucking 200 miles, 150 miles, my wife was really the one to be like, man, shut the fuck up, pussy. Let's go. I'm like, there's a hotel right there. I'm fucking down just to get a room and we'll show up there in the morning.
Hey,
Yeah, it is. Show up in the morning.
Hey,
Breakfast burrito.
that's how it was going.
Dude, if you just smash the most miles you can do day one.
Yeah.
And if you do that, it makes day two better.
And that's why I don't have
be
that's why I don't
amped
have
up
a
on
for sure plan. Like if we feel good, but you don't know what the weather's. If it's shitty weather and
the
it's
problem
raining,
is like people when you give people the option to stop, right?
it's not the stop. It's not necessarily stop.
Say,
My
hey,
thing
look, we have a 1,200 mile day, 2 day option, right? So, at 400 miles or 600 miles, dude, if someone has the option to stop,
They will.
I'm done. But if 3 of the 4 people or two of the four are like, no, we got to do 800 today, then the other fucking 2 people or 1 person or 6 people are like, I got to fucking nut up.
whatever the Sioux is
They
that's
will.
in Iowa. Is it Sioux Falls or Sioux City? Which one's Iowa?
Probably both, but
Sioux City is on the border of South Dakota and Iowa.
Okay, so that one is 700 something miles from our house. That's where that's where I would like the first day to end. If we go that route, if we come through Nebraska,
That's so boring that way. Because you go straight up and then straight over. But if you cut through, like, dude,
it just takes longer though because you get up in there and then that's 80 mile an hour speed limit across the state of South Dakota.
Yeah, the whole time you're doing this.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, look, it was nice.
did you just own? I do understand. Like,
Yeah, I
I've
mean,
heard
there was
him
no
say stuff
traffic,
about
it was-
things that are just like, and I'm like, I don't.
The scenery
mind
was nice.
cruising
Like you
through
look,
this, so
you're just
teach his
cruising
own.
and you got your music playing or podcast, whatever you're listening
Yeah.
to. It's
You're
nice.
riding
just
your
to
motor-
zone-
you're riding your
on
fucking motorcycle.
and
You
you're
definitely can do it on fucking
You're on
Apple
your
Maps.
You're on
for
vacation.
sure.
You're on your fucking motorcycle. It could be worse, right?
Yeah, exactly. So either way, whatever route we turn, if y'all do that, we might zig that. But
If you
either
do
way,
Nebraska, though, like if you go western Nebraska, as soon as you get to North Platte and you start cutting up northwest from there,
It gets dope, dude.
it gets
yeah, somebody was talking
nice.
about. So we didn't go through Nebraska last year, but somebody was talking about this long stretch when you're riding Nebraska that you'll just be riding along trains and stuff.
That's a lot of.
I know a lot of Union. I work
lot
for
of
Union
any
Pacific,
of the
so a lot
planes
of
is
Union
like that,
Pacific is
yeah.
through Omaha, or through Nebraska. But either way, we'll
The
figure
thing
out
is,
our route.
like when you come off, like
But just whoever wants to come ride with us out of Arkansas, just plan on like
it's like
a
a
2 day
different
trip to Sturgis.
It's not quite like a flat. Like I was thinking about this the other day. As like, I would rather ride through Kansas back and forth than ever ride through Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama
Man, I
ever
don't know about
again.
that. Kansas was
I don't know about that either.
yeah, Kansas.
I
That was the
100%
most
would.
miserable ride.
I'm not asking the question. I'm just letting you guys know
Hey,
that I would 100%.
Congratulations on that.
I remember
because that was
Kansas
the
being
worst.
a real big, like,
It was
I was
dry
as
and hot.
excited as I was last year. I still remember Kansas being like, this kind of
Man, I take that back, though. There was a spot-
I've done Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, all that. A few times now over the last, twice back and forth. and they're not bad. Because to me, they remind me of kind of East Texas where, yeah, it's interstate.
You're also
jamming,
yeah.
But you've got pine trees. You got shit where I enjoy it. I enjoy that. Doesn't suck for me. Whereas Kansas
was super boring,
the
weather, the heat was starting to get to me. There was a point in Kansas where I had to pull off and literally hydrate because I felt like I was about to pass out because it was just so flat and nothing going on.
As much as all the bad stuff I've heard about Kansas, I was hoping to be the guy that went through it and found, no, dude, this part was cool. This part was. The parts we went through, I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, it wasn't even like it was like cool, manicured, like. Dude, I love going through like fields where it's like, oh, dude, look over.
Boss just told me
it was just Kansas was like
Alliance is 955 miles from my house.
Kansas felt like it was an entire state of towns at time.
What time is Boz showing up to your house?
He'll be there on the 4th, the night of the 4th.
What time?
It's 640 mile or 620, I think, from his doorstep to mine. So depending on what time he leaves. Last time he showed up, I mean, I think for Tony's event, he showed up before the sunset. The time for the down south, or when he came to the Polar ride, he showed up at my house at like fucking 10:30.
Sounds like he needs to be. He needs to be at your house
early
the day before.
He is gonna be on the 4th, and then we leave out on the 5th.
But yeah, if he shows up on the 4th at 9 p.m., that doesn't help.
He'll still get a good night's sleep. I'm trying to figure out what this. There was a Mexican restaurant in Kansas when we were talking about Kansas that me and my wife stopped in.
Said all due respect to Kansas and Eric.
It's called
A-Rock Pettick. I still love you, brother. But
Waukee, Kansas.
I feel like driving through Kansas was
the tropical
just like a dream I
Mexican
wanted to wake up
restaurant
from.
in Kansas. Was a hole in the wall Mexican restaurant off the interstate. That was the best part of Kansas.
I've had
incredible Mexican food.
I've enjoyed Kansas. I enjoy Kansas more than Oklahoma, or certain parts of Oklahoma. Let's be fair, right? I've done. I think we were talking in the chat today about our Sturgis trip. I was like, "Fuck, it's like 340, right?
336.
All right, so yeah, there's a lot of options to get there. That Kansas,
multiple routes, but
depending on how you look at it, Kansas can be a shit show, or it could be a chance to not be stuck in traffic and around other cars, and that's maybe the thing.
Yeah,
that
going through Missouri, and then when you get into Iowa, I will agree. But when you look at Apple or Google Maps, it's still the quickest route. So I want to kind of take the quickest route to get to Sturgis and then relax on the way home. I mean, that's just the way I think about it. Like I'm not. I always
feel the opposite. I feel like I'm more ready to be home.
I'm just ready to get to the event. I think that's my problem. I think I'm just ready to get somewhere.
So I feel like both of those because I do I'm always with you. I'm ready to get there, but there is something about, I like taking my time, but I also understand with you where, but I have the same contradiction where there's times where I'm like, I'm still on my fucking vacation. If I'm coming through kind of close to this, I want to hit it up, whatever. But and a lot of times maybe that may be female driven where I'm like, dude, I'm on the back end of this. I need to just get home. Like,
yeah,
I understand.
There's so many different narratives.
I guess it depends on like when you're leaving though. Like with you, so for instance, Daytona, like you fucking pushed Daytona to the absolute limit, and you had to rush home. Like, so you had no choice but to take
it also created a fucking
epic story. Yeah.
How many times do you go? Like I said, we've said it before. How many times do you go home? Do you get a chance to ride halfway across the country, over 1,000 miles with one of your best friends through the night?
Just fucking shotgunning it straight through. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And that's cool.
I don't want to do it.
But if you have the time, it's nice. Sometimes,
but I like that I did it. Like, so that's something me and Jones have now.
So that's the same thing with like this trip. So this trip, the wife and I are shotgunning to Sturgis. And then on the way home, we're going to pick a thing. We're either going to do the Yellowstone thing or we're going to do the Omaha Zoo like I was talking about and do a slow ride home to where we can enjoy it. That's what we did last year. We went to Colorado Springs.
That's awesome.
Hung out there, did some stuff there. So, and just kind of enjoy that. Like get the motorcycle and stuff out of the way, get all that enjoyment out of the way, and then slow the way home to take and just do 400 or 500 mile pings on the way home. Do the double, 2 600s or, last year we did a 400 and 800 or a 300 and something and an 800 and something. trip there, but then taking a little bit of extra time. So we've allotted more time. We've allotted 3 travel days home and 2 travel days there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I'm still in the mindset, like I said, last year we did it where it was
but we don't know. We might get
the first part of this 2-week trip. We're trying to, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm still in that mindset where it's like, hey, and that's kind of from all of our trips. Hey, you got over 1,000 miles to do. It only makes sense that first day when you're so hyped up about it, do as many as you can.
In my first Sturgis experience, we sat around. We were supposed to leave out Friday morning. We weren't supposed to be in Sturgis until Saturday because the FXR show was on Sunday. So Justin just wanted to be there for that show. He had very limited time off.
That, yeah.
We just on Thursday. I woke up Thursday. I'm like, I am fucking ready to go. I've been thinking about it.
That's what happens.
So I messaged everyone in the group. The only person in the group that could not leave early at that time was Adam. And Adam was like, hey, I could probably leave out around 3 or 4 o'clock, but that's really pushing it. I'm like, we're all fucking ready. Like, if you're ready, we're ready.
That's us with this year's, like pushing up to Monday.
Yeah, so we're all sitting around twiddling our thumbs and just fucking, every one of us is texting Adam like, hurry the fuck up, hurry the fuck up. And then we finally
I'm
got
going to
on the
clock
road.
in at like 5 a.m. so I can clock out.
So yeah, we literally got on the road. I think it was like 5 o'clock on Thursday. So we left early, half a day early, left at 5 o'clock on Thursday. And then we hit the only rain we hit on Sturgis, by the way. Everyone told us Sturgis is going to rain like crazy. It's going to hell on you. It's going to do all this shitty shit. It did nothing.
Haters.
It did fucking nothing except for on the first day, we're on I-40 going into Oklahoma. We made it to Russellville. We got poured on from Russellville. When you go up Russellville, and then I think it's 49 that goes up towards Fayetteville, goes into Missouri.
Yeah.
We got rained on from Russellville up 49 to almost Fayetteville, and that was it. That was the only rain we saw the whole trip. We got to Fayetteville, a little bit above Fayetteville. Took our rain gear off, made it into Missouri. That's when Justin's bike started breaking. From Missouri to fucking Sturgis, every 100 miles we had to fix his bike.
FXR.
So other than that, had we left late, we probably wouldn't have made the show because his bike would have been fucking up the whole time. So I'm glad we left late when we had the ability to. So there's another thing for someone. If you have the ability and you're feeling it, just fucking do it. If your plans are to leave Saturday morning, if you can knock out 400 or 500 miles Friday night, just fucking do it. You know what I mean? Because you never know what's going to happen on the road.
If you don't have the ability to knock out 400 or 500 miles at a time, don't come. Like,
yeah, you're going to need
on you, dude.
You got to
Everybody's
ride
in
at
a
least 400 or
situation.
500 miles a day.
But yeah,
at least.
This is just one of those things. Like, depending on how far, like if you're in our neck of the woods, you're looking to go.
Yeah, if you're doing 300 miles, you don't have enough.
have to have a fucking big day. That's not necessarily
When some dude like reaches out and it's like, yeah, we were, we planned our trip. We did, we did 300 miles a day. I'm like, what do you do for a living?
Yeah, how much vacation do you have?
Like,
so
you're in a different tax bracket. You can do shit we can't. So
yeah, it's
we got to wrap it up, man.
Yeah. So, anyways, Arkansas, we're leaving out on the 5th. Join me if you want.
I think we're leaving out late Monday.
Hey, hit the rewind button. Fucking everything you want to know right now has already been said. Come the fuck out. In case you missed it, come the fuck out. If you're on the fence, come out. Don't
miss it. Don't miss it.
Make it fucking work.
If you're on the fence and you can make it work, make it work.
If not, no worries. We got you. Come on. There's plenty of other stuff.
Yeah, you hear the recap podcast.
But you'll never,
Yeah.
Again, you'll
have your FOMO then.
You'll never get this back. You know what I mean? Like there were surges last year. If you didn't make it, that's cool. You don't get that one back. There are surges this year. If you don't make it, you won't get it back. But I don't know. We've done. I feel like at this point we've done everything we can fucking do. Personally, hit me up.
Yeah,
I'll help you out. But other than that, I don't know. You're either
days in camp now,
and I'm not mad at it if you can't.
If you want to come camp out with us and hopefully ease the lubricate the process of getting to know people across the country. A Sturgis campground with us is probably going to be one of the easiest things you could ever do to kind of get to know people across the country. We met some people last year. Honestly,
what was Lone Wolf? What was
that? Was Chicago. He was from
Chicago.
Yeah,
Okay.
He'll probably be. God, I hope he's still
I hope
there.
he's there.
Yeah.
We get there and he's
Great
like,
story.
"Hey, fucking dude, I'm
fucking dragon."
oh my god, I'll lose my mind.
Yeah, I need a picture with y'all. I Yeah, hopefully you guys, show up and do this shit, man, because, we're trying to inspire you guys to do things. Like, I think myself, Scott, Steve.
Scott. Steve is too.
There will never be a better thing.
I like doing that.
Yeah, I saw fucking Cheeks called me Steve up there.
It'll never be easier if you don't, other than coming to Sturgis, and then all of a sudden, like, you do that, and if
Sturgis is smaller than the camp out. So the camp out, I hope everybody comes out to it, but Sturgis is a smaller ensemble of us than the camp out, and we get to be a lot more interactive with people that show up to that.
And intimate and personal, and that's the kind of stuff that all of a sudden, it's one of those things where all of a sudden, like, if I remember you from Sturgis, that's the first time I met you, and then all of a sudden you're coming through Dallas, dude. You're staying on my couch, like, come, on my fucking, my air mattress, like, come through. You've got a place, like, if you make your effort to come to Sturgis and that's where you vibe with everybody, dude, that's only going to pay dividends for you on the backside, as far as, like, this whole, if you want to have friends in every state and that kind of stuff, like,
I think that's the coolest thing, is to have contacts throughout the country.
Yeah.
I think that's what this whole thing is, like, really,
like I said,
If this is something you want to do, if you want to ride bikes cross country and you want to see the country and have friends everywhere you go, this is the investment.
Yep.
100%.
That's where I'm at right now in my life, because I've looked at people that have done this. David Steed, he lives here in Dallas now. I've seen him cruise all over the country on a motorcycle. Mm-hmm. And I've always been kind of envious of it, and always wanted to do it, but I never fucking balled, like, man up and fucking did it. And now I'm doing it, and man, I couldn't be more happy about it. So, yeah.
We'll see you at Sturgis. That's it.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah. All right, you fucks. See you there, or fuck off. That was a good time. I want to thank those guys for coming out. We had a blast. And, I want to thank Scott for riding down from Arkansas to hang out with us. And I hate that I missed the HTX Dyna Crew bike night, man. I got wrapped up with work and a lot of things going on up here trying to get ready for Sturgis, and missed out on a good time. If you guys like these podcasts, man, don't forget to check out our sponsors. They're at the beginning of this podcast, and your support to them supports us. And if you want to get unreleased content, you can always go to our Patreon, which $1 a month gets you all the access you need to check out all the unreleased content. And lastly, if you guys want to comment, or I guess the thing is rate and review these podcasts that you listen to on the platforms that you do, whether it's Apple or Spotify or anything like that, it also helps us gain traction in that field. So thank you guys for all that stuff. We're gonna be back. I got 2 more podcasts before we head out to Sturgis, and then it's gonna be a good time. So stay tuned, and we'll be back real soon with some more. Peace.